We've reached zero level and we are back. The countdown has begun. It's nearly over for the first race on Champions Day. All eyes on Ascot, the centre of the universe, the greatest show on earth. They're calling it. We will get into that. Great to have you with us here on Racing Post Live with our sponsors Betfair. And on the way, Dave Orton as ever, every Saturday. There was some doubt, but I'm here. It's been a crazy morning for everyone out there. The world's going haywire. We're going to have some fun today. Don't forget, this is a live and interactive show. Get your comments in for the panellists, any naps that you've got running. What is the good thing today? Who's the dodgy favourite? We're going to be teaching you all about the exchange along the way, of course, and giving you some sportsbook action, some lucky 15s, all that sort of thing. This is a good day to be on planet Earth, isn't it? All right, YouTube, like and subscribe, Facebook Live, get involved with the chat. Been going crazy in the last couple of weeks. We love our own little community out there. And, of course, anything on Twitter, it's hashtag RP Live. Right, I got through that somehow. Natalie Green is back.
I was going to say, I've never been to Mars or Jupiter, so I haven't got a comparison.
Oh, there we go. It's going to be one of those shows, isn't it?
Today.
Nat Green is back. Great to have you, Nat. You've been busy as ever. We're loving today. And Hamish is one of your big ones, goes in the first. We've not got too much time to chat.
Yeah, no, I'm really keen on Hamish. Just actually had Maureen Haggis in pictures there. Look, I don't know whether today is a day when we could have a few good sort of shock results maybe in some of the races. We'll keep it up for later, But top action, just have to look. Palace Pier, we've got Mishriff. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous day to be here. Absolutely grateful to be here. But yeah, I'm just going to think about Hamish in this.
All right, yeah, OK, fair enough. Kate Tracey joins us back.
Oh, great to be back. Thanks so much for having me back.
Great to have you, Kate. And you're going to be pressing some buttons today.
I am.
Ross Briley, you're our colleague, shall we call him that, and our friend. He called you a walking, talking form book. That was born out from Kate's debut on eBoard Day on the show, and you're pressing some buttons. Life's good, Kate?
Yes, life is very good, thank you. I've had a better morning than you, but we'll get on to that at some point anyway. But very excited today. Looking forward to working a MacBook as well. I'd say on terms of the Betfair website, I'm very akin to that. However, MacBooks are a different story. But we've got some really exciting bets for today.
Afternoon to learn for everyone today. Let's get to Barry Orr then, the big hitter's back. There was some doubt, Barry. It's been a strange old morning, but you're here.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It's been It's been a little bit hectic, all right, but top of the table clashes throughout the card today. It's just fantastic. What a privilege to be here and to get paid to chat about it. I'm really smuggling a living here for Betfair, it has to be said. When you get days like this, it's just fantastic.
Smuggling a living.
I tell you what, you can put your feet up now, Barry. You can put your feet up. What a pleasure it is to be here. Yeah, quite right. And we'll be placing a trade in every race, won't we? Should we get a lucky 15 underway as well? Should we take...
Yeah.
You know,
please do. Let's kick off with a lucky 15, please, Kate. We're going to start in the 125, and we're going to put in Baron Semity for Joseph O'Brien. Betfair ambassador Joseph O'Brien gives it a massive shout in his column. So we'll populate our bet slip. We'll start with him. Then in the 2 o'clock in the sprint, I'm going to go Minzal. I was really impressed with his run. First time back in the race after nearly a year off. So we'll select Minzal there about 11-1. In the 235, Hashada, a horse that let me down in the Ribble stable. But this form has worked out well. And I think that has a decent each-way chance. And then in the 350, I'm going to go Sealaway. I know it's a short turnaround after the arc, but that was off the back of a large break for him. So what we're going to do there, Kate, we're going to go to a lucky 15.
Yep.
If you've selected those four, we're going to populate it for a quid, and we're going to select the each way. So lucky 15 is 15 bets. It's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, 4 singles. So it's 15 bets in total, hence its name, a lucky 15. We're going to do it for a quid each way. It's going to cost us 30 quid.
Yeah, £30 and a return of potentially £26,318.94 as well.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, I'm sure we get a cash out offer along the way if we're heading towards that figure. It will give us something to chat about for sure. If you just toggle back to the exchange then, please, Kate, and I'm just going to lay Trushan in the first. It's currently 2.38. Yeah, I'm going to take on Trushan.
Yeah.
2.38. We're going to take 50 quid of the backer stake there at 2.38. So our liability is going to be around 30 odd quid.
Yeah, 2.38, did you say?
Or 66 quid, yeah. 2.32 you can lay it at now.
Perfect.
So we're going to take 50 quid out of for a liability of around 66 quid.
Yeah.
I just think he's worth taking on. I think there's several horses in here with big chances. Hamish, Baron Semity, Stradivarius as well, if the ground's not gone for him. And the Mediterranean, the 3-year-old getting the £8 off the older horses is not without a chance. Trushan, for me, though, just has to prove it here today. I know he's done it last year on very soft ground, but if he proves it here today, well, then he's champion's stayer. But until he does that, I'm happy to lay him at 2.32.
Yep.
There you go then. There's the opening trades. All for charity, of course. You don't have to play in every single race. Please gamble responsibly. That's what it's all about. 6 races, though. A quality card all the way for you this afternoon. Lots of gaps in between the races. You don't just get tips and interactive betting advice here. You get crowd noises as well. When Barry said that he was going to lay Trueshan, we did a rather nice, like a game show then, wasn't it? We're going to have some fun this afternoon, so please do get involved. Let us know you're out there. We will give you a shout out. What your highlights of the season, horse of the year, what have we got for next year? Are you Caribus? Are you Native Trail? We'll have it all. But they are down at the start. Trueshan, yeah, he's right, isn't he? I mean, listen, last year's winner, totally different prep coming in here though. And the Cadran, the race he ran in on Arc, where he beat Stradivarius when it was 2-0 to Trueshan, if you like, it can bottom them, can't it?
Yeah, and that was very soft. And I can see where Barry's going with this to lay Trueshan. I'd also be keen on that. My argument for this race, me picking out Hamish, which is probably like my bet of the day, which is quite, what's the other word that I shouldn't say, the rude word? Quite gutsy. Gutsy. I'm thinking cat and mouse, right, with Trueshan and Strad, yeah?
Talk us through how it's going to work.
This is my head, in my Natalie's world now. Forget planet Earth and Natalie's world. So Trueshan and the Strad, cat and mouse, ding, ding, ding. Hamish, track them, come round the bend for home. Behind those two, creep in, got the kick.
You want to come down the outside in the home straight, right?
Yeah.
He's drawn in 1.
Yeah.
So that's.
But just track. Then he's got the finishing kick.
Tom Marquand's the man. Pull him out. Go.
This is it.
Yeah.
He's still progressing. Conditions are ideal. First go at 2 miles does not put me off whatsoever. Won that September Stakes. I think I was in with you that day, wasn't I?
Yeah, and Hookham's obviously hosed up in the Cumberland Lodge.
Yeah. So there's just plenty to like.
He's a very, very good horse, and there was a head between him and Trueshan when they met as 3-year-olds on their favourite ground. Kate Tracey. I'm Hamish as well, by the way, guys. Kate Tracey.
I'm finding it so difficult to oppose Trueshan for the win purposes here. I love Hamish. He was actually my nap, do you remember, for the E-ball before he was brought out because of the rain.
There'll be a lot of love for that out there, Kate, with everyone. So
I was so pleased that Hamish did manage to back it up last time out in that Group 3. I'm not entirely sure that Hookham was completely at his best, though, in that race, but as you say, he's come back and bolted up since. So he has given that Foom notable boost. But in terms of Trueshan, he's certainly not a horse I want to oppose. He just looks as though it is a passing over of the baton for the stayers from Stradivarius to Trueshan. Now, I say the young pretender, he is a 5-year-old now, but last time out he confirmed that conditions to suit him. And he just powers through the races like a properly class horse, not just a slogger.
And Holly Doyle back on. So Barry, as we get nearer the time, I'm looking at the exchange man, and he's edging nearer that even money mark, is he?
Yeah, being smashed up into 5-4 now, under 5-4, 2.16. You can back him out now. Stradivarius 5.3, 7.6 Hamish Burns, Samedi is 12 and 15.5. The Mediterranean seems to be holding his price, but I think this is probably the best race he will have had. And Trueshan, there's unexposed horses in here, not least Hamish and the Mediterranean and Baron Samedi. Yeah. First time cheek pieces, although Joseph O'Brien's record with first time cheek pieces wouldn't inspire confidence, but he's a horse that will probably improve for them as well.
It might be the Keels factor. Doesn't Keels all over Baron Samedi? I think Keels is pretty keen on I hope I'm right, Keels. Get him into trouble here. But I think if we'd have had different autumn, October weather, the money would have, the money is coming for Trueshan, but I would have been much more keen. But look at the conditions there. Look at the sun.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Shining down.
Yeah.
Drying it out by the second.
I'm 20 minutes away as the crow flies from Ascot. It was hamming down this morning. I'll tell you about my morning. Amazing, I'm dry. But it's beautiful to see. What a day to be there. 25,000 they're expecting. About 2 staff, I think. But, we'll get on to that.
25,000.
It can't be long shop in 2019. That was the worst ever. I'm sure it'd be a great day to be there wherever you are. Kills is there. If you're watching at Ascot and you're watching us, know people like to go to the track. Welcome along. Let us know how you're watching. They're going in then. Very good luck wherever you're playing. It's the first race on Champion Day of 6 that we're bringing you here on RP Live. Will it be Trueshan? Will Stradivarius finally land a blow on his old rival? We are about to find out. I saw that Hamish was jig-jogging a little bit there. That's something we were conscious of.
We were conscious that he can be a little bit like that. I think he's mounted in a sheep.
Okay, we are off. I saw a little bit of late money there for Stradivarius as well. I'll tell you what, Trueshan, it's be very interesting to see through the first furlong, guys, because he is a buzzy horse. Yep. Holly's back on.
And he is very sweaty.
This is what he is, Barry. He's a little bit keen.
Fuzzy, yeah.
And, you were right about Kills, by the way. He was waxing lyrical about the Baron.
Yeah.
He'll have been delighted to read that blog this morning from Joseph, because he says it's a steal, this, value-wise. This is a meeting, guys, isn't it, where you don't know why, but upsets can just happen. Now, whether that's borne out when the sun shines, we'll find out.
Of the ground
Whoa,
most of the
yeah, there
time,
was a bit of a move there, wasn't there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
goodness
got
me.
murdered.
Berkshire,
Berkshire
Rocco and
Rocco.
Hamish on the inside. What's that done to Exchange, Barry? Must have pushed him out.
Yeah, Hamish off the back of that is 8-7. He got absolutely chopped up there. 11-10, Trushan. Stradivarius 5.4. Baron is 11 and it's 17. The Mediterranean. Obviously, Ryan getting to set his own fractions out in front.
Yes, he is. All right. So that's interesting, isn't it? And Barry, actually, we spoke in the week, didn't you? And this guy, the Mediterranean, he doesn't win, but he has got a following, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He was a lot of people's idea as an anti-post bet for the St. Ledger. Obviously, he's finished third in that. He's ran well. He hasn't backed it up last day, but it's interesting that they're coming here. He's probably a cup horse for them next year. You're just giving him a cider this time round. It could be a step too far. But the £8 3-year-old allowance is a big shout. Your favourite's gone odds on here, Dave, 1.9.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, interestingly, despite the fact that Hamish got a little bit chopped up when the Mediterranean came across as they were going out onto the far side, he's still not as keen as Trushan. And yet the Exchange really likes him. Kate Tracey, impressions halfway.
I didn't expect Stradivarius to be ridden this far back. I thought, again, they were going to give him a more positive ride to hopefully avoid what happened to him in the Gold Cup, where he obviously got absolutely killed then on the final bend before the home straight.
Yeah.
So I didn't think they were going to want to allow that. So I thought they were going to ride him similar to what they did last time out in the Prix de Cadran, ride him more forwards. However, Frankie probably did make too much use of him last time out too soon, dropping him back here, so not going to make that mistake. Trushan's still fairly keen there throughout, but he is still getting a cover. He's in the ideal position, though. Really, you do want to be taking a lead in this race. The Mediterranean, he is a bit of a monkey, hence why he has to be ridden forwards in these cheek pieces. We expect him to be the pace angle. That's exactly what we're getting. So far, everything's still travelling well on the bridle, but in terms of position in this race with history, I'd rather be in the favourites position rather than Stradivarius is currently.
He's got some cajones on him, Frankie, hasn't he? And now he's alive to it. He's gone on the
Look
outside.
at this now. He's just asking, just out the back there and saying, come on, Strady, let's get into this a bit. Let's have a bit of hustle and bustle, putting him in there to say, come on, let's wake up. But it's not quite how I thought the race was going to
Yeah, they're all jostling now. Baron Simony's gone really wide, hasn't he? Okay, so a bit of argy-bargy. Now, this is what Trushan did last year when he won. He powered off the home bend. Tom Marquand, Holly's partner,
Hamish
is
travels
following
well.
that through. Come on then, Hamish. What do we got? Let's blow them bagpipes
on,
while
Hamish.
outside. Here goes.
Dave here.
6
Still
to
on the
4. Look
bridle,
at
still on
Hamish.
the
He's
bridle.
absolutely cruising. Can he see it out? That's the question. Stradivarius on the outside.
Hamish.
Trushan now attacks. We know
Come on,
he stays.
Trushan.
Come on, Hamish. What do we
Come
got?
on, Hamish.
The Baron's not totally done with. What's this on the
Look at
inside?
Stradivarius,
This
he's still
touch
staying
Strad
on,
as
he's
well.
still staying on.
Stradivarius
Come on,
down the
Strad.
outside. This is
Love
what
to
the
see
crowd
this.
came to see.
Oh,
This is
Hamish.
what we want.
The
Hamish
two.
hasn't
We've got
seen
the
it
two.
out. He's going to get outstayed. It's the old
got the
rivals.
two.
Can Stradivarius possibly do it? He's on the outside. Trushan's just got the legs on him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Takshan running the
Just,
race of his life
just.
in the inside.
Takshan,
Trushan does it.
what's
Holly Doyle, the magic of Holly. She repeats
Oh,
the
wow.
feat from 2020, takes out the first on Champions Day. That was exciting, wasn't it? Tashkan, I should say. Ben Robinson. Wow, what a horse we've got for next year there in second. Brian Ellison and the legs of Stradivarius excited us all the way. Couldn't quite see it out. Was Hamish in fourth potentially? Barry Orr, what a race.
Unbelievable. Why he's obviously, you've got to take your hat off to the winner. He's as game as a pebble. A lot of went wrong for him during the race. He pulled hard, got a bit of a bargain match turning into the home straight. Hamish traded at a low of 6 to 4, would you believe? 2.50 for just around 19 quid. Your runner-up, who's ran an absolute screamer, had a Betfair SP of 72, would you believe? That's traded at a low of 6.6. And Stradivarius, what a game, old warrior. He was carried out in his shield there. He really was.
Amazing,
He's
yeah.
traded at a low for 101 quid of 2.6, which is just over 6 to 4. But yeah, hats off to Trushan. Champion stayer without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Yes, and they could have gone to the Prix-Royal Oak, of course, which is about right at the end of the month, so back to France. But Holly, no, they've obviously ridden him in a piece of work, gone, we're good to go again, and doesn't he love Ascot? What price for the Gold Cup, Barry Orr? I'll be coming to you next year, of course. He's going to be clear favourite. Anyway, that will harden up. Tashkan, 50 to 1 second. Stradivarius, yeah. All the questions now about Strad. Will we be seeing him? Hamish, what a run from Hamish. I'm not at all surprised he went that low.
It just didn't quite. It was not ideal watching. It doesn't matter if it was in the earlier stages that he had that sort of. It's not ideal for a horse ever to get knocked off his rhythm. Do you know what I'm furious about? Which viewers are going to absolutely. Feel free to literally throw darts.
I will vouch for
at
this.
my
'Cause I know
face.
what you're going to say.
Kate is going to vouch.
I will
for me.
vouch for this.
Tashkent's my each way pick. I swear.
You've done an Adayar.
I just forgot.
She did this in the
I
derby when she made her
even
debut.
text Brian Ellison earlier. I can't. I'm so.
Well,
I
name
literally
dropping and everything
cannot
now.
apologise enough. That was my absolute. Didn't I? I said
It was literally, I was about to say, I was about to turn to the camera and say, as we were talking pre-production then, and we were discussing Tashkent's chances, and you said he has a huge chance at a massive price, and I doubted whether the ground would be
Can't
soft
believe I
enough
didn't
for him.
say it. I'm
But
so
before the
furious.
off, when we looked at the going stick and the latest going stick readings, it probably was soft enough for him.
I think I've just
And
got too
I will vouch
excited.
for that.
I've got too excited. Forgot to mention it, but let's take nothing away from Trushan. Okay, I didn't tip him up. I went against him. Awesome.
Yeah, fair play,
Great
Kate.
story. Yeah, well
so,
done, Kate.
thankfully, someone on the panel
Yeah.
kept the faith.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Money.
It's amazing, isn't it, how a horse can be so keen and yet still be so strong at the end of 2
Well,
miles.
it's impressive, isn't
Yes.
it? Look at him.
Yeah.
It is
Exactly.
so game.
Where does he rank, do we think, guys? Barry, I'll give that to you. You know, Stradivarius, we know he's declined a little bit this year. Ascot, that's probably as well as he's ever run in this race, really. I know he's beaten by Kew Gardens into second, but absolute sledger he's run there. And where does Trushan rank, Barry?
In the greater scheme of things, it's that's probably for my money the best race he's ran in this season. I thought the race in Goodwood was an average enough for Newham and took him all his time to win it. He got his very soft ground last day when he beat up Stradivarius, but this time round you can't say the ground was truly his optimum, and he's won it well, and nothing else was going to beat him once he hit the front that time. Hamish probably didn't stay.
Yeah.
Stradivarius has ran his race. He's a little bit past it now, probably, and I'm sure they're obviously retirement's going to weigh heavily on their mind now at the moment what they do with him. And you know, you'd have to question the form with Pekshan finishing second. He's a very, very decent horse, Trushan. He'd probably be favoured for a Gold Cup next year. Yeah. Actually, he's 4-1 for next year's Gold Cup. Ascot Gold Cup.
Interesting. Good link there, Barry, because I was going to ask about that, obviously. And is that bigger than you might expect? 4-1.
This early on.
God, I don't know, a year away.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, come on. I'm sure if I was to pluck out some other, and you know, Royal Ascot,
Yeah,
or Cheltenham, whatever you want, or anti-post books, there are a lot of short horses out there in markets.
yeah,
aren't
no,
there?
you're right. Actually, that is a good point. And he's proven himself time and time again, and so. Yeah, maybe you're right, but I don't know.
He turns up,
It's
right, and there's a
horses,
bit of
isn't it?
juice
Yeah,
underground.
It's just so
He ain't
much.
going to be 4-1, is he?
Yeah, that's it. It's the ground question with him as
I
much
was
as
expecting
anything, isn't
shorter
it?
than that.
Because I mean,
Like you say, we've seen him pulled out, so it's like you just
The
don't.
dominant
you just don't
horse
know.
of his division. We
Yeah.
know that. The cup
Yeah.
horse, as they call that. Who was with Kate? Who went that way? Trushan. Tell us your stories about him. Still relatively fresh. Also, we have Mr. Graham Rodway, of course, on the show last week, saying it's a disgraceful, campaign he's had. He's won on good ground. He got a little bit lucky with the rain, didn't he? We will give you the time on the round course as well, because we're going back onto the round course. Who's looking forward to some of the races? We've got Snowfall coming up. Palace Pier versus Baaid, or are there more in it? Of course, the big one at 350. Are you Mishrif or you Adayar? Barry, let's come to you about the Champions Stakes, if you don't mind. Plenty of time now to talk before our next race, the Sprint. When I last looked, and I must admit it was a little while ago, on the exchange, it looked like the Mishrif was on the drift a bit.
Yeah, 294 Mishrif, but the head of the market, they're both on the drift, Dave. It's 294 Mishrif, so nearly 2-1. And then you have Adayar, who's out to 4.2, so heading towards 130. Adayar, Dubai Honor has been really well supported into 7.8. Ahead of his stablemate, Adayar, previous winner of the race, who's 10. Sellaway is 12, 16.5 Alazy. So the head of the market probably has it about right now. The market doesn't want Adayar off the back of his run in the Arc just a little under 2 weeks ago. And Mishrif was a little bit weak, but it's probably his true price around 15-8.
Very interesting indeed. And of course, we've got the Balmoral, haven't we? Well, I don't know. We've got Kingman running in it, haven't we? With the half brother too.
Yeah,
in Sunway
the field
Major.
was
So look, even that
Back
is an
to a week,
absolutely
isn't it?
fascinating race, isn't it? Okay, so where does Trushan rank? Who was with him? Let's get the social interaction coming in. You join us here on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, Natalie Green. Kate, Tracey and the big hitter himself, Barry Orr, as well. Along for the ride, 4:30, our final race of the day. Highlights of the flat season. Barry Orr, you did the jury in the paper this morning, and I'd say it was a pleasure to read.
It was, wasn't it?
It was.
It
was almost as pleasurable as your picture, which I have to say. I mean, it's fair to say two observations about that. Who remembers the Google glasses, right? I think this is probably why Barry's as famous as he is.
Never heard
Because you remember Barry used to look at the screen, didn't he? He was all over the place. He was these Google glasses that are. Do you still have your Google glasses, Barry?
Of course I do.
Wait,
They're somewhere in the cupboard.
Where's the camera?
Come on, let's get it. There he is. Look at the size of him. I mean, that's not superimposed either. That is. But I'll tell you what, Barry, you've been. It's always this Charlie Post.
That was the picture, David, that prompted me to lose weight.
Oh, they often
was
say,
the turning point.
put one on your fridge, don't they?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I've got a sign on my fridge saying, fridge pickers wear big knickers.
Is that right?
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, I don't apply, I'm afraid. So, yeah.
All right. Don't wear knickers. I mean, I don't know, whatever floats your boat.
So you did the jury a couple of weeks ago, Nat, didn't you? You've been jocked off for Barry on
I
Champions
was
Day.
dreadful, wasn't I? I had
A photo like that, how you understandably so.
Oh, I had a terrible day.
There's some Mel Roses on it. I think I probably just lost your number in the wash somewhere this week. Mel Roses on it. I think we've got TC on it as well, haven't we? But it's that sort of day, isn't it? And this is the crescendo of the flat season, of course. There's been some jockeys battle this week as well. Who would have thought in the end of August, that in October we would be having this head-to-head between William Buick and what we think will be now champion jockey for a third season in a row, Oisin Murphy.
Yeah, never would have imagined, what was it, like 10 behind, I mean, ridiculous
2 weeks
ground
ago,
that he's made up, 10 behind like in 2 weeks. It's absolutely insane. Oh God, I like them both jockeys so much. Oisin's just fabulous, isn't he? The media, and he always gives you so much analysis. He's been great in that way of really, really analysing the race. Giving you plenty of info. But God, Will's tried hard to get this title. He has tried so hard. He had
the ban after Royal Ascot as well, didn't he? 11 days.
Yes. They both had their bans to.
Well, they have both had their bans, absolutely.
to have to burden this season. Certainly.
It's tricky, isn't it? It's a tricky topic because Oisin again has been vocal about. It's hard. He's going not through the best time, but these athletes, they are athletes and they've got to kind of give a good sort of impression to the racing world. So it has got to be reflected. So Oisin does need to probably keep in line a little bit.
Well,
you can't afford to fail too many tests.
This can still, of course, go awry for Oisin. It's not.
Yes,
there is a
it
chance they could do the Seb Sanders, Jamie Spencer, and share it. But William Buick, obviously, he's had massive support from his governors, the boys in blue.
Yeah.
But he has been taking outside rides, and he listen all year. The two of them have. I mean, Ollie Doyle, fantastic. Tom the Bomb, Marquand, fantastic. Others as well. We should mention David Probert. What a year he has had.
What a year!
Yes. Oh my God, incredible, hasn't he? And say, what was it? The 4-timer at Fosslas? Was it? And then he went and won a treble then the following day. And he has just had an unbelievable season. All the right horses taken there. The Andrew Golding team obviously having a fantastic time and things. The Trainers' Championship as well.
Best year Andrew's had. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's like been one of those seasons where it's just full of stories.
Stories throughout it, the whole way through.
The narrative has been very, very strong.
Yes.
Narrative. You've been
Narrative,
working with me a little bit, haven't you? I'll tell you what, the narrative, there's a job for you yet on the post. It won't be the jury next time, don't worry. Page 3's upcoming.
Oh, my Colin!
Let's move on quickly. Barry Orr. William Buick went favourite this week, didn't he? On the exchange. That was quickly blown out, though.
He went favourite ahead of Oisin, but that was corrected within a couple of races. Obviously, 101 now, Oisin. It's a massive mountain, but it's been great. At the start of the season, it was 9-4 your pick, Dave. I think it didn't start on Guineas weekend. I think correct in saying, and it was 9-4 each of two. The market couldn't separate them at the start of the season, and they literally couldn't separate them until the penultimate day as well. So it's been a bubbling story that's only really come to the boil in the last couple of days, but. It's been a nice focus to have just as the flat season reaches its crescendo.
Yeah, and Barry, obviously you were asked for some of your highlights of the season as well. And again, this is where it was a pleasure to read. You mentioned Colin Keane, didn't you? We should also, while we're talking about jockeys, record-breaking Colin Keane. It was a weird period around this time last year, Barry, wasn't it? Everyone, I mean, what did he go on the exchanges to join Aidan O'Brien? There was a market up, wasn't it? It was unbackable at that point, and Ryan Moore's the best 7 of 2 shot you've ever seen.
Yeah, I think Paddy Parrott's quite cheekily and mischievously put a market up on him to get that job. I think Colin Keane is very happy where he is in Ger Lyons. He's a lot of reasons to stay there, and he hasn't been presented with a reason yet to leave, a strong enough reason to leave. He has no desire whatsoever to relocate to the UK and ride over there. If the only job he'd leave Ger Lyons for is probably the Coolmore job in Ballydoyle, but I don't think that's going to be vacant anytime soon. So he seems very happy in his own skin. He's riding a lot of winners over here, and he's obviously last year he went to the Breeders' Cup and he rode the winner for Dermot Wells, and he's had a big tie-up with Dermot Weld here this year as well. Dermot Weld and Ger Lyons at the start of the season got together and made an agreement that when available, Colin would ride for Dermot Wells and have that battalion at his disposal. So that's worked quite well for him over here also. He's a fantastic jockey. He really is truly a great jockey. You don't see enough of him in the UK to appreciate him, but if you're a fan of Irish racing and you see him day in, day out plying his trade around the tracks here, he truly is a fantastic jockey.
That's why I was glad that you gave him the nod, Barry, in the paper. Yeah, we love him over. He's absolutely bomb-proof, isn't he, really? And as a character, it seems, as well. So.
Yeah. I think it's funny today, though, because this is, like you say, this is such so to the wire with Oisin and Will, that actually, none of them are on a favourite.
Yes. No, as you say, they've all got big...
none of them are on a favourite.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, Oisin's got 4 rides today, and his best price is 6-1 Dragon Symbol. And then William Björk has obviously just had Roberto Escobar. He's got 4 more rides today. His best price, 5-2 for a day. But so he would seemingly, and 11-2 Creative 4. So he would seemingly have the better chances. But now they've both got 4 rides apiece left today, 3 in it.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. It's going to be fun this afternoon. With 1 race down, we'll get you the time on the round course. 2 miles, stoppy-starty race, but it will give us an idea of the ground there. Of course, we now switch to the straight course. You can see the Betfair SP there of Trushan. That's where the value lies. Even money, the industry price. And there you go, a little bit of value as ever. And I'm sure in running that was a really interesting race, wasn't it? I certainly enjoyed calling it. Shall we move on? It is the Champions Sprint. It is coming up at 2 o'clock. Isn't it nice to see proper race times today as well?
Oh, I know. These are 23s. And someone that hates numbers really bugs me.
Yeah.
For your greyhound times.
I'm like, what time? What time?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, quite right. So it's 2 o'clock. We're delighted to say Ascot wouldn't have stood for any of this 102.
No, would they? No.
Certainly not. Not where the flowers stand to attention. There's the market barrier. He's hardening all the time, but he's installed 20. Is that going to be a problem for Art Power?
Well, we'll only know after this race if there is any track bias in terms of stall numbers. But Art Power, 4.8 now, so he's relatively strong. 7-2. Rohan, if you haven't seen his race in the Curragh last day, go back and look at it. He was literally left 10 lengths and he flew at the finish. Ryan Moore on him this time round gives him a really, really favourable shout in his Betfair blog. Thinks if there's any horse in here that is improving at a rate of knots, it's probably him. So you have to sit up and take notice when Ryan wax lyrical about one like that. 8.0 Creative Force, who's really getting the hang of sprinting. 8.2 Dragon Symbol. Kilnross has been the springer in the race. Was 14, is into 9.8 now. Minzal, the horse I like, is 16.5, having been around an 8-1 chance earlier on today. So he's relatively friendless in the market, but I was really impressed with his comeback in the Royce over 5 furlongs on this course. And that was off the back of being off for nearly a year. He was a Gimcrack winner. He finished 3rd in the Royal Lodge as well as a 2-year-old. And obviously they're persistent with him and he's got a lot of ability. Hopefully he'll get to show it here. I just think that the drift is probably down to the ground. But I'm going to take a chance on the straight course. It's not that bad at all. And he's drawn 4. I'm going to take a chance that that's a decent draw in this race. So at around that mark, he's currently 17.5. He's consistently on the slide here, Kate. So I'm going to set my own odds. So we're going to go to back it, and we're going to look to back it, and we're going to move those odds up to, let's go up to around 20.
Where's your horse gone? There he is. Move it up to 20.
Minzal. So let's put it up to 20, and we're looking to have 25 quid win only here, because if he doesn't win, I don't think he'll be mapped in the race. I don't think he's going to get a hard race when his chance goes, if it does go, considering he was off the track for so long. Obviously, he's had a lot of issues. So 20, we're going to have 25 quid, and hopefully we'll get matched. If not, we can reassess that with plenty of time till race time.
Yeah.
Marvellous. Yeah, Minzal keeping the faith then. And something on the draw, I was just looking into that, Barry, when you were talking about that. A lot's been said about this. You remember at the previous meeting that we had at Ascot when they went on the straight track, and Aldari, who runs in the last race in the Balmoral, hosed up, which is 3 went on the far side. It was the place to be. I mean, there was daylight between them. The thinking is, if you work with people like Paul Keeley, like I do, insufferable rationalist that he is, he believes that when the ground is as dewy as this, and the shadows and all that sort of stuff, even if the ground is not quicker on the far side, that's where the jockeys will think it is. So the pace will be there. It's the main action, isn't it? You're swimming against the tide almost a little bit.
I think Keels makes quite a good point with that, though, because it's not just a shadow, is it? It's a colossal flipping shadow, like the size of the
size
stand.
of a cruise ship,
You know,
basically. Did we have any of that shadow this morning? I mean,
I don't know whether
notably, but
Interesting. I don't know how long the sun would have been shining there, but to give you an idea, this race since 2016, Tin Man, when the ground was good, so even then it was even all round. He sort of came up the middle a bit that day. I remember at a Tin Man screaming him home. So I can very well picture it. He was in stall 3. Then the year after that, Labrisa Breeze, when they landed that gamble for Dean Ivory, he was in stall 3. Sands of Marley, who made all, from Harry Angel, it looked like a real upset that, but he controlled the race down the middle, stall 10 of 14. So if you're up front, maybe you can get away with it. Don Juan triumphant on terrible ground, 2019, in 4, and Glenn Shield was single figures as well last year. He's back, isn't he? Okay, so we know that Barry likes Minzal. Let's see what you like out there as well. Who's opening the show on Champions Day, the final hurrah here on the flat, pretty much. Frizzy Red, been with us all season, and she says Dragon Symbol gets his compensation today. Barry said he was on the slide. Oisin Murphy, this would be a big one. And I don't know, there's always stories on Champions Day, aren't there? And this guy's got a bit of a hoodoo to get rid of because of the Commonwealth Cup.
And just exactly been so unlucky. I mean, it's just too bad to be true, isn't it? But if he puts his foot on the pedal and change of gear late on, there's a strong case for Dragon Symbol.
Has he just got too many seconds and thirds? He's had a long season as well, hasn't he?
Yes.
That is the problem. It is a long season. And another thing to note, I mean, even though the sun is shining today and looks really nice.
He didn't even race at 2, did he?
No. It's a weird time of year this year. They just start to go in their coats. They just get a bit cold. I mean, it's freezing last night. It was 5 degrees. I had to go up to the yard at 8 o'clock to put another rug on my horse. I mean, really, it's
trying to keep their coats.
That time of year. It's that time of year.
But you say, I can't shake this thought I have at the back of my mind that Dragon Symbol still has those
Why
quirks.
isn't he this group?
Why hasn't he got his head in front since he obviously did actually win the Commonwealth Cup? But
had Campanelle been able to keep a straight line, he wouldn't have done.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It was the right decision.
Oh, completely. I completely saw that. Completely was the right decision. But the thing with Dragon Symbol, we were discussing this earlier, is that he has this tendency to lug to his right when he is under pressure. And so at least here he is drawn in 3. So he naturally is already going to be on that far side rail. Should the pace go to that far side as we're expecting, then Dragon Symbol is naturally going to be
Is anyone
over there.
tipping him on the panel?
No.
Right, okay. I didn't think so, no. Oh, it's a strange thing because, I don't know, before the Flying 5, he would have been very nearly favourite for this. And he has drifted, of course, having opened up the top end of the market. Who else joins the party? Let's have a look. Nijinsky comes on, always a thing or two to say. I did Minzal last week, but he's drifting big time, mama. Yeah, absolutely. So you're with Barry.
I'm a Minzal fan, aren't I?
Yeah, have you put him up?
Well, when was I last on here? 2nd
It was
of
the
October.
Tis Marvellous run.
Yeah, and
he looked like he had him.
I tipped Tis Marvellous, but I had 2 in the race. It was Tis Marvellous and I had Minzal. I really do like Minzal. I think last time he was a bit slowly away. He's got to be a bit snappier today. But hopefully that time in the group, the Roost Stakes, he'll come on a bit from that. I just think he can get... We haven't seen too much of him, have we? He's not been as busy as these others.
No.
And seeing as I gave you the 50-1 each way shout in the first race, obviously, then, obviously I'm going to be right about this one.
What, Minzal?
No, Tashkan. You know, the
Yeah,
one
I know
you know,
you.
the one I
We'll get
did
over
mention,
that
you know,
now.
the one I
Come on,
passed
yeah, you're
over.
going to be banging the
So
Tashkent
Minzelf,
drum.
let's go for Minzelf.
I know. I would say that I would agree
livid.
with her notes, but there's so many notes there. I mean,
so
it
many
just looks like a blur to me. All right, who have we got else then? Cheers, Naginski. Come back on. The commander again, a stalwart this season, and says Thunder Moon back to 6 furlongs. We had to bring up Thunder Moon, didn't we? The fact that he's running in this race tells you how my horse to follow has gone this year. He very nearly won a Group 1. He was.
Oh, Jeezy,
yes.
he's gone very
Thanks,
alright.
Kate. I mean, that was a reaction.
Drum again, are you?
Well,
Not finding that drum again, are you?
More crowd noises going on for you. Thunder Moon, surely not, Barry.
Not without a chance. If you go back to some top 2-year-old form, but just hasn't done it this season at all. It's been massively disappointing from when he got a little bit fractious in the stalls in the 2000 Guineas, if you recall. He had never done that before. Just looked like he wasn't in love with the game. They gave him another chance in the St. James's Palace, again behind Poetic Flair. Didn't have it there. His Law of Indices run in Deauville wasn't too bad, but that's the only highlight you could say for him this year. They're persisting with him, which is not a bad sign, but Joseph says in his column no, I don't think they're expecting a whole lot.
I suppose the people that are backing him today, like the commander, if you watch back the Dewhurst, he's got some Marks Basilica stone cold 2 out, hasn't he? Over 7, obviously, and that was anyway. So look, we'll see.
But has he trained on there?
That's the
Yeah.
question. Well,
Yeah.
the run in France would suggest that the fire still burns somewhere.
That was a pretty terrible Group 1, though, as Group 1s go. That
Yeah,
really
Law of
Pratt, you have to
Indices is
admit.
another one that's been a bit disappointing.
Wembley in there, very similar profile to Thunder Moon himself. Naval Crown Battleground, I believe, is now in Australia. I believe, anyway, it went completely adrift.
Should
for
be
him.
400 to 1, you're saying, Kate.
Basically, that was, even his best form this season isn't great in the context of this
Last
race.
3 winners, though, in this 16 to 1, 33 to 1, 28 to 1.
Yeah.
So,
Guess who I'm tipping?
I wouldn't let the price put me off anything
can I
here.
guess?
Yeah, no.
Gustavus Weston?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
That looked good in preliminaries.
it
I
was
feel Princess.
no.
Oh, my God, Glenn Shield.
Now,
Glenn Shield.
No.
Happy romance.
I mean, pin the tail on the donkey here, isn't there? There's absolutely no
We
chance.
wouldn't call you that now.
No, because you said the link was the big prices, and Dave Orton is on. Da-da-da-da, Art Power. So I'm
Why?
hoping
I
that trend
thought
bucks.
Store 20?
Now, don't get me wrong. If he had had a lower draw, this would have been my nap today.
Okay.
They finally rode him right. Please, Sylvester,
Yes.
don't get the head of the ride up and go 3 furlongs out.
Yeah,
This guy got a
finally
proper
got it
ride
right.
last time,
Yeah.
didn't he, in Ireland?
Yeah.
Sylvester's back on. He's in 20 now. Barry mentioned Highfield Princess. I think Highfield Princess is the key to Art Power if you're backing him.
Pretty buzzy.
She's in stall 18.
in
She's got one way of running. She loves Ascot. She's married to the Stands Rail.
Yeah.
If one horse
First
in the
time
Stands
over
Rail-
6 furlongs.
Is she quick enough, Barry, to lead them? That's the question.
Yeah, and it's her first time over 6 furlongs, and obviously, she's worth a chance dropping back in trip, but sometimes it doesn't always work out for these fillies or colts for that matter who plied her trade at 7 furlongs and just drop back to 6 like that. It can all happen a bit too fast for them. She could be on her head a bit early. Be interesting to see, but yeah, she's not without her supporters. She's been well punted.
Yeah,
She's
because
bu-
she's
she's
never out of the
busy.
frame, is she?
No.
She's
So
she's a
likeable.
heart and shield girl, and she's
loved her at,
absolutely.
Haydock.
And the fact that
So
she's
busy.
here is a testament to her durability, isn't it? So I am with Art Power, and he's not a horse I've ever been with, ever. But I just loved that at the Curragh last time.
Yeah.
And this was the prep for this. Tim Easterby, it's been his year, Nunthorpe, that sort of thing. And with Happy Power, drawn next door in 19. Now, again, like Highfield Princess, more of a 7 furlong, tried over a mile. Is he quick enough? He hasn't run in this race before. So, I don't know. Are we going to see a bit of team
I'd say
tactics
that
here
was a
for Art Power?
shocking race in the Curragh. I don't think it was a
It
decent race at
wasn't-
all. Like he's rated 114. He was like 8 and 10 pounds clear of the rest of them on ratings. He did what he was entitled to do, Dave.
Yeah, no,
He's
of course.
won very easy.
Yeah.
And he had everything go his own way there as well. But the Irish sprinters like Twilight Spinner, Measure of Magic was third in the race. They're rated 106 and 104. He was rated 114. So
Yeah.
he was 8
Well, is
pounds
it?
ahead
Oh,
of the
okay.
second.
And would you like an extra?
Boom, boom,
would you like
boom.
an extra stat just to completely knock you off your roster as well?
I'll come
So
back with one, Kate. Don't you worry about it. I'm full of them.
Sylvester de Souza's last 70 rides at Ascot. Guess how many winners?
Oh, I know. I think I know this. Oh no, I'm sure I've been asked this question. Some really weird.
An answer would be good.
3?
Not even that.
Not even 3. 1.
One
A
winner.
70?
Yeah,
This is
really
where
low.
SDS comes good. Don't you
Really
worry
low.
about it. Oh, they're actually showing a replay. They're showing a replay of the Flying Five we can see at the moment. Which
Start
is
the race off, don't worry.
which was, of course, where Rohan, as Barry mentioned, we could see he fell out the gates, didn't he? And he's
That was
come along.
remarkable.
So I like Art Power. We'll get that. Anyone for Rohan?
I mean, I'm just going to make me sound stupid. Yes, I think Rohan's got an absolutely massive chance this. It was remarkable, the lengths I made up.
He's a freak, isn't he?
Such a freak. Rohan, but I'm sticking with Minzal. But I won't forgive myself if I don't give a shout out for Happy Romance, because I know we could maybe say she prefers slightly quicker ground. But actually, she's still been improving, and I really liked her at Newbury.
Happy Romance.
I
Yeah,
interviewed
that's another
Rich-
Kills project,
yeah, I
isn't it?
interviewed Hannah at Newbury in the Hackwood. She's really smart. She's really nice.
She will like it the harder they go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just whether
she
or not the
warms
ground's
up.
quick
She's
enough
game.
for her. That's my only other
I don't
concern
really
about
think
her.
it
but-
is.
Fourth,
but
of course, in the Sprint Cup last time, Emiratiana. Emiratiana, by the way, goes to the Breeders' Cup along with Glass Slippers for our friend of the show, Adam and Kevin Ryan. I
25
can
to
tell you
1
that much.
Happy
Looking forward to that
Romance.
trip.
Might be worth it. Frame.
Right, so Rohan, he was one of the... I've got Art Pound and Rohan, and funny enough, the market's found it, but we flirted with the idea of trying to talk to Dave Evans on some of the shows that we do this week, and I noticed, listen to this, right, Dave Evans, who usually has runners anywhere he can, every day, every year, he's got, I think this is his only runner today, he's not even got one tomorrow as well. That
Planning on
suggests the bar
celebrating
has been
tonight.
booked.
Yeah, that's what
No,
I mean.
if
yeah.
you
There are
let-
many horses, Dave, that won their first race off 55 and go on to be rated
Exactly.
double their initial rating.
55.
This is one of those, Barry, where you've just got to, if he wins, just all the trends, the rule books,
Yeah.
because you can easily knock him out. Well, he was going through the
And-
all-weather championships, wasn't he, and getting beaten.
Oh, look at the...
Getting beaten, yeah. And I just give a special mention to Shane Kelly, who unfortunately for him has lost the right to Brian Moore, because he was a big part of the horse's success, recent success.
Yeah,
Glad
yes.
you said that about
Yes.
Shane. He's...
If he breaks on terms, like he
Proper
won the
horseman,
Woking.
Shane.
Do you remember the narrative going into Royal Ascot as well, where the Geldings couldn't run in the Commonwealth Cup, and the two
That's
that
right,
couldn't,
yeah.
they both won.
Creative
Because, of course,
Force.
Creative Force as well. So it's been some mad season, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
It
The
has
two
been,
horses
Charlie.
that like in the Fillies Mile
I
last
actually
year
made that
with the
mistake
saddle cloths.
at Haydock with Rohan. As in all the excitement, completely forgetting. And then, obviously, David was like, he's gelding. I was like,
Yes,
I was so
you
excited.
tipped him up for the Commonwealth
Oh,
Cup. I think a lot of people
I'm
did.
so excited.
Oh, yeah. To be
And
fair,
Creative
people were
Force
tipping
as
up Kamari, wasn't it? Who was the other gelding?
Yes.
For Charlie
Oh, the
Appleby.
St.
People were
Ledger
tipping him up for
thing.
the St.
And
Ledger. Could it
Yabir
go to
as
the
well.
St. Ledger? It's Yabir, sorry, not Kamari.
Yeah.
Yes, no, sorry, it was Kamari. Yeah.
Yeah, they say that pets are like their owners, don't they? And Rohan is just the epitome of Dave Evans. And if he wins this, like I say, if you're at Ascot or anywhere near the vicinity, find out where they're partying tonight, because he's got no runners tomorrow. Very unusual for Dave Evans. All right, who haven't we mentioned? Kinross runs here, Frankie Dettori and Rafe Beckett. Like the ground, what about the trip?
Yes, that's the only concern, really, isn't it? Because between himself, with his win in the Lennox Stakes and Creative Force, I mean, I actually fancy Creative Force to reverse that form here, because the thing with a 7 furlong trip in comparison to the 6 furlong here is that I actually, this is going to sound completely counterintuitive, but I actually think that Kinross is a quicker horse than Creative Force, and I think he showed that in the Lennox Stakes with the way he quickened up in comparison to Creative Force. Suggested to me he was actually quicker, which
interesting.
in theory should make him more difficult to beat back over 6 furlongs. However, the 6 furlongs at Ascot, completely different story though, and you want a horse that can maintain that high cruising speed for longer, I think,
Yeah.
than a Goodwood 7 furlongs, which Creative Force has over Kinross. So I'm going to be siding with Creative Force here, because he is completely one of my horses of the entire season, the way he's worked his way up. And you could even see when he then cited Newbury on his 5th start, that there were many doubts whether he was going to cope with the good to soft ground there, because he had only previously run on good to firm, but he absolutely destroyed them in the listed Carnarvon Stakes, dealt with the soft ground, there's soft ground form on his dam side. And
He loves
then
Ascot as well,
He
doesn't he?
loves Ascot as well, because he was meant to run in the Commonwealth Cup, was a gelding, planned was
Yeah.
forced, had to run in a Jersey. I think he just got the trip of the 7 furlongs in a Jersey. I wouldn't say he was comfortable, but I just think a stiff 6 furlongs, soft ground, sees him to optimal effect. Last time out, draw a line through his run at Haydock in the Sprint Cup, because he stumbled out of the source, not able to get involved before staying on well. Don't think he liked the ground there either. So
Yeah.
he should have everything in his favour here. So I fancy him to reverse the form of Kinross, and he's just so likeable. Good Ascot record. Good
He's learning how to
record
sprint
on
as
the...
well, hasn't he? I think Charlie Appleby said in Newmarket, he was talking about him, and he said he's actually began to learn how to sprint now.
That's exactly it, yeah. He was, even though he was winning, he was a very slow progressor, I thought, because even before his listed Carnarvon win, he was so worked up beforehand. If you remember,
he was fancy for the commentary as a 2-year-old, and then we didn't see him until he came back at Newmarket, and Charlie was a little bit surprised that day. So he's one of the stable favourites without question, and he's at the Racing Post has been 2 buzz horses for the work that we've been hearing about. Creative Force has been 1 this week, and Master of the Seas in the QE2 is the other one that's apparently been
with the hood off
doing all the good things.
Yeah, I was really keen on Master of the Seas until I read Charlie Appleby saying it's a stepping stone for Del Mar.
Yes, I know, stepping stone.
They won't mind winning this before they go there, let me tell you.
Of course they won't. Be perfect.
All right. Palace Pier by Eid still to come, of course. Snowfall after this. Are you with or against? Get your interactions in. Get your questions in for Natalie, for Kate, Barry, all along the way. We celebrated today. It's Champions Day. Why not? Myself, Dave Orton, delighted to be back.
Should have worn hats, shouldn't we?
I'm glad I didn't go to Watford this afternoon, my football team. I think we're taking a right old drubbing.
He's still losing. Still.
It's not gone well.
No.
It's not gone well.
Oh.
I know. That sinking feeling.
That's all right. You've had your 2 things go wrong today, so, well, 3.
Yeah, we'll get to that, won't we?
So,
yeah,
yes.
okay. They are going in the stalls. You'll be thrilled to hear about. We're seeing celebrities at Ascot at the minute. It's the final. Look at the crowd scenes there. Isn't it
nice,
just marvellous?
isn't it?
10,000 back at Sydney this morning for the Everest. Nature Strip took that. I was bang up early watching that. That's great to see. You know, it was really tough for them down under. Thrilled to see that as well. All right, Barry, they're going in. I'll take their time. Definitely all about Art Power now.
Yeah, 4.3, 7.4 Rohan, 8.6 Creative Force, Dragon Symbol Friendless at 8.8, Kinross Steady at 8.2, Minzal as well, Friendless at 22, Vardrim has come in for a bit of support into 21.
Marvellous. Thank you, Barry. OK. I can't believe that I'm with Art Power for the first time. He's drawn stall 20 and he's a fab. He couldn't make it up. What a turncoat I am, you'll be saying out there.
And we don't know how he's going to be ridden.
And we don't know how he's going to be ridden. Sylvester's on, and didn't you pour more than cold water on that? It's the ice bucket challenge.
It is a stat, though. It's a big one. One win.
I know.
Brando going in for the Ryans. 6th appearance.
Yeah.
We've been saying that all season with Brando, though. He's just a remarkable character. All right, good luck then. Second of 6 coming your way. It's the Champion Sprint. We're off and running. A little bit tidy away, Thunder Moon. And apart from that, I'm seeing where they're going. You know why.
Glen Shields,
Here
far
we
side.
go. I tell you what, Glen Shield in the first time blinkers. This is what Holly did last year when she took out the first 2 races. That unbelievable run she went on. The interesting thing to say is they're still with them near side with Gustavus Weston. Nando Parado hasn't gone his way this year, is it, the commentary runner? Looking for Art Power. He's getting a nice toe at the moment with Happy Power there as well. Rohan, not too bad today, but he's still right out the back. Brando travelling away. Kate, Tracey, impressions?
Going to form so far because Art Power is taking a lead under Sylvester de Sousa, far more patient. We expected Glen Shield to go forwards. Rohan didn't get away quickly. In rear, being pushed along from quite an early stage. Nando Parado settled much better in these cheek pieces. Glen Shield, he's going to be a very difficult horse to pass.
Yes, look at Creative Force here.
Here's
Come on, Creative Force.
Creative Force has got this, hasn't he? I'll tell you what, Art Power's right down the middle. He's finishing like a train. Can they get it? Glen Shield, here comes Art Power. Creative Force, we know he stays. Come on, the power of Art. Could this be Sylvester getting the 70? Creative Force has got this, I think, guys, hasn't he?
One for Buick. One for Buick.
It's landed on the exchange.
Come on, Creative Force.
Glen Shield bounces back in the first time blinkers. I think Art Power just got forward ahead of, was that Minzal?
Minzal was third, yeah.
Belter, Barry Orr then. From a long way out, there was only 3 that could have possibly won. When did they latch on to the boy in blue?
He took it up with 2 furlongs to go and he went short. Well, a furlong and a half to go, really, and he went short. Once he got by Glen Shields, there was nothing coming back to coming out of the pack to claim him, Dave. And it looks like they've all gravitated towards the far side. So low numbers seem to be definitely where you want to be. Creative Force obviously drawn 5. And 1 back for William Buick. Yeah, that's put a different slant on it now. And if you just give me 2 seconds, I'll let you know how they're betting. Because obviously on the exchange, we're betting in running on the jockey's title. So I'll just go to specials here. And it's no, it hasn't refreshed yet. It's still 101 Oisin Murphy. But yeah, you can back William Buick at 20 now.
Wow.
Oh, wow. 20, considering he's still got a favourite chant. Well,
could we be about to witness something special? Never accuse me of creating false drama. But I can sense it.
False drama.
I can smell it. It's coming. And I always get that. He's making a mountain out of a molehill there. Funny enough, that's my job. But what a performance that was. 2 from 2, Kate Tracey. Is the competitive streak coming out just yet, or are we happy for Kate?
I'm actually just really quite enjoying. And Spotlight's No, I'm happy with the way Minzal run in third, but Creative Force was the best horse in that on the day, and that's nothing to take away from it. I mean, look, it's big old field, isn't it? And I think the pace was right. It was obviously an excellent ride by Buick, and I'm delighted he's got a win. Of course I am, yeah.
Yeah, so he's now, he's of course, he's 2 from 3, isn't he? Take out the commentary run, and he just absolutely loves it. Wasn't it great to see a horse, a sprinter, come and, just go on the bridle there? I'm watching Minzal.
It's beautiful watching the replay
Watch Kinross as well, guys. Who saw Kinross in the run there? He looked like a big eye catcher. I bet it'll be interesting to see if he tries his luck as a sprinter next year. Art Power's run an absolute cracker because
considering
no one near him stands rail.
Of the first 4 home, he is the only one who's come from this stand side. I know that they've drifted across to the centre, but they were far more on this stand side than I was expecting for far longer. And the thing with this race, you expect the pace to collapse given the nature of this race, but it just historically doesn't. Hence why Glenn Sheard does have that solid record in this race, and he's been able to post yet another cracking performance in these first-time blinkers here. We expected him to go forwards, and he's such an admirable horse who, because obviously he is a 7-year-old, but he's a gelding, we're going to get him for seasons more to come. But Creative Force, this is just him in his optimal conditions. Good to soft ground, slight cut underneath, stiff 6 furlongs to cover. He had a decent draw here as well, around the pace, and he is just such a likeable horse who's had a season of all seasons, I think the old quote goes as.
Yeah, and we said he was the buzz horse about the work. What does that say about Master of the Seas in the QE2? They're really happy with that chap as well. So the top of the class, best in class work, in the Godolphin stables, they're going to be buzzing now, aren't they? And he's got one back. Will Buick in the second. Ollie Doyle must have thought she was going to repeat the feat.
Yeah, it's not. The blinkers have certainly done the trick though, as in, I know Glenn Sheard hasn't won that, but he's run an absolute blinder in the blinkers. You get it? Hey.
Absolutely. Didn't see that coming.
But that's what they're for, aren't they? Like them
your
up a court. Yeah.
Great stuff. Yeah, look,
best.
that was so enjoyable, wasn't it? And I was just watching the head-on Happy Romances run a race again.
Yeah.
There were 2 eye catchers in there for me. Var Dream.
Yes.
Definitely an eye catcher. David Egan didn't get the best run through. She's improving the 3-year-old. Put her in your tracker. And also Kinross. Frankie Dory had to sit up on the stirrups, and then he was basically coming back at the finished on the bridle. Dragon Symbol.
No, it's the end of a long season.
End of a long
season. Fair for him.
Yeah.
Like I say, conditions were in his favour, but just had those slight doubts that he didn't manage to get the official win earlier on, and at the end of a long season, why would it come now?
Yeah, and they're going to be excited about Minzal now if they can keep him in one piece as well, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. That's
he's on the right side, of course, but that was a big.
No, he's had 2 really good runs now in a short space of time. It's very, very encouraging. Clearly, a little bit fragile, and got to look after him. But it was a pleasing run.
Oh goodness me, Kinross really did get murdered, didn't he, at that point of the race by Ainsdale?
I'm being told that Paul Bakewell, Frankie Butters, great name, and Mally Draycott had that as well out there. We are watching you guys. We're building up the social comments for you. Don't worry. Loads of winners today. That's what we want, isn't it? Absolutely. Everyone wants a winner on Champions Day. Could Will Buick somehow pull this out of the fire and even get a tie? That would be amazing, wouldn't it? So low numbers in the Balmoral. Will it be low numbers as well? That's the other straight race we got in the QE2 as well. Palace Pier. The wheels came off in the race last year, didn't it? Bade, Palace Pier. Is it a match, or are we going elsewhere without teasing it too much?
Without teasing it too much. Otherwise, we'll run out of things to say.
We certainly won't with you guys on the panel.
Not with us.
Not a chance.
No fear.
Wheels came off, but you've got to be slightly realistic. I know Keels, he's like, the shoe coming off. I'm not any of that, right?
Did you hear him say
I
that
totally
to me
disagree.
Yesterday? He actually had a right pop at me about
I
it.
totally disagree because they are very, very sensitive. And he also had a cut leg.
Take the floor. I'm glad Keels will be watching this at some point. I'll make sure of it.
Go for it, Keels.
Make
Because look at Hurricane Lane when he lost both front shoes. That slowed him up, right? And then what a good horse he is. They are very sensitive. Remember, they only have racing plates on. They've got sensitive little feet. Not only did Palace Pier lose a shoe at the start, it also cut his leg. The 2 things that you don't particularly want to happen in a massive horse race, arguably
I knew I was right about that.
Races. It's not
right.
ideal. Horse racing, all the factions have to come into place on the day. So you don't want anything going wrong. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's just, oh, no problem, a shoe came off. I disagree.
He
I
actually
think it's...
groaned at me when we were
No,
talking about that. You saw it, did you?
I saw it.
Did you? Oh, what are
I
you
was
talking
like,
about, mate? He said blooming excuses, he said. But
No, honestly, if you're
hop
riding out at
sometimes.
home,
Yeah,
if your horse loses a front shoe on the gallop, you don't even ride them. You take them straight back to the box, and then you get the farrier to put the shoe back on them. Yeah, you weren't even a hind shoe. You'll ride them without, but a front shoe, you do not ride. You have to get off the horse's back there and then to even ride them back.
Yeah, they can go hopping lane.
And he still finished third.
Yeah.
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 So no, it is a
There you
definite
go, Keels.
Sorry,
Some of us,
Keels.
no, you're welcome back.
Can't really give him too much. You can't really dig Keels too much because
Does that make up for Sylvester? Does that make up for?
Sort of. It is. It's sort of making
getting
up
there.
for a tricky day. Yeah, okay, all right. So let's talk about the next race coming up, shall we? Let's just get you that Betfair SP then. Creative Force. He began in April. He was gelded. They didn't think he was going to be the horse he was. He hasn't grown, but what a pocket rocket he
Yeah,
is
that was
turning out to be.
great.
And he's got that Group 1 sprint in the bag. Marvellous. We could all do with a bit of Creative Force's resolution, especially today. Okay, so shall we move on, guys? There's the snowfall. You can see the next race coming up. Now, here's an interesting question for you all out there, and a broader question. Is this the greatest racing day that one can remember? It's been said by some corners of the media, isn't it, in particular, and the industry and some race fans, this is the greatest day we can ever remember. I had a call on the way in at some point.
I think it's well named. It is a Champions Day.
Yes. Yeah.
We've had crowned as a champion, obviously the champion stayer. It's sprint and division, they could beat each other day in, day out. You know, it's really difficult to have one there. But for the remaining Grade 1 races or Group 1 races, you'd have to say, yeah, most definitely. It's the best Champions Day. I remember, if you take Frankel out of the equation, I think it truly lives up to its billing.
Now, okay, so Barry, let's
2012,
stick
God, that
with you
was
then. So Barry's got in the first answer, because we're calling this the snowfall race, right? She could have gone to the Champions. Love Blood was wrong, so we're led to believe. She reroutes here. We've got a large on shot, Barry. Is this a good race? Is the Fillies and Mare race strong? People knocking the sprint a little bit, and we end with a handicap as well. So I don't know. I'm sitting somewhere in the middle with it, really.
Really, and what day would you have ahead of it? The opening day of Royal Ascot.
Well, yeah, that's a great shout, actually. Yeah.
What are you measuring?
The
it
art
against?
card, I think. I love the art card. I think. I know that
if you're talking international racing now, that's a different story altogether. If you're talking domestic racing in the UK, I think this is.
The eyes of the world are on this, aren't they? The Breeders' Cup. This is the sort of card it should be for us, shouldn't it? Should we have the Dewhurst on it? That's something that was mentioned. Should we have a Group 1 for 2-year-olds, the Mill Reef? There's talk about that being upgraded. That would probably
I may as well
be
make
the
it
one.
10 race card, yeah. Go for it.
Handicap
Put them all in.
them.
Stick them all in.
Hang on a
A
minute.
bumper at the end as well.
We had a bumper at the start. We had a bumper at in the first race.
Don't mention bumpers.
Winding you up.
Races. It's a disgrace that there's only 6 races on the card.
Yeah, that's what they have.
Now he's coming back.
now
This is
he's
the Barry I
coming.
know. There he is. He's out there somewhere. Absolutely. So, Barry, is this all about snowfall? That's kind of where I'm going. Viewers, let us know as well. Greatest day you can remember, or not quite? Barry, snowfall. What price?
Yeah, it's all about her, really, isn't it? Like, she's been an exceptional filly. She's a dual Oaks winner, and so impressive as well. Record breaking. What can I say about her? Hasn't already been said. She's really is a marvellous filly, and she's backing up just 13 days off the back of the Arc run, where she ran really well in the Arc. I'm not so sure many of these be met in the same race. You can't say that she's like fallen out in love with the game or gone in her coat or anything. She looks a picture in the ring, and she's going to take a hell of a lot of beating. She was 4-5 and 8-11 earlier on in the week. She was 15-8 on the last time I looked. On the exchange, she's 1-7-5, so she's 8-11 on the exchange. They're looking to take her on, I suppose, but that's such is the nature of a price in a competitive race like this, that you will have punters looking to take her on. I'm going to look elsewhere against her for a bit of each way value, because for each way punters, it's the dead 8. It's the number that the bookmakers hate. And I like a Shada in the race. I backed her in the Ribblesdale on the show, Dave, if you recall.
I do.
Just now didn't really get the rub of the green that day. Was a little bit unfortunate to be beaten by Loving Dream. Loving Dream's gone on and has won a Group 1 since in Longchamp just a couple of weeks ago. So the form of the race is standing up of the Ribblesdale. At the time, it looked a little bit weak, but it has stood up subsequently. She went to York then, and she ran an absolute stinker. Has to have been an excuse for her in York. She couldn't have ran that bad. So I'm delighted to see them bring her out again before the season finishes. She comes here relatively fresh off the back of 58 days, and I think she's a real each-way play here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back her each way on the sportsbook, please.
Sportsbook. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to toggle over to the sportsbook and look to back her each way. please, Kate. We're going to have 25 quid each way around the sports book.
Each way, yeah, perfect.
Because it is an each way play. Like if the favourite wasn't to run up to her best, I think a shadow could be thereabouts to do her, but I can't see past the favourite. There's without markets there as well that I could have played in here, but I think each way is the way I'd like to bet in the race.
I'm sure a lot of people will be following you in, Barry. Yeah, Shada, I remember she won at Newbury on the comeback. I was like, what's this? And you're right, it was the only blip of her career, says Roger Varian. At York, she comes out again. Jim Crowley. It's just still late, isn't it? Let's get socials on. Let's absolutely. I think this is going to be a line here about this. Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Hugh Masson. One of my favourites comes back on and says, "Really like a shuttle without Snowfall." There you go. Got to take on Albaflora. She's no superstar. Yes, okay. So Albaflora. I guess it's going back to Ascot, isn't it, for Rafe Beckett's and Ross Orion's filly. She's danced some big dances, but again, she's been on the go a long time as well, hasn't she? I thought 4-1 was skinny enough. Historically on trends, this falls down to 2 and it's Snowfall and Albaflora, but I can sense something running a biggie. Maybe it is a Shada. Lajacond we should mention, because everywhere Snowfall goes, so does Holly and Lajacond as well.
Whether she gets the fractions right or not.
Don't go there,
According to the
Frankie.
Tory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but Lajacond probably will do what she's been doing throughout her career, and that's leading Snowfall. We've got one more before we go in for the tips. And it's Hugh versus Ross, with Ross Irwin comes in and says, "No way, Hugh Masson. Albaflora, I'm having it." Okay, so if you remember when she won the listed Buckhounds on her return, we covered this on the show. She beat Tribal Craft. Senseless. One of the rides of the season for me as well, Ross Orion. The way he attacked it on the far side, which you don't often see at Ascot. Absolutely brilliant. So, look, keeping the face with Albaflora as well. Who are we putting up, Natalie Green?
I'm quite keen on Albaflora. Sorry. She's actually from a family that actually get a bit better with age. So it's it's quite a nice line to think about her. I mean, I've written here, she needs Snowfall to run below her par, but even if Snowfall does run below her par, she'll probably still win this. Do you know what I mean? Like, what else in this has won a Group 1, never mind a couple? It's Snowfall.
Yeah, well, on RPRs, which a lot of people just like to look at them on the top of them, you've got Snowfall £6 clear of Albaflora. So the market's going on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Snowfall is really obviously the one to beat, and even if Snowfall doesn't run to her best, she can still win this.
When does Snowfall taper off? You know, is she like a creative force that we've just seen? Been on the go for a long while now. Of course, turned herself inside out. Remember, at one point, everyone wanted to be with her in the Arc. She finished 6th in that case.
Yeah, I actually thought, well, I was a bit disappointed, really, because she was right upside the winner, turning into the home straight, and yet she still didn't pick up in the manner expected, considering all the allowances she gets, considering the 3-year-old filly's record in the Arc. So I have to admit that I was a little bit underwhelmed for that. For all on the face of it, it looks like a very respectable performance. So you do have to have that doubt. And obviously, horses that come from the Arc meeting as a whole don't actually have as bad a record as you would have thought when going to British Champions Day.
And in this race.
Yes, especially in the fillies and mares. However, horses going from the Arc to British Champions Day have a much worse record. So the Arc is the crux of this conundrum. There you go, there's a name for a racehorse. Crux of the conundrum. There you go.
Did Magical flop in the Arc and then come and win this?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, Magical Hydrangea.
So the last 2 favs have won this race. Obviously wonderful tonight. That was one of the, since doing this show, that was one of the absolute highlights.
Oh, so I've got there. Sweet.
What a wonderful highlight. A star catcher, of course, it tends to go to in fact, in the last 10 years, only 2 horses in double figures. Madam Chang, when it was just dreadful ground, in the Albaflora colours for Dave Simcock and Kirsty Housing. And Seal of Approval, who somehow went off at 16-1. She was a really good horse as well. Proper fillies win this. Is it all about Snowfall? Doesn't seem so from some of the interactions we're getting. I've put her up. I've put her up. No apologies for putting up at what?
It's just
I'm not sure she'd be an 8 to 11 shot, actually.
Yeah, as you say, she is very short.
I wonder whether this is one that they will be backing. This is the kind of one that they will be turning up to Ascot today, walking in the lads.
Yeah,
the Coolmore Mafia, and saying, yeah, this is just going to win. She's drawn in stall 3. She'd get a lead from Lajacond, her old rival. That's weird to say that, isn't it? Same
a rival / lead horse.
But Kate, Tracey, you're on a hat trick.
Ooh.
What's it going to be?
The least attractive betting race. Snowfall's the obvious horse to beat. Whether I would back her at that price remains to be seen. But as I say, I'll go back into that in a bit more detail then later on, because you're basically getting a free hit at an each way price for the rest of those. But Snowfall, on all known form, should be winning. She's rated £10 higher than Albaflora, yet she's getting £6 from Albaflora. That just goes to show you that Snowfall, if she goes back to the form shown in her trio of Oaks wins, she bolts up in this and you're looking at lengthen your odds markets potentially. So she really should be winning this. But as you say, it was very disappointing, her run in the Prix May, where she was beaten by Tiona. Don't get me wrong, very smart filly in her own right when she is on song. But the fact she took an age to get past the stablemate La Jaconde to beat her only by half a length, that really was the underwhelming factor in that race. And as I just reiterated, my thoughts behind her run in the Arc last time out was underwhelming. However, she should have everything in her favour, really, to do this. And she hasn't got any of that competition to be dealing with here back against her own sex. So, yes, she is certainly the most likely winner of this. But I have to touch on Invite, who is a fascinating runner in this. And she would probably carry the each-way money for me at her current price. If I can get about 7-1, is she, Barry? I believe.
Yeah, I got a little note for Invite, but I just... Obviously, their yard are in such tremendous form, the best season they've had, but Chester's pretty different.
Very different.
That is my only sort of comparison.
But she was
sharp,
so impressive.
Lunge on the left. But she was really impressive.
Team Valor and Andrew Balding
really
and John Egan. Big ride for John, isn't it?
Who hasn't had a group winner for 15 years. Yeah.
Stats are plenty coming my way today. I wish I could bounce that one back. He was obviously on at Chester, wasn't he? John.
And he's ridden her in
the other statesman of the weighing room.
So well.
Drawn in stall 2. And Tom Segal put this up in his anti-post pick a couple of weeks ago, saying she is a right tool on soft ground. So.
Yeah, I thought Keith Melrose as well a little bit.
The Melrose put it up,
did he? Invite.
Invite.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Like I said, because she's actually been withdrawn twice when she was first with Andrew Balding on good ground. So he cited her at good stuff last time out. And I know it was Chester and very different and only listed company. However, the way that she extended at the line by 2 lengths, I mean, that was double that in a few strides.
I wouldn't put her in this.
Beat the boys as well.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, she beat the boys. And that was
watch out for her to be played a little bit late. So I imagine in running, she might go a little bit big at one point.
Yes.
I know she's 15-2 now, but I think John will be looking to come down the outside.
Like Barry with like we're all sort of trying to look at different angles. I think we all agree that Snowfall looks the one to beat. For me, Alpha looks absolutely laid out for this race, and I like that. I love targets. I love having a proper plan with a horse, and for me, this looks
should
like
be some pace on, shouldn't it? And talk about old rivals as well. Do you remember when Mystery Angel, who seems to have been on the go since I don't know, since 2017? She's installed 5 for George Bowie. Great season George has had.
Yeah.
It was all about the 2-year-olds early on. Clever move. There's
been a few good
got
young
them right.
trainers.
He's been coming back a little bit. They always go a little bit in the season, then come back. And Ben Curtis on another good year, and Nick Bradley as well in these colours as well. Lightly pace angle, second to Snowfall, although beaten, 16 lengths or something remarkable. But she again could have a say. She'll like the ground, won't she? She's tough as nails. Lady Hayes has got interesting bits of form as well. The other variant horse with Andrea on. Some of her very best form would see her, run better than these odds would imply. And she's going to get a ground saving.
Yeah,
run.
likes juice in the ground as well, which is so it is. It's one of those races. Like the more you look into it, almost like the more interesting it becomes. Like you delve into it and you think, you can make cases.
We've got battles all over the card today, haven't we?
Yes.
Palace Pier Bailly, we had Trushan Stradivarius, which came to the fore. We've had the sprinters being wide open. This is basically Snowfall or the field, isn't it?
Versus the field, yes. Yeah, exactly, Snowfall the field. It is totally. And that's why, in some aspects, it's such an unattractive betting heat because of the price that Snowfall is, even though she's the most likely winner. But as Barry said, with the dead 8 here, we've basically got a free hit in each way play for any of the runners in here.
Absolutely may as well.
In that sense, it makes it far more attractive from a betting perspective.
Okay, I'm just looking at the chats as well that are going on. Looking at the chats going on. Some of the stuff that's on there is quite great. It's lovely how the people have their own little thing going. We're building an RP Live community here with Betfair.
Good.
Yes.
Used to be the Betfair forum, didn't it? Now it is the RP Live Betfair chat. It's the place to be on a Saturday. And they're really having a go at each other as well. It's quite good. It's really good to see.
I'm glad I
Dave,
don't see that.
are you sticking with the mighty Cormier at Foss Lass? I'm getting all that now. Foss Lass is where Enzo is. They've sent Enzo down to Foss Lass today. What's he done wrong? He's the world champion hurdle, believe it or not, somewhere along the line. Of course, Miss Shrift coming along. Is he the best horse in the world? We've got all this to come at 3:50. What, an hour and a half away from that today?
Not far.
Yeah, no, exactly. Not far.
It just comes thick and fast today, doesn't it? It's amazing, really, when you have days like this. Mishriff, God, that's interesting,
When do you switch to the jump season? Of course, both of you steeped in.
Well, I was jumping yesterday. You Toxter.
Good card there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah.
It's often an informative card. There's been a dry period. They can't be moaning about that after what's come this morning, etc., isn't it?
I know, the weather was amazing yesterday. When do you switch? I
We've got the Vertem Futurity next week, which we'll be covering.
I don't
but
just
Cheltenham
focus.
is back.
No, I don't just focus on Cheltenham. No,
The purist, Barry, they used to say, didn't they, us old boys, never bet before the Guineas at Newmarket and never bet over jumps before the Friday, countryside day of the Open meeting.
Yeah, that's when the seasons were very clearly defined. Whereas now you've national hunt racing all year round and you've flat racing all year round. So
Yes.
those old adages seem to go out the window, Dave. If I fancied a horse strong enough, it wouldn't really stop me having a bet early in the season. I had a couple of bets on the national hunt card in Chepstow just last week. So yeah, I wouldn't
it was
hold
a good card actually at Chepstow.
any weight in those old adages.
It was a good card, yeah. We were a little bit surprised, myself and Barry, that we weren't covering one of those, albeit on Future Champions Day. But the timings of the race, what was it? 3:30 was the off of the Silver Trophy, the big race of the day, and then the Cesaro was 3:35. Didn't give us much chance.
But Chepstow was also my starter for national.
Yeah, I'm a
hunt
bit like that. Yeah,
I'm always
I'm
as
not
soon as that
Foss
Friday
Lass
comes
actually,
around.
but I had Enzo on the phone yesterday. And he was saying, "Oh, going out to Foss Lass or whatever." He goes, "I want to watch the Shriff win the Champion Stakes, and at 4 o'clock I've got the Welsh Champion Hurdle." Who's planning these things? They have actually moved it now.
Yes,
So they've. I
4:35
like it when
now,
just
yeah.
think it. Come on, see something you can react to it, can't you? No one cares.
Yeah.
If no one cares if the 4:35 becomes the 4 o'clock and vice versa.
exactly.
So fair play to Foss Lass. If you jumps fans are out there watching the Welsh Champion Hurdle, maybe you're there. Go and say hello to Enzo. And will it be the Shrift for Enzo later on? We shall find out. All right, we're watching them go round then. Snowfall. Barry said she looks a picture. Is she on the slide yet, Barry? That's the question.
Yeah, she's steady away at 180 now, 4 to 5 strong. She was as short as 170, and she's been as big as even money. So she's just hovering somewhere in between those prices. Steady at that, Dave. 4.9 Alba Flora, Invite 9.6, a little bit weak, and it's 20 bar. Shada out to 21 now. So, she dominates the betting here, and it's skew with the market, obviously, but she's rightly favoured.
Yeah, Alba Flora looks like she wants to get on with things a little bit. She's was taken away out of the.
He's not had a winner raid, no, Brian, since the 7th of October. Are we reading much into that, or?
See, this is the thing with yards that are out of form. I've always been of the opinion that they don't matter with their top performers. I mean, we saw.
Are you saying he's out of form, Kate Tracey?
His horses definitely aren't running to expectation. So, but the best horses do often come through on the day. I mean, we saw this, an example that comes to mind straight away was Ben Pauling a couple of seasons ago when he was out of form and he had the likes of Global Citizen still running well regardless. I mean, last year or Philip Hobbs, when he was out of form, he still had a few horses running well regardless. Of course, they're national hunt examples in comparison, which are easier to draw. But the big days don't seem to matter as much. I mean, we saw it with St. Mark's Basilica when he won at Leopardstown. Then that was a cracking performance, unbelievable to overturn Tarnawa. Yet they hadn't had a winner in the last about something like 50 runners or something like that in the Irish Champions Stakes.
Bit in and out, but
Such a powerhouse operation, though, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like.
scary.
Yeah, well, this will
Scary.
tell a lot out there for you watching, whether he really is, They've got the Breeders' Cup coming up as well. Aidan O'Brien out of form, I don't know. Is there ever such a thing? I don't really know. But yeah,
I suppose it's because he sets the bar so high. We're so used to these super Saturdays, these big Saturdays, Aidan, and he has been less. But he's not been doing that badly abroad though. So you can't.
Still running a 50%
exactly.
strike rate runs
France,
to form.
America, he's still been
It's
flying out
a
the
market that
windows abroad.
doesn't mislead you very often.
Click
That's why
on
I
your
say
members
expectation,
club section, your cards though. If you go down, I agree with you out there. You've got to go down quite a few runners before you see that last winner. Snowfall then, make or break, you sense, for a lot of punters out there, and they are down at the start. We're around about 7 minutes away still though from the filly and mares. After this, of course, it's the poster boy, isn't it? Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I quite like that. I really enjoyed the
wasn't
article.
it?
Yeah.
It was a really...
I don't think that was his headline, actually. I think that would have been someone else. Sorry, TT. But I was like, the Muhammad Ali of flat races back. Who's he talking about?
Yeah, but
And of course
the picture
it is
worked
Palace
brilliantly
Pier.
as well. Palace Pier, just off his neck and his big
Up
broad
against the
chest.
up-and-coming, Baid.
Young pretender.
Yeah.
I love that analogy of the Joe Frazier, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
At Madison
thought it was
Square Garden
brilliant.
to get beaten and then to come back. And that's so often what makes a champion is the
come
fact that
back.
they get defeated and then they come back. And
We've got the Revenant in that as well, haven't we? Last year's winner, He'll Like the Rain, of course.
Yeah,
Master
love
Seas,
the
we said,
Rain.
working the house down. Come on, let's have it then. Highlights
Yeah.
of the flat season as well. We want to hear those as well. Barry, another highlight in your Saturday jury. Poetic Flair, lovely mention for him as well.
Yeah, I thought he's just been an absolute warrior this season. Sad to see him sold to Japan, really,
Yes.
but that's they're who came up with the big bucks for Jim. I thought Sheikh Mohammed might have dipped his toe in that again, but I think it was something to do with no approach there. But yeah, he's just what a warrior, wasn't he? And what really brought it home to me was Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore had a very specific plan in the Irish Champion Stakes, and it was not to get into a tussle with Poetic Flair. That's what brought him wide into the straight, and obviously that had an effect on Tarawara. But Poetic Flair, such was his toughness that they were keen not to let St. Mark's Basilica get into a tussle with him up the Leopardstown Straight. He's never ran a bad race, did he, Dave? He just day in, day out, doesn't matter about the ground. And his crown and glory was probably at Ascot, Royal Ascot for the St. James's Palace when he got good, decent, fast ground for the first time and absolutely blitzed them. So it was a pity we didn't get to see him again on decent ground. And I heard Jim Bulger on Nick Luck's excellent podcast saying that he only wished he could have held on to him as a 4-year-old, that you would have really seen another step up from him. So it's racing's loss in this part of the world. I'm sure he'll be supported by breeders. And if he's really successful out there, they might even try to buy him back. But he's going to be a bit of a loss to us over here, for sure.
And that's what makes me a bit sad. It was like, it could have even been 2 years ago. I cannot tell you. When I remember doing the opening show and John Gosden had just come up with saying, you know, it's such a shame we're going to become a nursery to sell abroad. But he's got a flipping point, though.
Well, it's not.
It's business. I know it's business. I get it.
It's not often the Group 1 horses that go. I mean, obviously stallion duties and things like that.
I
But
get it.
he's got some chin on him, Poetic Flair, isn't he? Basically, he could take a punch.
Yeah.
And it was that day in the St James's Palace Stakes that it was just like, whoa.
But yeah, but when you see them like that, you want to keep them, you want to see them more. You know, it's always sad to then.
And arguably, the run of his life probably was in the Champion Stakes where they kept away. Yeah, it was a
pretty mega.
So Poetic Flair, one of the stories of the season. We salute you. Good luck in Japan.
So many stories of the season.
Great to see Jim Bulger back as well, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely dominating the start of season. McSweeney, of course, as well.
Yeah, well, I'm doing him. He sort of left it behind in that Guineas, didn't he?
Yes, completely. Yeah, exactly.
He runs today.
Yeah, and he runs
Of course.
today.
Runs today.
Yeah, in the
Should have his ground as well.
Yeah, all right. That's to come. All right, so they are down. We're looking at Snowfall. She's not sweating at the moment. She's absolutely fine because the sun still shines in Berkshire.
Yeah, she looks very, very relaxed, doesn't she? Nice and calm in the preliminaries, which is often what you like to see. Yeah, she does look a picture. She does. Really good coat on her.
So who's the one for money against the Barry? Are they just queuing up for Snowfall now? Is that just it? Is this...
Is Albafor on the drift a little bit?
Albafor is 5.096. Invite has come in for a bit of support, but your favourite steady was 1.8 the last time we spoke, 1.78 now. So it takes a large volume of money to do that when you consider there's over nearly £1.1 million matched in the market.
Okay, thanks, Barry. Of course, Frizzy Red agreeing with Barry. Looks so sad to see Poetic Flair retired. So tough and genuine.
Yeah.
Wonderful Tonight, of course. That was another one that's gone by the wayside. St Mark's Basilica.
So many. And in like 3 weeks, wasn't it, in the news? It's like, Starman.
Who was the only real emission. Emiratiana of our last race. Yeah. And there's only a handful of emissions really today, but they are the notable ones, aren't they?
Yeah. It seemed to just all happen at once, didn't it?
But the 2-year-olds look strong bunch, don't they?
Yes.
That's another thing. Yes. That's another question I was going to ask. I was going to get this on, perhaps, before the next race. Are you Native Trail or are you Caribus? You know what I'm talking about. The boys in blue.
Caribus.
I've got the top 2-year-olds domestically. That's for sure.
What
probably in Europe as well. Yeah, that was good Native Trail last week, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm Caribus.
Are you?
I love Caribus.
What is that?
He didn't realise he was getting beat, did he? Bless him, by
when
Royal
Will
Patrick.
just got the rush of blood to the head and thought, I'm on Frankel.
Yeah.
Away he went. Yeah.
I just thought that was a bit.
Turned out it wasn't.
Bit babyish.
Not quite. Not just
babyish. I can forgive him for that. For me,
see, I'm Native Trail.
I love Caribus.
Come on, look at the form as well.
Caribus.
He's got pounds and pounds of wine. But
it's like you've got 2 kids in school. You've got the real high achiever who still does enough wrong and still got a sort of almost a rebellious streak who still needs to learn. You've got the really good kid in Native Trail who is a teacher's pet, does his work.
Like
They're my 2 analogies.
Always go for the wild
kid.
kids.
The talented lunatic.
Go for the
Yes, you're with the talented lunatic who's still got his quirks, or you're with the teacher's
What
pet.
about the way that Native... But you can't bash... Look, I'm a big
both
Caribus fan as well. I know he's an absolute tool, but if I had to pick one, I would want Native Trail on my team sheet, I think.
I like the rawness of Caribus.
I do think Native Trail's got as well, though. The way he got out of the trouble that he found in the Dewhurst.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Good
Good attitude. But we can't agree with you on everything, can I?
Well, no,
God.
no, of course.
That'd be far too easy.
It would be far too easy. Well, none of us are agreeing on this race. I'm the only one going for the Fav, I think. Should we remind ourselves of the tips? Barry is going for Ashada. Nat?
Each way.
Yeah, each way.
Yeah,
Dead 8.
I think it's really going to be hard to get Snowfall beaten. I just think Albaflora has been laid out for this, and why not? Why not? It's Champions Day.
And
Let's go
Kate?
for it.
I mean, Snowfall's the most likely winner. She really should be winning.
On you on a
this.
hat trick, you put a tip up.
I know, which is why I want to side with Snowfall to bring up the hat trick, but I would not back her at that price with the doubts I have.
There you go, absolutely. The punter comes out.
So I'd be going for invite each way if the money was down.
All right, okay. And they are circling around. Seems like they're taking their time, aren't they, a little bit? They've got a minute to post time. They've been pretty good with the time so far, Ascot. The crowd's absolutely buzzing down there. Let us know your highlight of the meetings you've been back to since we lifted the pandemic restrictions. What was the best meeting you went to this year? Was it the Ebor, the real celebration of people back seeing their equine heroes on the track? And of course, being able to back one and drink it away as well. Let us know. Social Dara on Snowfall. Come on, Snowfall, says Dara Riley. Happy days. I'll be screaming that one home as well. Lajaconda, old rival, going in. Big ride this for Holly as well, isn't it? She had a winner yet for Aidan O'Brien. I think she has, hasn't she? She's always running Group 1s for him.
Yes.
No, she hasn't. I mean, probably in my ear.
But
no,
she
hasn't.
yeah.
This would be
She
so...
wrote a pacemaker during the Dante meeting, didn't she? That finished second.
Lord, whatever it was called. Yeah, oh my Lord.
Looked like it was going to nick the race from him.
Yes. Yeah, of course, the Hurricane Lane Dante. All right, they're all in then. Good luck, wherever you're playing. It's race 3 of 6. We're approaching halfway stage. 1's kicking off. Is that Tribal Craft? And she's out okay. Unlike Snowfall, it was just a little bit snow away. They were rowing away there. What's the market said about that? Yeah, I drifted out a little bit, not surprising, because Mystery Angel, as expected, George Bowy's coat, Ben Curtis, get on with it, and going pretty quick. Lajaconda, only in second today. Ashada, pole position? Very possibly, setting okay. Albaflora has got a nice sit as well. Lady Hayes, Snowfall catching up a little bit. Tribal Craft out the back, and Invite, John Egan. He's going to come with a sweeping run on the... Chester went up from about 2 furlongs out. So I'd imagine now that Ben Curtis, after about 2 furlongs, will drop the anchor. She drifted a little bit, Barry, but she's recovered nicely.
Snowfall 1.80 now. Mystery Angel 48 had a best fair speed 64. If he drops the anchor, it's all to one because Lajaconda and Holly Doyle will go on and pick it up. They're there for one specific reason, and that's to set decent fractions. So it doesn't matter what Ben Curtis does. We favourite 182, 49 Albaflora, 11.5 Ashada, Invite into 9.
And I'll tell you what, as soon as you called that, Barry, she moved up to Ben Curtis and had a little word with him and said, we're cracking on here. So indeed, riding to instructions, Holly at the moment. Don't want to let her slip, do they? So now Mystery Angel drops back into second. Ashada, lovely position, isn't it? Albaflora.
Ashada's travelling real nice.
What are we making of the Fav, ladies?
No, perfect position. She's off that rail, which obviously in soft ground or the round course, you don't want to be pinned on that rail. That's Frankie Dettori's normal ploy for the round course at Ascot. So she's perfectly positioned. She's getting a lovely turn to the race. They steadied down. They were setting 37 miles an hour early on. They did settle down. And now Holly's just starting to ramp it up again before the swing in. But yeah, at the minute, the favourite is in an ideal position, being tracked through by Invite there and John Egan.
Thanks, Kate Tracey. Nat, yeah, all good?
I love that. Nat's always like this, isn't she, during the race? Nat can't
Looking
speak.
a little bit intense there,
Nat's
Natalie.
like this, just staring. No, I mean, yeah, I'm pleased.
They're turning in. She's got, 4 lengths on them?
still-
Ashada not moved. Ryan Moore not moved.
Ashada,
Okay,
5.9.
now Ryan's going to go down the outside. John Egan is following him. Lady Hayes looks
Come on,
good.
Albaflora.
Ashada coming with her chance. Albaflora the one to beat. Here comes Snowfall then.
Go on, Jim.
Come
Come on, Albaflora.
It looks like Jim Crowley on the inside. I tell you what, Barry might have got one
I
here.
don't want
She's
to-
having a little think about it. Snowfall. Ryan's not gone for the stick
she's
yet.
not getting there. She's
What?
Come on,
She's
Alba.
in the locker.
Come on,
She's
Alba.
looking in trouble now. Oh, she's gone massive.
Come on,
It looks
Albaflora.
like Albaflora and Natalie Green's going to get this.
Please,
on the far
Albaflora.
side. It looks, oh my God, can't call this.
Get in there.
I tell you what, Barry, Orr's knocks it out of the park. There's the 101. Woo! Well done, Barry. Shadwell kept the faith. She'd had a break. Forget the York one. It was a blip. That was our first ding-dong battle. You were on the right side.
Wow.
Furious, Barry.
Oh, what a touch. Happy days.
What a touch, she
Delighted with
said.
that. Betfair SP at 29. Can you believe that? The
Well
favourite,
done,
obviously.
Barry.
Well done, Barry.
Very well done,
that
Barry.
was a seriously good pick. I mean, almost. It was all.
We're going through the card. We're going through the card.
Favourite obviously underperformed, but you had him.
That's
Yeah.
close.
Obviously, your runner-up, Albaflora, hit a low of 1.33 in running. So 3-1 on Albaflora for a little over $1,000. Then obviously the favourite didn't trade that short. Didn't 1.28, 7-2 on in running for a little over 300 quid. But game run from the two fillies who finished first and second. But yeah, probably you have to say the favourite massively underperformed.
Well done, Snowfall melted, Paul Bakewell says. I was getting ready to say the sun shines at Ascot, but the snow is falling. Well, she fell in a hole, didn't she, in that final furlong? The arc leaving its mark. Jim Crowley, I tell you what, he definitely thought he was in trouble at one point. Ross Araya sensed it. What an Ascot filly Albaflora is. She'll be back next year. And we've had our first ding-dong. And what was that in fourth? Laja Kond looked like it held on for fourth.
Look at that. Barry, that was such a good tip.
Yeah,
Yes,
well done,
really
Barry.
was.
So the charity's
Such a
flying
good
again
tip.
all of a sudden. Happy days.
And to take on something like that. Was
500 quid for the charity.
There we go. We'll have a bit of that.
Serious.
Well
And we'll go to Barry. Look, he's called it. She was in stall 8, and yet probably the ride of the day, isn't it? Because he got into the absolute dream position. We called that in the run. The two pacemakers was getting on when it folds. Where do you want to be? You're on a horse that they thought was going to be good enough to put it up Snowfall in the Oaks.
Yep.
She's I don't know. They don't often keep them in training, the fillies at 4, but this one you get. I know they got the Group 1 now. It said some more to come.
They
from
didn't
this
knock
filly.
her around. Sure, they didn't. Snowfall.
No.
Yeah.
Once Ryan felt no, it's not happening, he just put his stick down and she came home in her own time. Really, she didn't get a hard race.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder, are they thinking something else for her maybe before the season's out?
Oh man! Well, off the top of my head, Magical used to run in this and then go and put it up to enable Barry,
Breeders'
didn't
Cup.
she? So yeah.
Yeah, the Breeders' Cup. Potentially, they could be looking at the Breeders' Cup for her because she didn't get a hard race. Like he's rowing away
Yeah.
at her. There's no real response there. She wasn't getting to the two in front. He gave her a couple of right-hand backhanders.
Yeah.
And
But
then
he
he's just
doesn't
put
pick
his stick down.
up again.
Yeah. And Barry, let's stick with Ryan because, he's the easy one to bash, isn't he? And punters will be saying, oh, well done, Ryan Moore. You've got an 8 to 11 shot sunk, and they'll be delighted at your £5 betting shot punters, as Bruce Millington used to always say when he was the editor of the Betting Post. He's the first one that gets the bashing. But that is why he rides these horses, Barry, isn't he? He knows as soon as the tank empties, coast on home.
Yeah, I'd say it's discussed between himself and Aidan before the race where they think the filly is at in terms of fitness and what future targets are. And I'm sure he rides the race with those in mind.
I mean, Barry, could she go for the Hong Kong Cup potentially, being a daughter of Deep Impact?
Potentially
I know
could,
she's
yeah.
gotta drop
Like
back down in
you'd
trade,
have to
but-
think the way she's been ridden there when her chance was gone. She didn't get a hard race, and you'd have to think that maybe they have some autumn campaign in mind for her.
Yeah.
Maybe Breeders' Cup Hong Kong. They don't mind campaigning the fillies, and they don't mind them getting beat. Obviously, they're not. Obviously, the stallion prospects are a different proposition. With the fillies, they'll go hunting for Group 1s with them.
Yeah.
This is what you get here on Racing Post Live, the best post-race analysis and reaction in the game. If you want to know where your money went, get your comments in for the panellists. That was a dream to watch. That
It was,
really,
and you
wasn't
can see here, Ryan knows a furlong out, he's beat, and he is absolutely beat. And why beat her up? Why? Because you're not actually going to
Was it
achieve
the arc? Can we say that the arc has just left its mark?
I'd say.
I would be writing that if I was writing it. We've not had a fav yet going, either, have we?
No.
Roll on Palace Pier.
Yeah, you can say the arc, you can say, very soft, you can say time of year, you can say she might have another target to put away. And why
I'm
beat
hearing
her?
in my ear, Dave, you absolute donut. We've had Trushan, of course. So we've kicked off with a favour, of course.
Dave, I forgot.
Seems like a long time ago. It's a miracle I'm here, let me tell you. I'm doing well today. Let's not go too many bells for me. Thanks very much, Gallery, for that. OK, so listen, halfway stage, Jim Crowley looks absolutely thrilled, doesn't he?
Doesn't he?
A Group 1 for Roger Varian as well. That will.
Yes, he's had a cracking season.
We started talking to Roger, back in May and April on these feature shows we do, and that he judges himself on the Group 1s. I've got a feeling, correct me if I'm wrong out there, Racing Post Live, well, I think last year he was disappointed with himself. Numerically very, very good, but they might not have had the Group 1. Yeah, I think he'd had a Group 1 every year that he'd taken over.
Yeah,
His
Very
late
good Royal
mentor,
Ascot,
Michael
didn't he?
Jarvis.
But as I say, did it translate into a Group 1? There's a question.
No,
He,
I think he was. I think he was without one last year. It was on his website, and it was a brilliant website. Roger's got, and it's the stats. That
He's
go
really
down.
good, isn't he? He's very together. He's very calm demeanour about him. He's quite
know where he started
studious. Yeah, Josh Gifford, not God, what
He was jumps. He was
actually a stable lad.
He was at Allen and Lawney Hills, I think, wasn't he, for a bit?
Yeah, no, I think he was. I know this.
He definitely was there. I still remember seeing him at points.
He had Tiona. Sorry, in the Prix
Tiona was his Group 1 as well, so 2 Group 1s.
Josh Gifford, who's a stable lad.
Last year, I'm sure he was barren. Someone will go out on the website and check it out.
I'm getting there.
He loves.
Kate's on it.
He loves his jumps. Roger Varian loves his jumps. Yeah.
Well, that was his. Yeah, exactly. You don't really realise that, and you talk to him. Extremely intelligent chap.
Yeah,
and
very studious, isn't he?
Whenever I interview these people, I mean, I even tried to make Aidan O'Brien laugh the other week, and I failed, but I try. He sort of went, a little bit like that sort of thing. But Roger, when he did it, he went, and I knew that inside he was probably cracking up.
Yeah.
But he's just got that sort of
composed.
Very, very composed. But he has got a good sense of humour, I think.
Yeah. No, I only learned that on literally about a year or two ago that he was a real jumps fan, and then someone I know, he actually started off as a stable hand.
Yeah.
I won't say stable lad, stable hand, and at a very, very young age. It's amazing, really.
You're correct, by the way. He didn't have a Group 1 winner last year, but he had a Group 2, and he had a few Group 3s as well as listed prices.
I remember he was disappointed with that, despite numerically it was a very, very good year for him. So he'll be very, very happy, and I think they have the awards at the stable and all that, and that's kind of can ring the bell now. Yeah. They've had the 2 Group 1 winners, and both fillies. Interesting. So Tiona we will see next year. We think maybe in Breeders' Cup potentially for her. And hopefully this girl as well. But like I say, Shadwell, and we know Shadwell are disbanding their army a little bit, aren't they?
Of course, that's a question.
Sad passing of Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum. Got that in the end. It's been a big year, isn't it, sadly, for obituaries as well? Yeah,
it has. It really has. It's sad. It is sad, and with Trevor Hemming,
But started off with the flat, Prince Khalid Abdallah.
Yeah.
Of course. So Judd Monte, it was a huge one. What we're going to do that, thankfully, all seeing those colours, of course, and then of course Sheikh Hamdan as well, which just felt everywhere.
And everywhere now for where we don't exactly know where we are with Shadwell still, do we? Because obviously the releases of information have been fairly
it will take.
I don't think Angus Gold's going to be out of a job anytime soon, Supremo, is he? But they sort of disbanded in Australia quite a bit, which is huge down there, You forget what a big contribution he made to that
global contribution
racing game down there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Talking of Shadwell, Baid comes up next. I've been told basically get a move on, Dave Orton, in my ear. Baid, where do you stand? Is this the greatest Shadwell horse they have had, Angus Gold et al, in recent memory? He is unbeaten. Is it 6 from 6? He began at Leicester, didn't he, when he won his maiden? We weren't sure what we had. Then the figures boys started to get a bit excited. Barry Orr, where do you stand on the QE2? Is it Baid?
Yeah, I do. I like him as a horse. I mean, he's done everything so effortlessly so far this year, and he's got his Group 1 win last time out. He's just gone through the gears amazingly, but he's in against Palace Pier, and that's it. He's a serious horse, Palace Pier. Now, disappointed in this race last year, but I think the ground's considerably better than it was this time last year, it has to be said. But Baid is just, I really, really like him as a horse, and I think he's been campaigned magnificently by connections. But last year's winner, the Revenant, has a place in my heart, and I just thought he lost nothing in defeat for me against Real World. He's a horse that really that's really come to the fore this season. It sticks in my craw. You mentioned his name, Dave. We won't go back to his win in Royal Ascot. But the Revenant for me, I think he's had a similar preparation to the last couple of years. He never runs a bad race here. He's got his ground as well. And I just thought he was a bit of value against the 2 at the head of the market. But out of the 2 at the head of the market, if a gun was put to my head, I'd be on Baid against Palace Pier. But for the purpose of the charity bet and to showcase the exchange and hopefully get a few quid for the charity, Kate, we're just going to back the Revenant. We're going to have 25 quid on in the win market. And we're just going to go to the standard place market. You can bet 2, 3, 4 places here in the Betfair Exchange. We're going to go to standard place market, which is 3 places, and have 25 quid in the 3.
Stay on this page.
We're back.
And have 25 quid on in the.
Sorry, there you go.
Yeah, that error message can come up sometimes, and you can click on leave this page.
Sorry, on the Revenant, and then
we'll go to the standard 3 place market.
Sorry, standard 3 place there. No.
It is the place market. That's it.
Yeah.
Leave this page.
Sorry.
I've got them all in my ear now at this point.
Sorry, leave this page. I was clicking on stay on this page. Apologies. Yeah.
That's quite all right. You're playing a stormer, Kate. You really are.
Natalie Green's thinking, thank God I'm not on that.
Kate, and we're going to have 25 quid on in that as
I'm
well.
just
So,
chucked
it. And 25
out of the room by this point.
there in the
I
free
tell you what,
places.
she's the
Perfect.
unflappable Kate Tracy. I was waiting.
Kate.
I was
it's
waiting for the
technology that
nickname
gets
to come your way,
apologies.
Kate. You are now the unflappable Kate Tracy.
Apologies.
I'll tell you what, she handled that well. If that
technology.
was a driving test, you'd have been in a bollard,
I'd
wouldn't you?
have
by
thrown
now?
the laptop out the room, I think, and just kicked it.
I was sensing that they were laughing in the gallery.
It's
But
technology that catches me out.
While we're on this subject, you guys know we've had some people trading, haven't we? And Kate's doing a great job today. Get your comments in. How much are you enjoying having Natalie Green and Kate Tracy on the show with myself, Barry, and on the line? And we've had Charlie Post do it. We've had a couple of people do it. We've had Ross Briley putting bets on the wrong horses and
James
they win. You just never know. We're all here to learn. So if you're a newcomer, we say that to the exchange, you're going to learn. If you're a seasoned pro, Barry will still keep you in the know. See, look at these
I
rhymes.
know, it's just ridiculous one-liners, aren't they?
I
need to keep a little
I can't do
book.
it anywhere but this studio, you know. I literally can't.
You save them all up.
Seemingly so.
This QE2 is fantastic, though, isn't it? This is, again, the narrative behind this.
Some people have said to me this is the race of the season.
Oh, the narrative behind this, because you're looking at this, you know, already like sort of up-and-coming young pretender, superstar, unbeaten by Eid, against Palace Pier, who hasn't really done a lot wrong either. He's going to be nice and fresh into this. I totally would forget about Palace's race in this last year. We've already talked about it. Shoe off, cut leg, disaster.
Was it just the one shoe, or was it like...
One, I think.
Was it?
One, as far as I'm aware.
Off four.
Was it? And as soon as he left the stalls, wasn't
Yep.
it? Again, kills if you're watching.
Came off.
You've had
As soon
a
as he left
shocker
the
there.
stalls, slowly away, cut his own leg.
Yeah.
Ground was totally different. Well, yeah, it wasn't totally, but it was different.
Yeah.
Much heavier than it is today.
Yeah, we had a few surprises last year.
Yeah, and
Due
we had
to
a
the
few
ground,
surprises,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I know also Keir said, is this his time of year? But I can see you. This is the fun of horse racing. You've got to pick holes, haven't you? In races like this, you've got to pick holes in them. You've got to try and you're trying to eke out the winner. But Palace Pier, to me, he's yeah.
Is he the winner?
Yes.
Is he the tip?
This is. Yeah, I'm gonna have
You're
to.
looking
Yeah.
for your Tashcan down there, or whatever it is.
I'm so sorry to
It's
our
already
viewers.
built into the
50 I
graphics,
am
so whatever you say, it's coming up.
I'm literally so sorry to remind you of that. But yeah, the mile clash of the season.
And Palace Pier wins.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I think
we're
so.
agreeing again.
Oh, wait.
Which we're not from at the minute, so we need to. It's not half time. It's all good.
Yeah.
We know what happened last time.
I
We
was
had a couple
close
of
to that
not
before,
froms. You
but not
smashed
as
it
good
out
as
of the park
Barry
last
Orr.
time you were in. Kate Tracy's having the day of her life, so
Yeah.
we're on Palace Pier.
Yeah.
Let's just get that out of the way. I'm on as well. Should we give a little bit of reasoning? I
thought I just gave it.
Well, you were sort of talking about the narrative of the race, which is a word that you've stolen from me, and now you're overusing. You've got to be careful of
He's
that.
had a perfect season.
Yes.
4 from 4.
Yeah.
He will have been freshened up. Connections know what they're doing. I will be very surprised if he's not absolutely on point for this race.
You want a fresh horse coming into this race historically.
Yes.
He's won 4 times, but we haven't seen him since August. So obviously, they've waited for this, basically, haven't they? They've got business with this race, haven't they? The Gosdens.
This is the ground that he'd prefer than last year. It's a
And Frankie's
positive.
been a little bit quiet so far, hasn't he?
Yeah. So I just think. He's just there's nothing. I don't know. There's nothing not to like about Palace Pier. You can pick holes in everything, but like it is interesting seeing opposing this big young pretender with Baid.
It's not been Ballydor's day so far, and they've not even got their social runner in the Champion Stakes. Bolshoi Ballet, we're hearing, breaking non-runner in the Champion Stakes. Probably the ground a little bit. I would imagine wrong for him. I don't know. He's made the journey over. Maybe there'll be another
What's your
excuse.
case with Baid? Because I think
I'm with you.
Visually, he's incredibly impressive.
I'm not Baid.
No, I know. Yeah, to go against him. So visually,
right, I
Baid's
see.
so impressive.
Well, I thought
isn't he?
you called something a terrible Group 1 earlier.
Yeah, but he beat Snow.
Which, is it such a thing? Well, I say that's probably a bit harsh because calling a Group 1 terrible is probably a bit harsh on the face of it. But
You
as
were right
Group
about
1
Thunder Moon,
goes, it's on the lesser side.
Well,
It's on the lesser end of the scale.
Order of Australia came last subsequently. Time out.
Despite the fact he went back to his seemingly favourite place in America, didn't he? At Keeneland. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Last.
It was more. It's substance, isn't it? Still with Baid. Isn't it remarkable that he's now won the Group 1 and we still don't quite know how good he is?
Yeah, it is remarkable.
Yes.
Unbeaten.
But for the first time, Barry Orr this season with Baid, I mean, people can actually back him at odds against.
Yeah, he's currently 3.4 on the Betfair Exchange, Dave. Your favourite Palace Pier 2.7. Yeah, Bailly, the last couple of times he's gone off 2-1 on last day was the industry show in France. 5-2 on the time before that. 11-10 against the Newmarket. 6-4 on. The only time he was odds against was the first day up in Leicester in the maiden that he won. He was a 6-1 chance when he absolutely destroyed them. So. Yeah, he's it's a novelty for punters this time round to be able to back him at odds against, for sure.
Even in the Group 1 debut in France, they knew that day. You know, I guess it was the move 3-2 out where the clock watchers are still going, we know this is, you know, the next coming or whatever. Okay, right, it's poll time out there for you, I'm being told. Is it Bade or Palace Pier? Palace Pier or Bade? That's probably the way we should go. Will it be the 4-year-old or the 3-year-old? Who's the best horse? Pre-race. Let us know whether you're backing Master of the Seas or the Revenant or something else. Let us know. Get voting out there. We'll play the results nearer the race time. Poll time. We've saved it for the QE2. Palace Pier versus Bade. This was the one we wanted to happen. Okay. Palace Pier. Barry would like of the two. He would be Bade, but putting up something else. And you are going... Kate Tracey.
Taking you on. I'm going for Bade.
Oh, right. I didn't know that either.
Well, you're in quite good form, so I've only managed second so far.
Do you think it rubs off a little bit?
Invite's still running.
I mean, when Natalie's not had a winner on the show, it's pretty... can we swap
get
seats?
really cross.
I feel a little bit close to
her. We want her to have a winner, basically.
Well, yeah, we do. Absolutely. It's a nightmare afterwards. You know what I mean? Lift down. I'm like, better not talk then.
No.
You know, it's keep myself to myself. But of course, last time you were on, you couldn't stop having winners. So come on, we know you just need to get one over the line, like Frankie Dettori. But you think Jim Crowley will have the double?
Yes, basically, my concerns about Palace Pier, don't get me wrong, I hugely respect him. He has the substance, he has the proven form in the book. But over this course and distance, the 2 runs over this course and distance, I think have been his lesser efforts. He made heavy weather of winning the Queen Anne. Yes, it's the Queen Anne, but I still wanted him to win that in more decisive style as a 2-7 favourite really should have done. And then, of course, as we've reiterated, or I'm reiterating now, he was beaten in this race last year, but we did have notable excuses for which, losing a shoe, stepping on himself as he left the gates, cutting his leg. So he can be forgiven, but at the same time, I just don't think he's seen to best effect on a straight track.
It's his only defeat to date, Kate.
Yes, exactly, which is why I do respect
him. Defeat to date, Kate.
Yeah, there you go.
Still happening.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Well, trust me, Kate, I knew it.
I knew it.
And I nearly blew it. We could go on and on with that one.
Can we not?
We get overexcited on these Saturdays, don't we?
It's Palace Pier.
Yeah.
For me all the way, and Natalie Green. But we're bolstering it up with Bade. You think that Bade will do something special here? Because he's going to have to, isn't he?
Oh, he's definitely going to have to. And this is easily his toughest task
challenge,
today. But, I mean, he's already been spoken about in the same breath as Frankel by many people. And I think it's too soon to be talking about him in the same breath as Frankel. I know that he got that Group 1 win last time out, but as we've been touching on, the form just isn't there. I mean, Order of Australia, he's rated 118. He was beaten in, as you say, in the place that he should absolutely adore then at Keeneland in the Keeneland Turf Mile. And then Victor Ladorum disappointed next time out in the Daniel Wildenstein, and we also had Snow Lantern finishing last, not beating a horse home in the Sun Chariot. So the form hasn't had any sort of boost. And Bade, admittedly, believe it or not, I'm actually tipping him up. As I'm completely doing him a disservice.
But he has. There are 2 tribes out there. That's why we're polling.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And last time, yes, he wasn't overly impressive, but that was his first shot at a Group 1. And I cannot shake the visual impression he left on me after his Group 3 win in the Thoroughbred Stakes at Goodwood. The way that he quickened up when moving down the outside, admittedly against much inferior opposition yet again, but you did just think, oh my goodness. I know that the times haven't been there necessarily for him either, the sectional analysis hasn't been there, but I cannot shake when a horse visually catches me in that manner. So hopefully Bade will be able to confirm that he is, you know, a superstar.
Yeah, I've been stung a bit by the visual impression sometimes. Like Al-Azi is one of them.
We've all been stung
we've all been stung by the visual impression.
Honestly,
we haven't
15 years later, I'll tell you, I still not coming off.
Yeah.
We've all been stung by the visual impression. Trust me. Absolutely. I'm in a whole heap of trouble. My father-in-law watches this show religiously as well, I should say.
This is Orton.
Now, listen, can I touch on something here? Frankie, in the last month or so, has been a little bit touchy, isn't he? There was a spat with Holly Doyle that we knew about. Yeah. Holly played it as well as she could, although she gave him a backhander last time when Snowfall ran the yard. And he's not happy about what happened to him on Stradivarius at all.
Oh.
He's actually been quoted, Frankie, as saying it was a disgrace. The kid in front of me did everything possible to get me beat on Stradivarius.
Because he pushed him out wide?
He's talking about He's talking
Dylan Brown
about
McMonagle. When
Yes,
he pushed
he
him out wide
is.
on Baron
This is the
Samedi.
Baron
Yeah,
Samedi
yeah.
jock, of course.
Yeah, but he didn't do him any harm. He just pushed him out wide.
He's
because
not holding
Frankie made that
anything
big
back,
move.
Frankie.
Frankie would go nuts.
Mm.
He's
He's saying that
feisty.
£3 claimer.
jockey, it's £3 claimer, exactly, Barry.
Claiming the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he couldn't even claim in that. Yeah.
So he's thrown Holly under the bus for not going
Yeah, he'd be
fast
going
enough in the
nuts.
Vermeil. Turned out Snowfall probably was on the wane at the time.
Is it worth talking about Earth Mother here, lads?
Yes.
A Guineas winner. She's
Yes.
46 on the exchange, 42 on the exchange. She's 15 runs, 3 wins, 5 seconds, 6 thirds, only once out of the first 3.
How on
her
earth is she
career.
40 to 1?
Yeah.
She's a classic
Is
winner.
it the Aidan O'Brien stable form as well as maybe, she's, and her last run wasn't too good, but she's only 2 lengths, 3 lengths off Saffron Beach in the Sun Chariot. She's only just beaten in that race on Champions Day in Leopardstown.
I thought she was a
Shane
length
Foley.
better than the Sun Chariot as well, Barry, because she was a little bit away from the action a bit. If you watch that back, as I was on her that day, so I watched it back a little bit afterwards, thinking how has that form been turned so much on its head? She had to get racing. She almost hit a flat spot because she had nothing to lead her, whereas Saffron just cracked on the far side and went. That's a great.
I suppose
shout,
it just
Barry.
shows the strength and depth of the race as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's go down the line because her old rival alcohol free is 3 times less the price at tens. So you're right, Barry. That does seem a bit. Barry's smiling there. I mean, if ever there are horses for jockey, horses for courses, and names, of course, the name game, alcohol free.
And this is Buick's last chance, lads. This is Buick's last chance.
Yeah, yes,
he
it
needs
is.
to ride this to be with any shout of draw for
don't.
the title. But if he loses this, he loses the title.
Master of the Seas, of course. Right, let's go down them. So we said enough, haven't we, about Bide, Palace Pier, and even the Revenant who Barry's put up as the value. Definitely looks the value in the race now that they've had the rain. I'll tell you a story about the Revenant in a minute in its last run. Okay, so let's go down from the top, if you don't mind. Pat Cosgrave on Ben Battle, who saw off Master of the Seas last time in the Challenge Stakes. We love Ben Battle, don't we?
We do.
Out in
but
front.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ossie
That's
Murphy's
gonna see
favourite
negative
horse.
effect, I think. Yes, definitely so. And it was good to see him getting back to winning ways than last time out in the Joel Stakes. A little bit disappointed with Master of the Seas and that, but he looked like he blew up. Everything was in Ben Battle's favour there. So he clearly retains ability. I just think that this is going to be that little bit beyond him. And as I say, I don't know if being the front runner is going to pay to his advantage.
Talking about favourites,
God, he's one.
Lord Glitters.
Yeah, goodness.
Group 1 winner at
goodness.
Ascot on the straight track.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, God, it's a massive price. I'm just looking at the price of Lord Glitters. Yeah, David Amora. He's not had the most amazing season, David, but he's
No real headlines.
I just think you can oppose him. I don't know. I don't
Still
really.
104 winners, mind.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I know.
I mean, I was more after a sort of like
March,
a capture about the horse, but
I know you were, but I don't really
This
know what
is
to say
snappy.
about
This is
Lord
slick this time.
Glitters. I don't really know what to
all right, all right. We'll leave Nat while we go
ran
down the rest
I
of
know
them.
it's 8-year-old.
Njord, the last year's Balmoral winner, Barry. It was just too bad to be true last time in the foray, wasn't it?
Yeah, the ground was just too heavy for him, Dave. A couple of decent runs in the UK this year, not least when beaten by Kinross in Haydock the day I backed them. Not without a place chance. Massively overpriced, I think. Could outrun his odds on better ground.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and exactly. Njord is one of these horses that when I don't back him, and I haven't today, obviously on whopping great price, he tends to run very, very well. I had a good go in him in the foray. I just thought, not been Njord's year, but he did win on this card last year, of course.
Has won since.
Lady Bowthorpe.
Oh, goodness, yes. See, she's been talked about a fair amount by people for this race because she is such an admirable, consistent performer. Sorry, I know this is meant to be snappy, but I can't help myself. But
Don't worry, it's snappy. In comparison, it's slick as you like, Kate.
But I just have this fear with Lady Bowthorpe. She's had a very long season. She has had her excuses when she's been beaten, but last time out there was no excuses for her, I don't think, when she ran in the Prix-Jean Romanet at Deauville. She just petered out things, and I just think she's showing the signs of a horse who's had a long season. She's better fresh.
6 races and good races and just to keep going this amount of time.
On the Lockhinch form, if she was to come back to that, she could run well.
That's it. It's just if she can come back to that. That was a
If she
long
comes back.
And
while
she
ago
got
now in
her
the season.
Group 1, of course.
Yeah, she did.
That was a day.
Oh,
God,
that was a day.
Yep.
I think everyone loves Lady Bowthorpe, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't
Yes.
not love her. I just wonder if her form's just petering off towards the end of
William
the season.
Jarvis's first Group 1, Barry, wasn't it? Since, of course, 27 years ago, What on Earth Was the Horse? Oh, he's really well known, the horse, as well, wasn't it? It's one of those legend names. Willie Jarvis's previous Group 1 horse? Oh my lord!
Someone will let us know.
Tip of the tongue stuff. This. I mean, you couldn't give me a line on Lord Glitters, so I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go for William
So even
Charles.
why did you pick Lord Glitters for me? I'm like, wait, it's ran like a million times. It's 8
Do you
years
not love
old.
Lord Glitters? I thought everyone loved. Isn't he got like the fan club horse?
Yeah, of course. But what else do you want to say
You're a bit
about it?
meh about him,
Yeah,
aren't you?
well, just I don't know, it's ran like a million times. 8-year-old. I don't know. I
One
was,
is Group 1, of course, in Maydown, which now seems like 2 years ago.
I know it does,
isn't
doesn't it?
Grand Lodge.
Grand Lodge, thank you. What?
I was thinking
Oh, Rob Lee's telling me he's got in there as well. I'll tell you what, mate, your stock's gone down, don't worry about you. All right, Grand Lodge, thank you, Kate Tracey. And Rob Lee as well. So listen, it would be great to see tears coming down from Willie Jarvis. She's brilliant. And Master of the Seas. Okay, let's talk about him a little bit.
Ooh, yes.
The Craven
Interesting.
winner.
Interesting. Headgear's off.
Yep, have been.
Reported to have worked very well, which
Yes.
is always quite a strong statement. Because, again, Charlie Appleby's quite...
Genius.
genius, but also he's quite a level kind of guy. Like he doesn't sort of shout and blaze about things, does he? Like I said,
Pragmatic
alluded
sort
to,
of
yeah,
bloke.
he is. He's just quite, but a stepping stone to Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup Mile. That was the only thing I thought. But actually, no, that's no bad thing. A stepping stone doesn't mean they don't want to win today. I mean, he's clearly
A few
very,
people
very
went
talented.
over the moon over the ride that he got as well. He's found a bit of trouble, didn't
yes.
he? And
He did meet trouble last time out, he really did. And then he wasn't beaten about by William Buick then afterwards either. Did you see he just really coaxed into the line when he knew he was beaten? And as you say, he didn't get the best run. I'm not entirely sure.
probably knew
was
he had
100% tuned up for that either.
still more targets to meet. Because
Yes.
even this isn't going to, it's still going to go to Del Mar. So, like, this horse has still, got a bit ahead of him.
Yeah, he probably should have won the 2,000 guinneas, really. I mean, you can make an argument that
Yeah,
he
he
probably
could.
could have won the
He's
2,000
just nutted
guineas.
in it, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So he's
completely
going to come on for that. Yeah,
I quite
can see the
fancy
angle.
Master of the Seas, yeah.
I can see the angle. He's in stall 7, isn't he? Who else haven't we mentioned? Alcohol free then.
Yes, the
Ridden
irony.
by Oisin Murphy.
The headlines are written, aren't they? Yeah, alcohol-free. She's got her ground here, back in trip as well to a mile. She is a big player here because last time out in the Juddmonte International, I mean, you can rip that form to pieces behind Mishriff, really. And fair play to Connections for having a go at it. That's so sporting of them. But she just didn't get the 10 furlongs there. It was quick enough turnaround, I thought, as well, after a win in the Sussex Stakes. But that Sussex Stakes win clearly puts her in the picture here. So she has to be a big player.
And
in
versatile
these conditions.
ground-wise, really
I do
versatile.
think she's at her best on soft bet, as you say. She
Yeah, it was an
can cope.
experiment that just didn't work
She
out
is a
behind the
best on
Shriff,
soft,
wasn't
but
it?
I do think she's pretty versatile. But yeah, just the
can cope,
irony, isn't it?
For
Alcohol-free.
Andrew Balding again, who's had a marvellous year. Andrew
Marvellous
Balding,
year.
Yeah, he really has.
right up there,
Deserves
number
it.
1. Yeah, okay, that is the field then, basically. What about the poll? Oh, here we go. Who wins the QE2? Palace Pier by some way.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
a
expect
slamming,
that.
lads, isn't it, out there? That is an
is.
absolute ripper.
Clearly, you've both made a very good case for Palace Pier then.
Poster boy.
Up it for
Well,
Bade.
listen, I know it's our turn, isn't it? Let's face it. So, yeah, I mean, look, 5-4. Barry, he was 15-8 in places, wasn't he? First thing this morning when the carrot was dangled.
Yeah, he's into 13-8 now. 1-6-4, 3-4-5. Bade. They're both strong at holding their prices, Dave. Bade just around the 5-2 mark. 8-8 the Revenant. Alcohol-free. 12, 14 Master of the Seas and 44 Bar Mother Earth 44. But yeah, Palace Pier very strong at the head of the market.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this could this be the second fav of the day? Could this be Frankie getting his moment in the sun?
Think it
on
would cheer him
Champions
up.
Day?
Yeah.
Yes. I've got a story to tell about Frankie. It was the Royal Ascot before COVID, so 2019. And I was doing a bit of work on Sky, and I was in the same dressing room. I'm sure I've told this story on the show a little while ago. And I was sitting in makeup, waiting to go, and everyone was being done by the same crew, right? And Frankie sat down next to me, and I've known him a little bit over the years. And I'm like, "Hi, Frankie, how are you?" And he literally grunted at me.
Oh.
And that was the morning when he'd gone naught from on the first day.
Oh, really?
And he then went and held it all before him. It was when the multiples started happening and stuff. And I saw him the next morning, and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, listen, he is. Yeah, it was very. Listen, all the best sportsmen can be.
It means so much.
But he does get a bit grumpy.
Yeah, he
You wouldn't
does.
want to put the camera on him probably all the time, but
No,
Yeah,
but
look.
he's an emotional, passionate.
Italian, after all.
It's
Italian.
the
He's a
25th
passionate
anniversary of the Magnificent Seven, which
kind
we've
of
seen on
guy,
this show
yes.
as well. So
Which he
he's
managed
got to
to
have
win,
his
right?
winner, hasn't he? What else has he got on the card?
Sunray
later on?
Major, that winner who managed to
Sunray
get
Go
on
back to a
Major.
week,
that
I think.
card.
Isn't it?
So it could well be the
Balmoral.
double, couldn't it? Yeah, Sunray Major, who is a very hot price favourite for the Balmoral Handicap. Our 4:30 race, the last one that we give you here on Racing Post Live. Who's having a good time out there? Let us know. Who's feeling champion on this weekend of weekends? We've still got one domestic Group 1 to go, haven't we, with the 2-year-olds coming out. And then, of course, Cheltenham next week. And then we get our winter hats on. Tweed comes back out,
They're
doesn't
all
it?
out everywhere, exactly, yeah.
Tweed, wellies, boots. But yeah, no, I'm honestly I'm interested in what Barry was saying about Mother Earth though, because it's just a whopping price, isn't it?
Who are we expecting to lead? That's the question.
Yeah, that's
isn't
the
it?
only thing
It
is
a
pace
whopping.
angle. I mean,
Ben Battle, I suppose Barry says
Ben
right.
Battle, Mother Earth. See, that's what I thought might do a disadvantage to Mother Earth, but I totally agree with Barry. She has just the most iron constitution. She's solely running Group 1s this year.
Yeah.
All of her 7 of her runs have come in Group 1 company, and she's performed admirably in each of those. Yes, it was slightly disappointing, I guess, on the face of it, that she was beaten in the Sun Chariot last time out, but Saffron Peach, you know, she had everything in her favour in that run. After making all, the pace held up.
Yeah.
I don't think you can crib Mother Earth too harshly for that
No.
result whatsoever.
I mean, first, second, third, second, first, third, second. I think we maybe
All in
missed a
Group
bit of a
1s.
trick with this. Do you know what I mean?
I
She's a
touched
huge
on it
price. Yeah.
briefly on the show earlier, but if you think back to the Phillies Mile last year when they got the saddlecloth wrong.
Oh, I couldn't.
Both classic winners.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is the greatest game on earth, isn't it?
You couldn't get those two confused now, could you?
It's easy
Highs
working for the post,
and the
you know,
lows,
Stories
like-
just emerge, you know. It's
Yeah.
so easy. I mean, that is just remarkable, isn't it? So, yeah, and she's been back to bit, Barry, I can see after you put it up.
Yeah, she's come in for a little bit of support, I suppose it's fair to say, Dave, into 36 and 44. But Baid, very strong. 315 now from 355.
He did look
And,
exquisite in the paddock.
Exquisite.
He did look,
Word of the day.
didn't
that
he?
is
He's
the
such a deep chest to him, and obviously that's where the
I
lungs
thought it
are.
looked quite
What about
compact.
that?
Quite compact.
No,
to
his
watch.
deep chest, depth.
Okay.
He's got a deep,
Again,
deep chest.
Not a
That's where the
paddock
lungs
watcher,
are.
yeah. I've always
More
had
room
people
for
do it
lung
me.
and
Lung
heart capacity.
heart, yeah, because the heart, obviously, right in the middle. That's
Well, the one thing we don't know about Baid is the go in now for the QE2. Is it the race of the season? We're about to find out. Does he like it up him? Let's find out. He's not had a battle yet, has he? Really?
exciting.
Yes,
Maybe it's
exactly,
as
that's
close as he
true.
came to it last time. Let's find out then. It's exciting. Will Palace Pier make it 5 from 5 and rid of the ghost
Come on,
of
Dave,
last
we need a
year?
winner.
His only defeat. He's off and running. All right, Lady Bothop a little bit slow away. Njord going to be held up out the back as well. Who's going on? Surprise, surprise. It is Ben Battle, but they're not going fast at all. Master of the Seas minus the hood. Absolute throwing his head up in the air. Jim Crowley alive to it. Right upsize Palace Beer. So the battle is already emerging. Alcohol free a little bit keen up there as well. Ryan drops Mother Earth wide out. Lord Glitters, we know how he runs. Lady Bothop as well. Now finally, Master of the Seas has settled. And Barry Orr, they've all gone far side.
Yeah, there's no real difference here. Bar the Revenant 7.6, alcohol free out to 17, 13 Ben Battle versus at SP at 33 on Betfair Exchange. So that's the one that's come in considerably, getting a free roll up front. But yeah, set up nicely for a big race here.
See
Okay.
Frankie look behind then.
Yep.
See Frankie look under his.
Frankie looking where Baid is.
Frankie's looking where Baid was. Look, and again, see.
He keeps checking where Baid is.
He's just watching all the time where Baid is.
Well, this is what you want to do, absolutely. So, okay, so
Class, isn't
the one worry that punters had going in for Palace Pier, is he quick enough
Yes.
these days to see off? Of course, they're giving him
I
a
think
little bit
Palace
away.
Pier looks
Now he's
great
making
here.
a move, Frankie.
Go on,
This is
Frankie.
interesting. Is anything coming from the back? Mother Earth last, Njord out there. Master of the Sea's got some
cruising.
ground to make up. Lady Bothorpe
God, this is
travels.
exciting.
But here, alcohol free
Oh.
there as well. It's getting a bit tight for alcohol free. Nothing got to Ben Battle yet. Palace
Oh,
Pier, what's he got to look
alcohol
at? Look at Baid.
he
Definitely jockey is. Here we go.
Oh,
What
my
have we got
God.
here?
Oh,
Palace
come
Pier
on,
digs
lad.
deep. This is the turn of foot that we were
Come on, Jim.
expecting. Lady Bothorpe running on
Here's
for the
a good
places.
one, horse.
The Revenant
Here's
not
a
having it.
good
Palace
one,
Pier's
Frankie.
gone. I don't think Palace Pier's
Oh,
gone. It's
my
Baid, the
God.
101.
Unbeaten, remains
There we
unbeaten.
go.
Oh, Frankie, come on,
Does he
Baid.
like it
Come
up
on,
him?
Baid.
He
Come
doesn't
on,
mind it at all.
Baid.
Oh, look at this. It's a pandemonium in the Racing Post Live studio. But, the double goes his way. Natalie Green, we didn't quite get it. Barry Orr knew it. Gone 101, a little well out. Kate Tracey, she knew the pole. You were out there. This is the
God,
real
that was
deal,
good.
right, Barry?
God, that was good.
He's a proper racehorse, isn't he?
Oh,
What a brilliant race. The right result for racing as well.
Yes.
First and second. He's beaten the right horse there, hasn't he?
That was
Palace Pier
mega.
trade at a low at 2.4 in running, Dave. Had a Betfair SP of 2.62 for 41 quid at 2.4. But your winner, just when he came with that run on the outside, he was never going to be denied. He's a fantastic horse. I wonder, hopefully he'll stay in training for next year, but just waiting for quotes to come through for him.
Yeah, that will be the interesting thing, but I'd be very surprised, unraced it too, if we didn't
Lady
see him.
Bothorpe's ran a sled.
Yeah, Lady Bothorpe in third. It looked like Mother Earth was fourth. The Revenant.
No, Revenant was fourth.
Revenant was fourth. Mother Earth has come from absolutely nowhere to get fourth. Still remarkable. The way that Lady Bothorpe travelled through that, what a run. The strongest mile form you're going to see anywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
We've just had it. What a race.
That was amazing.
I think, look, Palace Pier,
Proper gallop as well.
Proper
Ben
gallop.
Battle said a proper gallop there. You know, there's no hiding places. There's no excuses. Nothing got stopped in its run, really.
Yeah.
They've fanned across the track, and it's been a really, really true run race.
That's as good as the Revenant is
Palace
as well,
Pier's
isn't
been
it?
beaten. Yes. That's it.
It's an easy race to handicap. And, OK, so Palace Pier, right, let's do the RPR, the Melrose game. The RPR's game. Palace Pier, top, yeah. They're a little bit disappointed, the Gosdens, aren't they? So top RPR, Racing Post Racing, of course, 127, Palace Pier. Hard to say he hasn't run near that. You can see why they wanted to step him up to a mile 2. We should also say congratulations to Oisin Murphy.
Yes,
3 in a row. Tough time of it in recent weeks, but what an August he has. He's given us absolute bundles of pleasure this year. Let's just concentrate on the positives. Some effort, 3 in a row.
Oh, he's some jockey.
We've got a new McCoy, haven't we, at the flat, that's for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, and listen, commiserations, Will Buick. You gave it an absolute perler of a go that last week. That sold some pages here at the Racing Post, so thank you very much.
And the pair of their
for that.
agents as well, of course.
So, do we see Lady Bothorpe as a 6-year-old? I guess they'll be tempted.
Yeah, I mean, if you were the owner,
Emma Banks is hugely sporting, isn't she?
Why not? I mean, look, she's
she's been great for racing as well, hasn't she, Emma Banks?
She's so consistent, Lady Bothorpe. If she comes out again and has a good win, so why not? Why wouldn't you own her again?
Yeah.
She's not that old. She's not that old.
Bide.
That was incredible.
Bye. And it was kind of what we expected, wasn't it? It was, if you are, you know, I don't know, it was the cup final we wanted. If you backed Palace Pier, you were slightly worried. I said it yesterday on a feature show. Is he quick enough? If it hadn't been for the Shriff, who's coming up in 45 minutes, Miss Shriff,
would
he have gone up to the International? They've been wanting to do it. Because the Shriff has been so good this year, they haven't done it. We'll see what John Gosden says about that. They could tell they were a bit upset. They probably thought they were going to win, let's face it.
Well, there was one point I thought he was coming back a bit.
There's no doubt in his attitude. Yeah,
I thought, this is game on.
Oh, and I'm hearing from our social team as well, Ben Batwell running that as ever. It was confirmed on the morning line this morning at the opening show that Lady Bothorpe, that will be her last run. Cheers, Ben, for that. So Emma Banks has said that. So she goes off, one of our favourites as well.
Right.
We'll miss her. Wow,
what a way to sign out, though.
What a way to sign out. We're going to see her babies on the track, aren't we, going forward?
Hard as nails.
Yeah, no, that was great, wasn't it? Who was with? If you were with Palace Pier, did that emerge what you worried? He came back at the line, didn't he? Will we see him as a 5-year-old? Interesting. Could he still have another run this season? Could Baid go to Del Mar? Perhaps there'll be some Breeders' quotes coming on the Sportsbook as well for the mile out there. This is his 7th run of the season. William Haggis. What an end to the season he's had. He started it in absolutely incredible form. He's got Al-Azi coming up in the Champions Stakes. He couldn't, could he? Surely not. 10 goes down to 9. Of course, Tom Segal's put him up. I mean, the lunatic that is Al-Azi.
Well, William's still absolutely adamant to hold him up for longer. He still thinks a lot of him. I spoke to Maureen Haggis at Newbury. They still think an awful lot of Al-Azi. I mean, the gelding operation so far, you say, hasn't really worked, but
first run since being gelded. Well, Barry will tell us how low he went against Solid Stone last time.
Back and trip there, yeah.
Well, that was the QE2. We're 4 races down here on Racing Post Live on Champions Day weekend. It's been a long time getting here this week. We're seeing William Haggis with a smile on his face. That is, I mean, will comparisons be drawn with Frankel now?
Oh, yes, 100%. They were being drawn before this, and this is what he had to go and win to really be drawing comparisons to. That's why, you'd love to see him as a 4-year-old so much. So you can continue to draw those because he does look a freak. And
we need another superstar.
We do need another superstar. And you don't expect one to come along so soon after Frankel.
You know he's related to, don't you, Hookham, isn't he? He's the brother to Hookham.
Yeah.
And he's by See the Stars as well, Barry, isn't he? Could they stretch him out, or is he just too quick?
I don't know why you'd want to change what what he's running at the moment. Why would you want to change that up?
They love to do it. If you've got a stallion that can go and win the international as well, for example, I mean, you know, they could have kept
5 for 5 over a mile. Like he's 2 Group 1s and on his 4th and 5th race.
He almost
won 2 Group 1s. Like he started the show.
If he dropped down for a July Cup or a Diamond Jubilee, he'd be clear faff, wouldn't he?
You sound like Aidan O'Brien there.
And it's first time for everything. Yeah. It's been that sort of day.
He's the best horse we've ever had.
All right, so yeah, we are. I think we are getting some rumours coming through. I think that the Del Mar is potentially on. That is exciting there. So
God,
again,
look at him. He's
getting
so
that vibe
strong.
here, and there is the massive Baid.
So strong, isn't he? And there's Claire in pictures. Claire's been with Haggis for I can't say how many years. And do you know what else? They've got a cracking team.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's incredibly important to have a proper team around you. Good work riders, people that can work the horses properly, people that can give you proper feedback. And as far as jockeys go, Jim Crowley and William Haggis, they talk and talk and talk. They are constantly in conversation with each other, especially on these big days. And it is fascinating to see like the relationship they've built, and clearly it's working, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. And fair play for congratulating them afterwards.
Where are you seeing that, Dave, that you're talking about the Breeders' Cup Breeders' Cup Mile, is it?
We're just getting it on our news feed. I've got news desks, chats open, things like that, Barry, so I'll keep an eye on that.
I just asked the lads and they've given us a quote of 5 to 2 from 11 to 2.
Right, there you go. So we're getting involved. So if he runs at the Breeders' Cup, something Frankel never did was travel. He hasn't got the classic Baid, but could he go and get that tick next to his name? 5 to 2 on the sportsbook. If you talk, that was absolutely lovely. Yeah, thanks for that, Barry. Good stuff. So, oh man, this fairy tale with Baid is just you just get the feeling it's beginning now, don't you? And I said beforehand, will he like it up him? The way that Palace Pier came back at him.
I'm so happy you said that just before they went into the stalls, actually, because it's such a good point to make, is that we have these seemingly superstars, but it's a whole different proposition when you have these superstars, then putting them into a battle. And in this type of a contest where he has such more fierce competition than he's ever faced before, and yet he still managed to show a battle, despite Palace Pier coming back at him still. And he still managed to shirk him off with that ability coming to the fore, showing a good attitude of the process. And goodness me, the entire world, racing world's his oyster.
And the sun is shining as well. When you see the replays, the world will be, this is what we wanted from Champions Day, wasn't it? Just a bit of sunshine.
It's exactly what we wanted. And you can, and what I love, like what Barry said, it was a truly run race. Like twice, Kate and I mentioned Frankie looking behind, always checking where Baid was. So for Baid then to come out and let's have it, and it did go to battle, and Palace did try and come back, and at the end of the day, Baid had was quicker and.
Yeah. Do you reckon that's what Frankie was conscious of?
Yes.
He's a quicker horse, so he doesn't want to be.
Listen, we know it, and we're watching it. We're writing it, but they're talking it, and they would have gone in the car this morning there today and right, Frankie, get first run.
Frankie would have known.
Yeah, first run, turn this into
That's what he would have worried about.
100%.
That's the beauty of it. Well, okay, Frankie will be frustrated, of course, at this point, but Jim Crowley absolutely on a high, and he's got 2 really well fancied runners to go because Al Azi has been the mover, I think, of all of them today in the Champion Stakes. There's your Betfair SP then. Baid, the first time you could get to back him at odds against and above 2 to 1 as well. Happy days are here. A gift, everyone's saying. Kate Tracey.
It's weird because I'm not even
4,
annoyed
Kate.
that we didn't get the winner. I'm not even annoyed because to see a horse like that and to win in that way.
It was absolute pandemonium. I didn't know what was going on at one point. You were out your chair, you were like riding it. It was ridiculous.
Got a stick
the
band
mic
for
was
that,
going to go everywhere.
More than 8 hits behind the saddle inside the final furlong for Natalie, I'd say.
You've got your notebook, you've got your iPad, and you've got
but they've all run out of battery.
Well, I think the gallery are happy about that because it's interfering with your mic at one point and all that sort of stuff. It's like there's a lot of devices going on here.
They're all dead.
Again, notes to the wise, and your phone as well.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, they're all dead though.
And yet, still the notes in here.
Yeah.
So, all right, okay.
I do try.
There's no doubting. There's no doubting. We're all tryers now.
Just had 2 seconds.
I know. Here comes
3
the competitive
seconds.
streak.
For 3 seconds, yeah.
Oh, well, that means you're doing something right.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not a bad old record to have
3
though.
seconds, not.
Yeah, I remember once speaking to someone who was on a run of seconds like a ridiculous run of seconds.
Seconditis.
And how do you feel? Well, how do you see getting all these seconds? It means your radar's right, isn't it?
Yeah, it means you're doing everything right.
You're thereabouts, but it annoys me. 3 seconds annoys me.
Yeah, I'm not far off you as well, so I'm hoping that I get it right here in the champion state. Shall we get the market up? It's the biggie. The Shriff. Ding ding, round 2, not just between the Derby winner Adayar. Dubai on up, 1 for money. Team Haggis on a quick double now. Adabe, last year's winner as well. The French raider Sealaway, a big runner last time, of course, on Longchamp. Al-Azi at the start of the season, he was supposed to be the poster boy. Could he possibly bounce back? Tom Segal, price-wise, think so. McSweeney, Irish Classic winner. Fox's Tails, bit surprising that Yukon Glen is that big. It's the first ever run in Group 1 company for our Yukon Glen, our absolute favourite. Barry Orr, fascinated to know where you're going to go.
Yeah, so Mishriff heading the market at 2.78, 4.1 Adayar. Dubai Honor, Real Springer into 7.4 now. 10 Adayar, 13.5 Silhouette. That's the horse I like, and I thought that would go really well. Went to the Arc off the back of over 100 days break and ran well. Had ran well behind St. Mark's Basilica in the Prix de Jockey Club before that. And don't forget, as a 2-year-old, won the Jean-Luc Lagarde the Arc card by 8 lengths. Was like imperious that day. Obviously, he's had a few problems, but I've had a few quid each way, him, myself, in this race. But for the purpose of the exchange, we're going to lay both Mishriff and Adayar. We're going to Dutch lay them. So we're going to take 25 quid out of Mishriff at 278, please, Kate. And we're going to take 25 quid out of Adayar 278. So coupled, we're getting them at around 8 to 11, 4 to 5, 8 to 11. And I don't think we're doing anything wrong there, considering Dubai Honor has a big chance, Adayar has a big chance. And I've already said about Sealaway, who I've had a few quid on myself. So Dutch laying at the head of the market. I think Adayar had a lung busting effort in the Arc just 13 days ago. That has to have an effect on him. And this race comes as a bit of an afterthought. And Mishriff, I'm just happy to take on just with a bit of give in the ground.
Well. Taking on the first 2 in the market in the Champion Stakes. He's to himself, Barry Orr. And the crowd noises are evident again. We're recording these, by the way. There'll be all sorts of sound bites going forward for the jump season ahead. Woo! Ooh.
I think we'd better ask Kate for 3 wins, haven't you?
Yeah, Kate, take the floor. So Barry's against top 2 in the market. Where are you going?
Oh, it's so tricky, this one. It's not just because it's coming to me first, but it's so tricky. But I am with Mishriff here. And as I completely see where Barry's coming from, taking on the front 2 at the head of a market here, and definitely see the argument with Sealaway, because the interesting thing about Sealaway is no matter what trip he runs over, the comments are always the same, that he gets outstayed, then stays on well. But I do think that is the nature of French racing. They go steady early on, they quicken up, he gets outpaced, so hopefully the pace will suit him a lot better here. So I really like the angle with Sealaway there for an each-way price, at least anyway. But with Mishriff, I mean, of course he was tasked with reversing the form here with Adayar from the King George Duel. Mishriff, though, was having to give Adayar £11, whereas he's just having to give him the 4 here. Only defeated, 1 3/4 of a length in the King George. And Adayar also got first run on Mishriff as well. Both of them were keen early on. But Mishriff, he was also about 80% fit, wasn't 100% tuned up either for the Eclipse, and he blew up. We knew that beforehand. But we know that John and Thady Gosden, they do bring on their horses very steadily. And I think that's exactly what has been the plan with Mishriff. Of course, with the Jodmont last time out, you can tear that form apart. Yeah. Alan Kerr wants further, wants soft ground. Love isn't the same horse she was last season. Moharthef didn't stay. McSweeney didn't get the ground he wanted. Alcohol Free didn't stay, didn't get the ground she wanted. And Juan Elcano wasn't good enough. So the form can be completely torn apart. The time was good, though, for the race. The visual impression was very good. So Mishriff really should have everything in his favour, and he's a quicker horse over this trip. So I think he'll reverse that form with the Adayar.
What more can I add to that? Absolutely. And we were even... You're all right there? Okay, you're okay? And this is what's going to really make everyone laugh out there. I was looking at your notes somehow. I mean, if it hadn't been the highlight pen, I think I was reading Latin or something. But the scripture says that you're taking a different view to this, aren't you? So I'm actually taking some of the Kate Tracey shine, finally.
Oh, no.
Because I think the Shriff, having been happy to have some head-ons all year about this, as people will know, I think this is just an absolute good thing.
I'm so confused.
And when Kate said that, I went, oh, happy days.
I
because
am so confused.
You've got the aura about her. But which way are you going?
I'm really, really confused. I honestly, I can't.
Turns out you've highlighted every other.
No,
horse.
I was going to. Having now got 3 seconds, which I'm furious, but I was going to just make a few. Do buy on it. It's very interesting being supplemented. Now, a very, 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 very good event rider called Laura Collett actually had him from March as a naughty 3-year-old, yes. She described him, and he went to her to be sorted out.
Right.
Laura's based like 15 minutes from Cheltenham. Yeah. Anyway, she's excellent.
Because they do put him in a padded room and give him some time.
Just tied his hooves behind his back. Yeah.
And Laura, for example, just jumped Vindication first flow yesterday. So
He's suggesting that Dubai has been over a fence.
No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not.
He might well have done. He actually might. That's not even that.
No, you never know with
lifting
Laura.
the lid.
Yeah, well, no, to sort them out. And so it's interesting to hear that he was very naughty. He went to her to be sorted out. They clearly have sorted him out. And he's been supplemented, 75 grand. So it was of interest. That's why the highlighter pen came out. Al-Aze, like I say, at Newbury, he looked special. Maureen was confident about him. William adores him, but he's just not finishing well.
Someone said to me yesterday he has a tantrum when someone comes up to him.
I think he does.
That was a good way of describing it.
Throws the towel in and
the Archibald of the flat.
Yeah, clearly has ability, but I don't like to see that he's not finishing his races well. You can't get away from that. Mishriff. Okay, so Dave, I'm obsessed with Adayar. I've loved, I backed him for the Derby and forgot to tell everyone at 50 to 1. I absolutely adore him. He's looking to emulate Sire Frankel. Is this too soon out the arc? Possibly. Did he have the hardest race? Charlie Appleby says no. He didn't. He's okay. He's fine at home. My concern is, I kind of agree with you guys, that Mishra's probably got the speed.
Yeah. Well, stop the clock.
But Adayar's got a massive stride,
Stop the clock in the King George, right? And he had Adayar stone cold, didn't he?
Yes.
And the weight and it is obviously £7 better off, and the trip. And while some people say he had to, really ought to have run in the Arc. He was beating this race last year, of course, but he stank in the market. There's a theory, Paul Keeley in particular likes this theory with him, that when he can go hot and cold, this horse. The market tends to tell a tale. When he's strong in the market, he tends to win.
Right.
And he stank in the betting this time last year behind a Dave. So you've got to have a mile 2 tick historically. The last 10 of winners in the last 10 years have won over a mile 2. Now, I know that Adayar's been nutted in the Sandown Classic trial, but he didn't beat Alan Carr over that trip, who Mishriff thrashed. So look, all the form lines are there. The Shriff, probably the shower might have put it more in Adayar's favour slightly. I don't know, but he does go on soft ground, of course. He's a French Derby winner and all that sort of stuff. But the Shriff could well cement himself as the best horse in the world. I'll tell you what, the Longines rankings people are going to be, the keyboards are going to be really numb thumbs.
After that?
Because we've seen Nature Strip this morning in the Everest. He was up there at the start of the year before our flat season started. He would have gone up. Then all of a sudden we've had Baid come out of nowhere. Never mind some of the others Trusham would probably be somewhere on the list now, you would imagine. And here we are. This is the one that will cement the greatest horse on the planet. It will come from this race.
Yeah, which arguably, he already is for so many people. Like Tony Ennis adores him. Like so many people adore Mishriff, and I can totally see it. I don't. Maybe I'm foolish. I always find it really hard to switch camp. I always stuck with Hookham, and it came right. Do you know what I mean? If I really follow them and get into them, Adayar, I just love his stride. Do I think it's perfect coming from the Arc? No, I think they're probably. Why wouldn't we run him? Because why wouldn't they run him? Yeah. Do I think he's got a huge task taking on Mishriff? Yes, I do. I genuinely do. But it's just this big lolloping stride that he's got. I love it. He just eats up the ground, and I really enjoy seeing that. So I don't know.
Politically, let's bring in Barry. Barry, Adayar is politically a really interesting horse, isn't he? Because a lot of people were worried about him missing his prep before the Arc. The week leading into it, he was a really strong favourite. He drifted on the day, didn't he? There was no pace in the race. Are you surprised that he's running in this, Barry Adayar?
He had a disrupted preparation ahead of the Arc, Dave, and he's put in he's ran a stormer in the Arc. He's ran a fantastic race. I think coming here is definitely an afterthought. The Arc's only 13 days ago. Yeah. So it's definitely an afterthought. They weren't going to, if he had won the Arc, he definitely wouldn't be running here.
That's my point.
He's obviously fitting well in himself. Though, and they're, give him another run and then dust him off for the season. But You know,
They
I'm
haven't
not
got a
saying he
lot
left
to
the race.
lose, though, running him here, have they, Barry? They've not got a lot to lose
Well,
running
I
him in
don't
this, have they?
know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Straight
No,
after
he's
the
staying in
race.
training as a 4-year-old,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah,
he? So,
they quoted,
you
well,
know, they've nothing really to lose.
they were happy
Straight
about that
after the
PR,
race,
yeah.
Barry, at Longchamp, Charlie Appleby said we've got 2 3-year-olds that will make fascinating, 4-year-olds ahead. Mile 2 here? I don't know. He's a Derby winner. They
Yeah, I'm
could
not
have
sure
gone
he
through
wants
the
to be
Cup.
stepping back to a mile 2. I'm not sure about that, considering they made so much use of him in Longchamp over a mile and a half on soft ground.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he wants to be stepping back to a mile 2. That's one of the second reasons why I'd be taking him on.
Some people have
mean,
also said
I thought
that
Charlie was saying that's
that
exactly
Godolphin have
what
got to
he
have a runner
wants
in
for
this
his
race.
4-year-old campaign.
He did say that
His
afterwards. He
trip.
said, we got the trip wrong, we got the ground wrong.
Yeah, and
I
I thought-
agree with Barry that I didn't think, well, personally, obviously, who am I to question Charlie Appleby in his post-race comments? But personally, I thought a mile 4 was perfect for him. And I don't think that it was the trip that got him beat by any means.
No.
Let me put it this way, Barry. A lot of people after the Arcs had a good, a position on Mishriff for this race. And then at the start of the week, I was getting texts saying, is Adiyar running?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the market spoke volumes there as well, didn't it? But yeah, I suppose, they've nothing to lose by running him here if he's fitting well in himself.
Yeah,
And it's a very sporting gesture from Connections, I think, and they don't shirk a fight. And I think it's great to see. I think the race is better for it, obviously. If it was Coolmore, I don't think they'd be running here after 13 days after running in an arc and finishing 4th and taking it up with a couple of 100 meters to run. But yeah, I just think it's really sporting of the owners, but I think he's readily opposable. He might be a mile 2 horse next year on better ground, but I don't think he's a mile 2. I don't think he wants a mile 2 coming here.
Well,
This
let's
trip
look at the
was a
positives.
4-year-old.
This is what I'm saying. Is this, are people out there, I'm sure they are, looking at this and going, well, the fact he's here means he must have seriously pleased them at home.
You've got to think the Trainers'
This is a
Championship,
Derby
Jockeys
winner.
Championship as well, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Factoring that in.
I suppose
Yeah,
that.
you do
So
have to do
politically, that's what I mean. Do they have to have a runner like Bolshoi Ballet now been withdrawn? The big operators have got to have players in the big races, haven't they?
Yeah, well, to boost their own roster as well. But also, as I say, for the Trainers' Championship between Charlie Appleby and Andrew Boulding and for William Björk, whether or not this was going to be enough to get him over the finish line then to beat Asheen Murphy, then you expected Adiyar to be in here mainly, well, I know Godolphin a global operation, but mainly to get those two over the line was my initial thought, at least, anyway. But
Can I give you a line on Baid quickly from William Haggis? When asked where he goes
Please.
next, William typically went home. But
So dry.
and more to the point, keeping it for the firm, I think, and they'll talk about it. Markets will tell the tale on that. But
So where did the quote come from, or where did the suggestion come from that he was going to the Breeders' Cup?
it was something. It's a win and you're in race, Barry, the QE2, and it's something that we've been hearing here at the Post. I think that we all thought that he would be finished after this, and it would be stud or it would be next year, but apparently. I don't know, those that are close, our new market correspondent David Mills, etc., all that sort of thing. We get the buzzes here, and and like you say, it's a win and you're in race. So the temptation.
Barry's
will be
livid.
there.
He's not heard it first. Barry's like, where
There's
did
not a
you
lot
hear
that gets
that?
past Barry, I can tell you that
Where
much.
did you hear that?
And he showed his slick operator side, and that the 5-2 was readily available soon afterwards.
5-4 it is now.
Is that right? Wow, 5-4. So that 5-2, he's had a shocker. Brilliant. So okay, look, we've got a hot favourite all of a sudden. So look, the markets tell the tale, don't they? So,
Yeah, I mean, look at today. True Chant evens, Creative Force 11-2. Ashada Barry's fantastic was 16-1. Baid 2-1.
we need a shout, don't we? We need a shout.
You're Dave, you're talking about Baid could have dropped back to 6 furlongs. Delmar Mile, that tight track with a bit of speed.
Yeah.
Perfect for him.
And loves the fast ground, as we saw at Newmarket. He
Yeah.
doesn't mind undulations.
Yeah.
We saw that on the July course. I don't know,
Exciting.
Barry, I don't know. Where does he sit? I don't know. Is this the best horse in the world?
He's definitely well up there. He's beaten the right horse in Palace Pier, hasn't he? So, they can only rate him on what he's beaten.
Yeah.
He's well there.
Yeah.
And
Palace Pier form is sizzling.
Yeah, and when we were previewing it for the race, we were saying, you've got to try and pick holes. So you were saying about Baid. Well, I was certainly saying about Snow Lantern, about Order Australia that came
Just
last.
beating what he puts in front of him.
Exactly, just beating and he's shown today he's beaten an absolute superstar in Palace
Come
Pier.
and have a go if you think you're hard enough, says Baid. Absolutely. And the Americans, Chad
Quality.
Brown, etc., the king of the
Yes.
turf over there is like,
Yeah.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Haggis is coming over, absolutely. All right, let's get some interaction back on the screen. We know you've been out there waiting quietly in the wings. And Peter Davis comes on. Good to have you, Peter. Gosden not leaving Ascot empty-handed. Mishriff and Sunray Major the double.
Yeah.
To do the Shadwell double. I like that. Around about sevens. Thank you, Peter.
Not a bad
Loving
shout.
that. Yeah, I mean, if Mishriff wins this, what price? Sunray Major, their horse, of course, in the last. Paul Bakewell, however, says, lay Mishriff. Course completely unsuitable. Interesting. All right, we'll go into that in a second. That's why Mr. Haggis has decided to blanket declarations. Any of his three as a chance. Well, we have talked about Dubai Honour in great depth. That's some really good insight there from Nat about, who's, and then all of a sudden he's been sorted out by
Laura Collett.
Laura Collett. There we go. Who knows
Very
a thing
good
or two
rider.
about some
Event rider.
tricky characters. And and listen, this is a guy that won that handicap Dubai Honour at Newmarket, and it's just been brilliant since. And our handicappers were really impressive. One of my jobs sometimes at the Racing Post is adding these, deciphering our handicappers, enigma code comments and making them readable for you guys out there. And they were very impressed with how this guy overcame a steadily run race. He's not going to have that here. He's drawn in stall 10, which would worry me on James Doyle, but this is a typical
Could just be the wild card,
Haggis
I
project.
think, isn't it? Could just be
Yeah.
the wild
What
card.
about a Dave? Come on, let's mention
Yeah.
a Dave before we move on.
poor Dave.
On Paul Bakewell's
Yeah,
point.
what is it,
Last year's winner,
100
one of my highlights of the season last year was a Dave winning this. You'd be harder pressed to find bigger fans of a Dave than me.
I totally agree. 7-year-old, 7-year-old now, fantastic.
The
This
Aussie
looks
rocket.
hotter though, doesn't it?
To go down in COVID and beat the Aussies in there.
This does look hotter. What has he had? How many days? It's quite a time off.
Yeah, but he's a horse we know can go fresh.
Yeah.
He beat Mishriff,
Yes.
of course. In fact, the two times he's met Mishriff, he's beaten him. And yet here we are looking at a 7-1 shot, Paul. So, and he's drawn in one. Tom Marquand, he's yet to get off the mark. He will be giving him absolutely everything. And we saw in the Eclipse, so game as a pebble, isn't he? All right, great stuff, Paul Bakewell. Who else we got coming on? Rob and Will in the gallery. Robert Smale comes on. Good to see you, Robert, and says, love to see the Mishriff win this. And submit. I'll tell you what, just if Baid becomes the top horse, could it be Mishriff as well? We're hoping so. And last one coming up, on the fourth. Chris Hall, good to have you back, Chris. Says the Big Bear will be shouting home, Hala Hala Mishriff. Best horse on the planet. I'm delighted that Tony Ennis and G-Rod aren't in the studio because all year they've been saying, the best horse in the world, even when he won his Saudi. G-Rod's brother was over there doing the filming for it and all that sort of stuff, and they backed it that day. They would think I am some sort of turncoat. But listen, this is not an emotional game when you're punting, is it? So all of a sudden, I am number one of the Mishriff fan club. Barry Orr, where does he sit in the market now? Is he on the slide?
Yeah, 268, steady away around the 13 to 8 mark. At AR 4.1 now, which is a little over 3 to 1. 7-8 Dubai Honour. At a 10, 13.5 Seal Away. Alazi 18.5, and it's 55 bar.
What did you make of that double, Barry? Mishriff and Sunray Major. I mean, if we know what they're like in the last race, it's a handicap. He's already an anti-post gamble, of course, the Gosden horse. If this horse wins, what, is he around about 9 to 4 at the minute? That's going to crash, isn't it?
Yeah, he's 9 to 4 at the moment. I'm not so sure. It's competitive handicap. You have that horrible saying, he's a Group 1 horse in a handicap, but he has to go and prove that, I suppose. He's highly thought of by connections, and I suppose it doesn't help when John Gosden also has the second favourite in the race in King Leonidas and all the money's first, Sunray Major. So it's a competitive race, Nugget not without a chance. And he's drawn 21. That could be a negative.
There are some people that would have just watched Sunray Major win a couple of weeks ago. We watched him in the paddock going round, by the way. What are we, 10 minutes now away from the Champions Stakes? Sunray Major last time when he won, he came good. He had a big hold-up, didn't he? Went to Chelmsford, won like a proper horse. Then won despite hitting the front plenty soon enough. And there will be loads of people that are going to football games, for example, today and just expecting to come out at half-time and seeing Sunray Major just won. If you went to sleep for the day, you wake up. Don't tell me, Sunray Major won the last. But he's drawn 21. So that's on the stand side as well. Not good so far. That's not the place we want to be. Will it matter? Let us know. Keep your comments flying in. But we are less than 10 minutes away from the Champions Stakes. So what haven't we mentioned, panellists? Yukon Glen, come on, let's do this.
Yukon Glen, dear old Yukon Glen.
We've had some marvellous shouts. I mean, if you watch RP Live and you like the race reactions, we've had some right old ones on Yukon Glen.
Yeah, and again, Yukon Glen, there's been so much social media, so many stories about him this year. Do you know what? It always surprises me, because obviously I've got no computers now, I can't get anything up because they're all dead, but Jim Goldie, it's amazing how much prize money he wins, like season after season, Yeah, I don't know why I'm always sound surprised, but when I actually look back, I think, fair play, Jim. I don't know, I think it's because some of his horses, it's almost like they've just been broken in. You see him on a race course, they go bronking out the stalls. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something like you're at Doncaster and Jim's horse is bronking out the stalls. You think, God, that's raw.
Yeah.
But I kind of admire Jim for that. Like he does a lot of their training on the race course. Like they've got to learn, they've got to get to grips with it. And like how much do you say?
It's interesting. Well, just over 2 million in the last 5 seasons.
Yeah,
500 grand of that he's pushing this season.
I mean, it's a serious amount of.
Real character as well, isn't he? Eugen Glenn's first ever run in a Group 1 at the age of 8.
Yeah.
He won the Brigadier Gerard, of course. He's an Ascot winner, isn't he? So.
Yes, but you just feel, I mean, he is an 8-year-old now. He's the kind of horse you would absolutely love to own, wouldn't you? He is so admirable, but his best form does still leave him plenty to find at this level. And probably, I also think that he's paying the price for his early season exertions with those brilliant efforts he posted early on. And I just think as the season's gone on, he's paid for those efforts.
And it's just hard, isn't it? I mean, egg on face moment, but it's hard to say Eugen Glenn against Mishriff. Like, you know, like, do you know what I mean, though, in the same sentence? Like, it's fair play for them.
There's nearly a stone between them on official
But
ratings.
they may as well roll the dice. Why not have a day out at Ascot? Have it, you know.
It's great to see him here, isn't it? 'Cause he deserves this place in lineup.
Yeah, great to see him here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you're going to debut in a Group 1, Eugen Glenn, fair play, Jim.
Yeah, fair play.
I think he's had a winner on this card. Was it Jim Dexter used to win on this card? Do you remember when it was terrible ground and things like that? Was it Jim Dexter?
Oh, gosh.
Good shout.
He might, anyway. I
Actually,
seem to
God,
remember
that's
one.
good
Seem to
memory.
remember
It
one
is
time when I
something
finally
like that.
wiped the goggles away with my eye. Jim Dexter had put it up to the books
It's
again. You know.
something, I think it
What
is.
about McSwiney then? Is it or McSweeney? Isn't it, Barry? He's going to be a pace angle, isn't he? He likes to get on with it, this chap.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he hasn't really set the world alight in his 2 runs since his mid-season break. Good win in the Curragh when he beat his stable companion Poetic Flair in the Irish 2000 Guineas. Disappointed in Epsom behind Adayar in the Derby then, and obviously Hurricane Fly disappointed in the Irish edition of the Derby as well. They gave him that little break, and you know his run last day. Now he's not beaten that far, and Leopardstown's probably not a track that will suit him. So I could forgive him that. He's going to be, the ground's probably not soft enough for him. He'd really want it like a bog. If you go back last year when he won in Doncaster, you know, he just outstayed one ruler that year in the Vertemps.
Yeah.
And it was the ground that did it for him. It was heavy that day. So, yeah, he's not without a chance, Dave, but he wouldn't be carrying my money.
No, me neither. Me neither, absolutely. Tactically, it'll be interesting. For a Dabe, I imagine it'll be interesting because a Dabe will want to be up there, I think. I think he knows also they toyed running in the King George, didn't they? Yeah. And races like that. Okay, should we get a 1, 2, 3? Can we do it?
Oh, my goodness.
In that order, then.
Oh, of course. Gold, silver, bronze. Kate Tracey.
Oh, goodness me. Okay, Mishriff to win. Adayar second. Oh, goodness me, because Alazi's going to be bang there on the bridle over this trip. You just know. Oh, goodness me, that he's going to be the lay-in running horse, really. But of those in behind, I mean, I hugely respect Dubai Honour and exactly what he's done.
1, 2, 3, Kate.
Okay, Mishriff. Ooh, Adayar.
I love the competitive nature of this. You've got to get out absolutely right as well.
I had to have that.
Because if we get the trifecta now, so Mishriff,
Adayab
and Adayar.
Yeah.
Natalie Green, 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to go Adayar, punches it, Mishriff, Dubai Honour.
Adayar, Mishriff, and Dubai Honour as the fly for third. Barry Orr, 1, 2, 3.
Completely muggy bet, and I would never do a trifecta in my life. Anyone looking at this, so I'm not suggesting anyone put any sort of combination.
This comes with a disclaimer.
Comes with a large disclaimer. But Silhouette, I think, will win. I think Mishriff could be second, and Adayar third.
Let's talk about Seal Away then, Barry,
Yeah.
because a lot of the judges wanted to be with this, yourself included, obviously. He ran 13 days ago at the art meeting, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he's ran well. You'd have to say he wasn't beaten that far. He was only, I think, half a length behind Adayar. So, you know, one of them's a 14-1 chance and one of them's a 3-1 chance. Now, obviously, he didn't get involved to the same extent that Adayar did, but dropping back to the 10 furlongs, I think, will suit him. I think if you're taking a line through St. Mark's Basilica in the Prix de Jockey Club, you know, he's right up there over 10 furlongs with the best of them we've seen this season. And then when you go back and look at his 2-year-old form before he went to America, he took in the Breeders' Cup last year. But before that, when he won the Jean-Luc Lagarde, he won it. Was it 8 lengths he won it?
Yeah, absolute smash job, wasn't it?
Smashed up. Now, he's only beaten Nando Parado. But you know, that's hardly inspiring.
Well, Nando
form, but
Prado
it was
at
just-
2 was a bit different to Nando Prado at 3. I
Right,
think,
at
wasn't
3,
it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll make you right about that. And he is the horse, Barry, very much. This is why the judges go for horses like this, because they know the market will be looking at your Derby winners, your 1-1-1
Yeah.
horses, and yet he does have the form. He could come on for it.
Well, what I like as well, Dave, he hadn't ran for 119 days before the Arc, and that's very unusual for a French trainer. Usually, they'd love to get a trial into one of them. You know, a couple of weeks before one of the trials they hold in Paris Longchamp, they love to get a run into them at that ahead of the Arc. So it's an unusual preparation.
Yeah.
He's obviously had a few problems earlier in the season, but you know, this might just be what he wants, a really true 10 furlongs.
And we know the French have a very good record in this, of course, Cyrus Zagel, who we, of course, remember so fondly, but they don't often leave this meeting without a winner. Yeah, he's interesting. All right, that's at the top of Barry's. I would be going Mishrif to beat Adabe. And do you know what? I'm going to be filthy. I'm going to put Alazi in there for third.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
Alazi's
Didn't think I'd ever be saying those words on this show.
It's just going to be one of those, isn't it? He's either going to come on the bridle and we'll be like, there he is again. That's
He can
it,
come on
Alazi.
the bridle, but he'll never go through with it. Like 101 in Epsom, the basement price on the Betfair Exchange, 101 on he traded that day in Epsom when Pile Driver done him. I think it was 6s on the day after that, wasn't there? 5-2 on in Newmarket in July course, and then 6-1 on last day when he dogged it again. So that'd be
No,
mad.
you're right. Very
That's
right.
true. I mean,
Kate,
listen.
Kate said he could be an in-running lay, and that's what you do with him all day long. You put in to lay him at evens. You could back him now at 18.5. You could have a tenner on him, and you could put in to lay an even 50 and running and green up. That's the smart play here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So look, this is going to be seriously
And I
exciting.
think you would have
isn't
been
it?
more excited with Alazi if the gelding operation had worked. Like if you'd
Yeah.
just seen more, but
Yeah.
to still have the attitude that he's got, you're still just a bit like, come on. Like,
That's it. And even then, you're still saying, well, he's going to come on for the run because he had the gelding
Yes,
operation, so he
a
had
bit
the
of
setback.
time
But
off.
at the same time,
not a lot of time off though, is it? Really?
no, you don't need that long for a gelding operation, really.
Who's excited?
You might need longer, but
Who's excited? Who
Smashing up Adayar here into 11-4 now.
Oh, the late money coming for the boys in blue. Then they're already off the mark with Creative Force, of course. Who's excited then? We said we had the race of the season. It was the QE2. Maybe this is the day of days, because we might think we've just seen the best horse in the world in Baid. Could someone be about to trump him? Will it be the Shrift? Will it be the Derby winner? Will it be the
so
Irish
sick.
Guineas winner? Last year's winner. Good luck wherever you're playing. They're going in. Game time here on Racing Post Live. Great to have you watching with us. It's going to be lively, I can tell you that much. I'll throw to Barry somewhere in the run. He'll tell you where your money is going. Straight after the race, we'll give you the post-race analysis. And, of course, all the quotes coming in. We've still got the Balmoral to go at 4:30. Wow, who's left to go in then? Is that a full set? Here we go then. Champion Stakes time, the big one here on Racing Post Live. Ooh, who's
They're
getting a
all
bit
upset.
tasty?
Oh, it's getting a bit
I'll tell you,
wild.
that was
Adayar's
Adayar,
really
wasn't
upset.
it? Yeah, and he's not got the best of breaks, but he's okay. And this is the thing for Adayar, he's in stall 9. So William Buick's going to be very, very keen to give him a piece of the action, isn't he? As expected, Yukon Glen, the old man in the back, out the back. Alazi as well, to buy honour. Didn't get the best start, bit keen out the back. McSweeney, interesting. No pace adoption for him today. They're experimenting. That means we might have a slightly falsely run race. And it is Adayar. Once again, like we saw in the Arc, he's gone to the front. Adabe, we thought he'd been up there. He wants it all the way. Fox's Tails, first time blinkers. Seal away a bit lit up. The Shrift in 5th place at the moment. That's the set. Barry Orr, what's the market done?
Yeah, Mishrif just out to 288. Just I don't know whether he's travelling well on himself there. 286 now, 37. Adayeb 6.6 has come in significantly from his Betfair SP at 9.8. 365 Adayar. Dubai Honour out to 11 off the back of him getting shuffled back in the pack, and 17 Alazi.
All right, okay. So we're going to see it start to move at the moment, aren't we? So just to buy on the spike on him at the moment. Dave in pole position. Adayar, the Derby winner, upsize. Nat Green impressions.
yeah, I just feel absolutely sick. I mean, the Shrift has got to just do. It's a bit warmer than I expected to go. He's got a bit of sweat on his neck there, not travelling quite as well as I thought he would.
Yes.
Adayar worried me, really looked upset.
He's
in the
not
stalls,
going
but
well, Mishrif,
Buick has
at
got
all.
him in a good rhythm and it's got him in
Here we go, turning in. So it's Adayar now takes it up. Dave, the old legs are feeling it. Now, what Mishrif likes to do is sweep past them off the bend.
And this is
Adayar's
what
got
he's trying
first
to
run
do.
on him here.
Oh,
Can
come
the
on.
Shrift catch up?
Come on.
Sealaway's in second.
Sealaway's
To
still
buy
there.
on there as well. Okay, Alazi.
Alazi.
Oh, he
No
spat out the
Alazi.
dummy a long way out. Okay, here comes the
Come on,
Shrift.
Shrift.
This is the big one.
Come on,
Adayar,
Adayar.
he's
For
feeling it.
God's
Looking to
sake.
buy honour.
Come
He's
on,
going to come
Adayar.
right over the top. Sealaway's
buy
there
honour,
as well.
to buy.
Did Mishrif go too soon? Dubai Honour's flattening out. He had a hard race as well. Mishriff
on,
meeting the
Kitty.
sandwich. Barry Orr might knock this out of the park.
Barry.
Sealaway's going to do it. I think. What price is he going? Dubai Honour, the two French horses. Sealaway's got it, is he? 101. Barry Orr, he knew. What a double
Barry.
he's given you. Vive la France, says Barry Orr. Amazing stuff. The two came clear.
Barry.
McSweeney showed his true colours. The Shriff was sunk. Absolute scenes here in the Racing Post Live studio. Shall we go to Dublin and see if he's composed himself?
By Honour traded short in running there. Came with a wet sail on the outside. It looked like the others had gone to the front too early. 1.119 to 1 on. Dubai Honour traded at a low of, obviously you had in there as well, Adayar traded at a low of 2.04, which is just a little over even money. Mishriff traded at a low of 1.34, which is 3-1 on McSweeney's running a lung burster to finish third in the race for Jim Bulger. Absolute cracker, but great run from the winner, a great ride from Mikel Barcelona.
Yeah.
You're on fire, Barry.
Go on, Barry.
We won a few quid for the charity there.
Yeah.
I did back it myself.
No, you're kidding. You never did.
Hence in the chef, no. But, yeah, thank you.
Brilliant, Barry. That's.
We won a few quid for
Do you
the
know
charity.
what? That's absolutely brilliant. This is what you get here on Racing Post Live. Not just the madness, but it is in there the method somewhere, and that has run a blind. You know what? I went to Barry there. Should we see if he's composed? He'd already moved on.
I know.
It
So
was so
slick.
cool.
So slick.
I'd be throwing it all over the place. I'd be running around the studio.
I would. I mean, Barry's had two absolutely amazing tips today, but goodness me, Dubai Honour. That is a brilliant run.
Yeah,
That
great
is
run,
so
yeah.
encouraging.
Yeah, because you go back to the start, watch it back on your replays. As soon as you
so
can do that, go
encouraging.
back on whatever you're watching. And he didn't get the best of starts.
You've got to take a lot from that run.
Yeah.
Dubai Honour. I can see why they supplemented him. I can see why that was a tip in itself.
Let's get the bones out of it then. We're watching him up
I
the
think
home
you'll see
straight now.
McSweeney staying in training next year. He went for a gap between Mishriff and Dubai Honour that wasn't there. He had to switch to the inside, and he stayed on best of everything. I think it's fair to say Mishriff probably didn't give his true run. I'd say that's the ground again. Adayar very disappointing at the finish. It looked like the arc has obviously taken its toll on him. You can't say the same thing about the winner, though. He's ran 13 days ago in the arc as well, but obviously he's come on for that run because it was 119 days break he had before he ran in the arc, so that's brought him on considerably, whereas
Adayar
obviously it's taken a lot out of Adayar.
Well done, Barry. I know you
And
saw
the
that from a
travel.
long way out. So look, listen, who followed him, Barry? Let's have it. Get it in. Let's have the adulation. Mark Orosky says, well done, Marcus Orosky. The gaffer banging them in, says Mark Orosky.
Brilliant.
That's him getting a pay rise. Okay, great stuff. Listen, let's get the bones out of this. Seal away. Will he go to the Breeders' Cup now, Barry, do you reckon? Do you reckon they'll have another go?
Do I reckon they'll have another go at the Breeders' Cup? I'm not so sure. I'm just checking out our lucky 15 here. We've two decent winners in it.
Hang
We've
on.
placed one in Mazal. I'm going to have to just come back to me in a second.
Yeah, no.
He does get flustered every now and then.
Well, our lucky 15, we've got a 12 to 1 chance. We've got a 12 to 1 chance and a 14 to 1 chance in the lucky 15. So the double, the cross double already, and the singles are paying a few quid. So just let me check out what we've got here.
I love it.
You guys go ahead and talk among yourselves.
Yeah, we will do, Barry. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So lucky
Mishriff-
15. Who did that out there? Let's hear. Right, so let's talk about the winner. Yeah, very tough. Come on for that arc run. Something's finally won out the arc, thank goodness.
Yes.
Dubai Honour, 100% undoubtedly one of the horses to take out of it. McSweeney held up today, showing his true colours. If they were umming and ahhing, Barry's right. He sticks around as a 4-year-old. They're your top three.
You would, wouldn't you? Mishriff, I thought 2 furlongs out looked more comfortable with his rhythm. Early doors, I thought, oh gosh, his action didn't look as it usually does. I just thought, he doesn't look totally comfortable. But actually, 2 furlongs out, he did give it a go.
He's definitely been outstayed, Mishriff,
Yeah.
hasn't he? But this
Yeah.
is what they like to do on Mishriff, right? This is where if you watched him at York, he did what he tried to do against Love, I would say, primarily in the King George, and Adayar. David Egan likes to come with one run and then just powers on.
Yeah.
Now, because Adayar went probably sooner than David wanted, he had to get at him. Do you remember I said he wasn't travelling in the run? I looked at the exchange price, he was still pretty short. That's because he does. He gave everything there, Mishriff. but the ground has just found out that stamina. You can see why they don't want to go mile 4 again with him.
Yeah.
Yes, you can see that. I mean, he's still in the Breeders' Cup Classic, isn't he? Because he won the win and you're in for the international.
Would that be mile
the
3
Judge
or
wants
something like
mile
that?
2.
So sharp track?
So, yeah, and a sharp track, or, I mean, they've still got the option of the Breeders' Cup turf, but you'd imagine the Classic would
That was
surely
his
be more
6th
tempting,
run.
wouldn't it?
59 days off, of course, since... we'll
sorry,
see
not
whether the
4
quotes
even,
come in
sorry.
about that, whether we get some Bide vibes about the Breeders' Cup for him. Adayar, poor Adayar, because once again, there's no pacemaker. William did what he did with him in the Arc.
I know.
Did he fall in a bit of a hole too soon for comfort, really, though? He sort of did, didn't he?
He did a bit, and I think, despite me trying to give a counter argument, like actually, because he did look, in a way, like the needed the run and didn't have quite have the right preparation for the Arc. Charlie said it didn't take a lot out of him. Clearly did, because at the furlong marker he, started to go backwards. But he's still a quality horse, but we need to just, see what's next for him. Also, the travel as well. Like, don't underestimate these horses going around and transport, and it takes a lot out of them,
What about a Dave? Because the 2 front runners have obviously fallen in a hole, haven't they?
Yeah.
He probably didn't. William Amos probably didn't see him down. I don't know. There wasn't any obvious front runner. That's another thing we could talk about. The lack of pacemakers these days in these big races.
Yes.
10 years ago, you'd have had 3 from Ballydor, wouldn't you, or something
you
like
would.
that? Or,
They're not
lots
there.
was said about that. They don't seem to have them these days. They
don't seem to
They
have
trust the pace a bit more. Dave, he's going to go back down under. I'm certain of that. And probably just, I don't know, the ground was fine for him, wasn't it? He was a bit flat, okay, wasn't he?
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, obviously I'm going to have to go back and look at the sectionals there, but it did look as though most of them did pay the price for going too soon. I wouldn't necessarily say the early pace as such, but from when the race was really taken up in earnest by Adayar, and then Mishrif made that move, which again forced the race on, and Adayar was right up there as well. And so it did just, but at the same time, if you're going to take that view, you have to mark Seelaway up. Because he was bang there soon enough up with the race.
Absolutely, yeah.
You
a
have
horse
to
that you can see why he stays a bit further, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Ground absolutely perfect, and the French take home the Champion Stakes again.
Yeah,
it does happen. All right, so some egg on faces, I think. I was convinced into jumping on the Mishrif bandwagon, and.
We're considered being
You can
concise
tell,
about everything
it's
now.
been a hell of a day.
I was at it on Mishrif,
It's been a hell of a day. So, right, listen, look, we've got live scenes. We actually had something teed up from Tony Ennis. We've got live scenes in the Ennis household. Oh dear, Mishrif, you get the feeling this might have been an expensive one. Where is he out there? Let's have a little look. Is he out there? Oh, there he is. Aye, aye. Ooh, can we screenshot that? If there's another highlight reel coming on this, that'll be one of them. Look at that. I'll tell you what.
Is that a freshly creosoted fence as well?
I bet his neighbours are
in the
thinking
summer?
there's a lot of noise outside. Absolutely. He does scream a moan as well as we know. Poor old Enzo. He'll be now saying that I'm some sort of jinx for it or something like that. But never tipped him before. There we go. That was absolutely perfect. Well done. The guys in the gallery for that. Thank goodness we didn't see the video for the one he did of him potentially winning. It was, do you know what, he sent in 6 takes as well. I was like, I only need 1. It's like,
his best side.
If we get 200 likes on the show, I'm hearing the guys are saying, all the videos will be released. What he doesn't realise is, Enzo, they are now public property. And let me tell you, they're interesting watches. Wow, okay, I'm still buzzing from that. We are going through the card here as well, aren't we, guys? Panellists-wise, we're still 0 from, aren't we, today?
Don't say that.
We've got 1 more to go. Barry Orr, did we have a look at that lucky 15?
Yeah, at the moment it's winning us 260 quid. We could do with definitely getting, or that's it. Yeah, that was our last leg. So we won 260 quid on that. Yeah.
Well, it's been a great day for the charity today.
We're winning 800 quid for the charity so far, yeah.
It seems fitting. And all of our regular viewers will know. I was lucky enough to sit in a meeting with Barry the other day, and we were crowing about what he'd done for the charity. It started in January. Who remembers Dragon Bones when Barry knocked that one in? One of our best celebrations this year. So listen, hats off to the big hitter himself. It's flown this year, and if RP Live is good for one thing with Betfair, it's the charities have prospered. IJF. Rob Burrows 7, and
Racing Welfare.
Racing Welfare, of course. Coast to Curra we did the retraining of racehorses domestically and, of course, in Ireland as well. And there's still more to come. We've still got the jump season to come. Whew! Might need a breather at some stage, but don't worry, we're here to stay for the rest of the year and beyond. That is for absolute sure. I wonder what the headline's going to be then tomorrow in the paper.
Come on, we can be clever. Something.
This is stumped you.
Like I'm thinking like some sort of like alliteration.
I mean, if the editorial department were hovering over you,
I'd be kicked out.
get her on ITV quick.
Oh no, crowds go ballistic for by. No,
That's a good point. As you're talking about the crowds, we could sort of see.
It's kind of got to be to do with a bit of the
just
crowds.
heads bobbing again at Ascot. What a pleasure!
Yes.
I don't know. We'll try and pick the bones out. And again, being there today, I mean, 25,000 back. I think where we were at the start of the year.
Joe, it's interesting you say it because like that is obviously a huge amount of people, 25,000. But I've noticed recently, like Utoxia yesterday, I was at Carlisle the day before. There's a lovely little buzz, hum. It's just getting busier and busier. People are getting more and more confident.
People know the jumpers are coming back.
Yeah, and it's
that's
nice.
what we missed, wasn't it?
It's really nice.
We've pretty much had a full flat season, haven't we? And the sound of the horses just touching the fences that go over them.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, it is. I mean, next weekend we've got Cheltenham coming back, haven't we? Yeah.
And how great will it be, though, to see crowds at Cheltenham? Because that is something I feel has been...
Well, politically, it's a big thing. We've got something coming out on Monday, as you well know. Probably seen it advertised all over the place, the big jump off.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. You've got the huge insert, haven't we, coming out on the Racing Post?
Yes, it's going to be a big insert on Monday, and the great and the good of the racing world are in it. We've got a video preview coming out, which I host a preview with all the stars of the Racing Post, and we've got Paul Nicholls on it, we've got Patrick Mullins as well, giving you mini stable tours. It's back, the jumps. I think now the Champion Stakes is gone, we can sort of talk about that.
That's
so
it, you're allowed to.
We're finished now.
You get all the anti-post tips and things like that. Have you had an anti-post bet for Cheltenham yet?
Yeah.
You have?
Have you? Really? What's that?
Yeah, Hoyce and your...
Oh, fair enough. The
It
big
was
horse.
forgotten about until you start talking about Brave Man's Game, of course. The 100 to 1. Was he 100 to 1 that day?
Yeah,
It was a
something
ridiculous
massive.
price,
But
wasn't
it was the
For the Russells
entry
and Peter Scudamore.
Grade 1
Yeah.
hurdle. And you can say, well, what's Natalie on about? Because it was a hurdle race. But I actually went to Lucinda's Open Day, and he just absolutely screams at a chaser. He's gorgeous, like everything about him is just spot on. And they know how to ready a winner on the big days. And I think they're a good, they're good setup with Scoo. Obviously, they're such a good team. And I don't know, I saw a lot of horses that day on the Open Day. And he just was the standout. He is going novice chasing, and it will be quite soon. I think you're going to see him at Carlisle.
Wonderful. Oh, in the...
I think you're going to see him.
He usually tries and sells your horse that will win the Ida in 5 years'
Yeah, I
time.
know.
Peter Scudamore.
I know.
You know,
Yeah,
and you
that's
think,
it.
cheers, Pete, the slowest horse in the yard then,
I
basically.
know.
But they've got one here, haven't they?
Yeah, he just looks... I don't know, I thought it just slipped slightly under the radar because, of course, we've got My Drogo. God, isn't he fantastic? Brave Man's Game. Like, so I just thought a Hoyce and You're just slipped a little bit under, so I thought that was quite a good one. And I think I've got him at, like, 33 to 1, I think.
And unlike Adiyar, you're making sure this is out
Advisory.
Yes, Brown Advisory.
Novices.
Is that the new RSA?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
I always have to go back to my brain.
Yeah, I
Brown
was gonna say,
Advisory, Novices
what's
Trade,
it now?
over 3 miles. And he
Yes.
looks 3 miler.
Yeah.
3 miler.
And then, of course, you've got Departing Stars as well, haven't we? No Min, of course, no Altior.
Yeah, I know.
Monkfish out for the
Monkfish.
season.
Yes,
So
which
look,
is so
all this is
frustrating.
coming back next Saturday here on RP Live.
New ones will come through.
As long as we've still got Group 1 action though on the flat, of course. So look, the big jump off on Monday, you cannot miss that. It literally is. It's exciting. Tom Parker, our editor, has put together something that we're really excited about. Don't miss that, basically. So I think that's 6 p.m, isn't it? On the members section on Sunday night, you can get that. The big jump off, you get the big kick off. Now we get the big jump because the appetite has never been as wet as it possibly has been so far for the crowds back. I wonder where I was going with that as well.
Horrible terminology.
Politically, though, as well. Was it horrible terminology?
It was
Thanks,
correct,
Kate.
but it just...
It's like moist.
Echoing what the viewers are saying.
when it was put that way around, it just... Ooh.
Yeah, fair enough. And but crowds back at Cheltenham before we go on to the Balmoral.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some viewer interaction coming in. Here we go. And Hugh Masson comes back on. Going to Cheltenham on Friday for the first time since November 2019. Hugh, we take some pictures of yourself there and send them in to us. We'll get
How
them on the show.
nice is that, though? Just
Love to see that.
People getting so excited.
Yeah.
Canny
Get
Wait,
their
says
togs
Hugh.
on and
Of all places.
And
yeah.
Cheltenham is the mecca of jumps racing, isn't it? We all know that.
Oh, yeah, I was there
When you
for
go down to
all
that
of the
second
festival.
last and they jump over it, and you can just, if you've got a horse that's going to the last with a chance, there's no better place
the
than that.
roar of it.
My favourite bit yet is the curtain raiser at Cheltenham and
Yeah.
the Roar. The first day.
Yeah.
It's
Countryside
just-
Day is
it's
my
just
favourite. One of my favourite the
insane.
entire season. So we'll be asking you that next week, basically. Get your answers in for this. We sort of did it a little bit on a couple of previous shows, but we're going to go big on it next week. Which jumps fixture are you looking forward to going back to most? Will it be King George, Kempton? Again, we missed them on that. But politically, crowds going back. If you think about 2020, that March where everyone thought it was a super spreader event or whatever. And then, of course, this year with the Elliott news, all that sort of stuff, and we were getting bashed, weren't we? Who possibly could have thought that the Cheltenham Festival this year would have got more bad press than the previous year? Yeah. Time to rid of the ghosts, right?
Just forget about 2020.
Yeah.
That's like how I'm doing. I'm erasing it from my memory.
Tell everyone else to do exactly the same. But as you say, because Cheltenham got an awful amount of what I felt, obviously I have a natural bias, but unwarranted abuse and media. The media were really honing in on Cheltenham, basically as a scapegoat.
And then the
for
football
spread of
was
the
on,
pandemic.
like
exactly, Atletico Madrid or Liverpool, such like. And then, say last year, I was actually there at the festival, and it was the most bizarre experience every day with no crowds there. They still managed to put on as enough of an atmosphere as they possibly could over the tannoy with
And on the Mullins operation, didn't you?
Yeah,
You should have seen some
try
of
to
Kate's-
create an
Your social
atmosphere
work there
from the
with
Irish
that week
corner.
was sterling. It was brilliant.
Thank
yeah.
you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to make as much of a noise and an atmosphere from
The only
the
problem,
Irish
we'll be
corner.
getting panellists for this show, I can tell you that much. The man from Dublin's going to be down there. Trying to convince him to come on this show next week is going to be tough, that's for sure. But don't worry about it, we will be doing it. And everyone wants to be at Cheltenham next year, don't they? So crowds going back, we love it. Barry, let's talk about some of the champions this week, coming back to today. Oisin Murphy then, 3 in a row, some feat, right?
Yeah, very much so. It was different this year, wasn't it? That it started at the end of April on 2000 Guineas Day, the Jockeys Championship, and it finished on. It obviously finished today, so different dynamic to it. But he's been riding great all year. Personal issues aside, he's a top jock and deserving of it. But special mention to William Buick, who's given it his all in the last, given it all season, and just came up a little bit short. It's going to be a bitter pill for him to swallow, and whether he has the desire. These guys are riding top horses all around the world. I'm not sure that the jockey's title holds the same luster as it once did. I think though the dynamic changing this year in terms of the time frame for it, maybe, but I don't know whether William Buick will go all out for it next year in the same sort of appetite that maybe Oisin might have for. We'll wait and see.
He did go favourite on the exchanges, Barry, didn't he, at one point?
Yeah, just very briefly, Dave, the other day in Chelmsford, was it, or somewhere like that?
Yeah.
A special mention to Champion Apprentice as well, Marco Gianni, who really is a breath of fresh air. If you see him interviewed, he's never without a smile on his face. He's learned his trade. He's a young kid. He's lost his claim, obviously. I hope he's duly rewarded. He's been very capable on Real World this year, and I just hope that he gets to support the trainers next year in the same way that not every Champion Apprentice does. Some of them can slide off the face of the earth, for want of a better term, but he's really a very, very talented guy, and I'd like to see him progress in the next 12 months as his talent will allow him. He's a guy that he's very good with the media as well. He's like all these young jockeys coming through. They're just a different class when it comes to
aren't they, with the media and stuff?
social media and speaking publicly to people. I suppose that's the training they get with the race school and with the BHA, but it's really showing, which is great for racing.
First Italian apprentice to win since Gianfranco de
I was
Torre.
gonna say, is it
And the
for the
comparisons,
obvious one?
the bubbly personality, good with the media,
Yeah.
riding
The
for
same
Godolphin.
area as well, I think, as well.
And Real World, we think, will be going to the Breeders' Cup as well, so it'd be great to see Marco getting experience of that, wouldn't it?
He gets a ride back.
And I bet the Americans would love him as well. So yeah, absolutely, he's been a breath of fresh air. He'd be great on this show.
But I think it has helped, like the media training, like Barry said, it's been so like fundamental to being more accessible for people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because the more they can tell us, the more they can be open and natural, not just how stiff as a board and rigid. Not to be able to talk to the media with
open.
confidence and to be open is great, and that's
So
what
refreshing.
Ocean has been so fantastic at as well.
We have to get off their backs as well, don't we? Social media
Yes.
has been a problem with that, as we know. But get off their backs. Let people give their opinions.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to give your opinion. Whether it be politically or because you want to upset someone, you're worried about what social media is going to do. Twitter, these jockeys can lose rise very quickly, can't they, Kate?
Yeah.
You know that more
Yes,
than anyone.
yeah, oh, exactly. As you say, I've been very involved in the whole politics of the sport for a number of years now. So, as you say, if you've seen The Fall, you'll know one of the catchphrases that's basically sort of come out of that is, at least you didn't say it's just racing. And unfortunately, that is a term that's bounded about far too often in racing. And there are huge things that jockeys have to overcome. And that's why Oisin Murphy has been so transparent about that the pressure that this has put on him, this title race this year, and how that has affected him mentally, and how it's tough for those at their top, it's tough for those at the bottom, tough for those in between. But it is just a changing dynamic of jockeys at the minute with, as you say, Marco Gianni just understands, he just gets it, doesn't he? With media, with being open and honest and presentable. Oisin Murphy's fantastic for that, so that can only benefit the sport moving forward. So it's just, as you say, I hope that, unfortunately with social media, what gives with one hand can very often take with the other.
It can, and all that will happen really if you give everyone, it's so easy to give jockeys a hard time. You just won't have any jockeys on social media.
Exactly, that's
You won't.
it. No.
You won't, because they will come off it, because they'll just
Or
sick of it.
so many jockeys have
Sick of it.
shadow
Yeah.
sort of people doing their
Official.
social media for them.
It'd be something
Yeah,
official.
exactly. It'll be something official. It'll be a blog.
You can't keep abusing people all the time.
Wouldn't
People
expect them
won't
to stay
take
around
it.
for it.
No,
Yeah.
no,
But we
fair
want
enough.
to engage with them, so don't push them too hard. 'cause
Yeah, hopefully the tide will be turning a little bit on that accountability.
they're riding
and all that
every
stuff. Don't
day.
forget, of course, we oversaw it as well. The blackout, as they called it, the media
Yes.
blackout. We
Yes.
weren't
Yeah.
didn't do the Guineas show, so we're very supportive of it all.
Yeah, very well done.
Be a bit
Yes.
kinder and just let people give their opinions.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, there we are. All
Yeah.
right.
Well
That's
said.
the jockeys talked
Very well
about. We've got one more to come your way, and we're closing in on it. They didn't win with the Shrift then, Barry Orr, and Frankie has not quite got over the line yet. What price, Sunray Major, in the Balmoral?
Yeah, he's 2-1 and strong at that, Dave. Very, very short indeed. Obviously, he's a £6 penalty for his win last day, but John Gosden has been waxing lyrical about him and thinks an awful lot of the horse. So hunters have sat up and take notice. 3.05 at the moment. Aldear is 5.3. 9.8 King Leonidas. Nugget, who's been money for him, he's into 10. 16.5 Sir Busker, who never seems to run a bad race. Escobar, our old pal, 21. Raise You 44 and it's 50 bar. That's what I like in it. Raise You. Dylan Brown McMonagle gets to claim his £3 here, something that he didn't get to do in the long distance cup in the opener. I wonder if he's got over the barraging he got from Frankie Dettori. Well, then he could go well here. It's the horse that likes to be up at the pace. Didn't break well when we last saw him BMW Mile, Heritage Handicap here in Ireland at the Galway Festival, but ran on well that day. He won a Curragh handicap off 101 earlier on in the season. I think he's drawn high, so he'd probably be a bit of a pace angle for the favourite if truth be told. But I'm just going to back him in the win and place market. So 25 quid in the win. Happy to be a price taker here, Kate, at 42. And in the place market, we're going to go down to all the way down to 7 places. There's 3, 4, or there's 4, 5,
Sorry,
6.
Barry, would you mind just going back again for your first bet? Apologies, I missed that.
Sorry, Raise You.
Raise You,
Raise
there you
You. Yeah, 25
on the
quid win.
sportsbook. Yeah.
No, on the exchange, we're going to go here.
Sorry,
yeah,
exchanges.
sorry, my
No,
apologies.
apologies.
Yes, I'll
I
go back
lost
to the
you for a
exchange.
second. Yeah, exchanges.
25 quid raise you. Happy to be a price taker at around 42. And then if you toggle over to the other side, to the 7 places, we'll go to the 7th place market and we'll back him there. But we'll set our own price there. Looking to back him at around 305, 25 quid at 305. So we'll set our own prices. If you toggle that, select to back him and toggle it up to 305, we should get matched at around the 2-1 mark. So 25 quid at 2-1 to finish in the first 7.
Okay, going back to Ireland then this time. Raise You, formerly with Andrew Balding, same ownership, tried in Group 1 company as a 3-year-old. Good enough, says Barry Orr. Never before has the community chat gone so quiet for 30 seconds because everyone is trading away, trying to follow in the big hitter after Seal Away. All right, Raise You it is then. Yeah, drawn in 19. What a story that would be if Dylan Brown McMonagle was able to pip Frankie Dettori on the post.
Oh gosh, don't. Frankie's going to be really wanting it.
Interesting weighing room then, wouldn't it, I think?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well,
all right, so we think it's going to be far side. That's where they would like to be. And we have two well-fancied horses, Barry's in particular, for Joseph O'Brien, and Sunray Major in 21. Where are we going, Natalie Green, in the Balmoral?
Yeah, when I was here 2 weeks ago and I tipped Aldari,
yes.
I just thought Aldari, that was a valuable 7 furlong handicap. I thought is going to be here in good confidence. I was quite warm on him 2 weeks ago. It sort of enhanced his record on the slower ground, slightly slower surface, so that's a positive. What are you doing? You're smiling. You've just read something. I can read you like a book.
No.
Yeah, no. So the ground and comes here in confidence. I'm just worried.
What about the trip?
I don't. That doesn't bother me so much actually. The trip really here
to win over the mile.
Because I thought I liked obviously the win was at Ascot, so it came here. So I like that. It's quite a few boxes ticked for me. I know also he's a winner in May here at Ascot, so he clearly really likes the track. But this is the type of race where Sunray Major, the money's come all week, really beautifully bred, isn't he? But you can talk about a lot of these, like John Thayer Goslin's other one, King Leonardus, you can say he's surely open to further improvement.
Whopping eye catcher at Newbury, wasn't he, as a return?
Absolutely. Really promising comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah.
4-week break, perfect, isn't it? Tick. That's nice.
The problem is he's got to give £2 Sunray Major, and the betting is pretty much telling us what the homework is showing.
Or is it just that, or is it also Frankie?
We gave Sunray Major a Racing Post rating, the favourites of 111. Of 111, he runs off 101. What are you laughing at? You think I was going to miss my words up there?
Yes.
Yeah, you're waiting for me to slip up. I know you are, which is cruel after the day I've had.
Sorry, Dave. I know.
And telling us that you also tipped to win on a previous show as well. That's why I was smiling, because you were saying, when I tipped Aldari.
We'll have to get it in there. Cause
two can play that game.
I've got to get it in there, haven't I?
Right, because I have tipped Nugget successfully as well.
I was going to just about Nugget, actually. So
love Nugget, the
consistent,
Nugget. Love him. He'll do for me with Ryan Moore on. Give Ryan his winner on the card, drawn 7, like that.
I think that's a bad shout,
The only doubt is the ground, but he's Siuni out of a Galileo Mare. He's really well bought at 90 grand, this chap. And they've kind of been saving him up, and you got the feeling that was a comeback run, and he should be cherry ripe for this and all that sort of stuff. 104, I say, would be high enough. Maybe he is pattern class performer. So the Nugget.
I think you've got a bit of a point with Nugget.
Who I tipped also on a previous show.
To success, to winning.
It does happen every now and then, just not on Champions Day. Kate Tracey, who has been throwing winners at us all day.
You have.
You see, I've taken the Balmoral in a completely different light, because I know that these types of handicaps, you're looking for the graded horse, group horse in a handicap. However, the Balmoral on recent runnings, that's not what you want. You want a battle-hardened performer. It's not the horse that's unexposed, it's going to go on to bigger and better things than later down. Because look through the last 3 winners. Nord in 2020 hasn't won since. Escobar in 2019 hasn't won since. Sharjah Bridge in 2018 won his next start, but that was then it. So it's the horses that are then at the peak of their form, sort of this is their day in the sun, rather than to go on and to continue improving. So for that reason, I'm against Sunray Major here, because I just feel that this should go to a battle-hardened horse. And ideally, obviously, these horses are so difficult to separate in terms of any sort of rating. But, the draw on recent runnings doesn't seem to play a major role. But I wouldn't want to be drawn too low, ideally, for getting stuck on that far side rail. Middle to high, ideal, because, and also you want a horse, really, that's had 2 weeks or a month at maximum since their last run. So I narrowed down but the other thing you really want in this race, hold-up performer. Hold-up performers have a fantastic record in this race. That's what you want. So I initially narrowed it down to the running style with all those factors. King Leonidas, Nugget, Matthew Flinders, Magical Morning, if he gets the Spencer treatment. Symbolize, but we have no idea how Symbolize is going to be ridden. He could be one or two ways. But the one who I came down on is Sabuska. He has a huge chance at this price. I mean, he's completely halved in price from when I first looked at this race. But he's rated 111, so he is the best horse in this race on official ratings. He's age 5, he's drawn 3, which may not be ideal. That's my biggest concern. A month since he last run, he is a hold-up performer, cracking Ascot record, 4th in the QE2 last year, 3rd in the Queen Anne. Not at his best, admittedly, last time out, though, or in the City of York, apologies, in the Group 2 there, and last time out behind in listed company. However, you do just have to think that a mile is certainly his trip, so he has everything to factor in here. Just that slight concern about the draw, but what a sign-off it would be for Oisin Murphy as champion jockey. Should he win?
It would.
Well, big time, absolutely. He's got
Bookend
top
the day
weight,
well.
hasn't he? But he has one in Queen Anne's and things like that.
And he's
So that's
battle
good.
hardened.
He's got his ground. I like that. Okay, fair enough. Just whether he's had one too many this season for me. That's what I think. But you're in good company because Tom Segal, price-wise, our Supremo, has put him up as well. Great record on the straight rack.
Can I just say, I did say this before Tom Segal came on yesterday and said this. I can vouch for that. You can go to the YouTube video and check.
You're out there.
He copied me, basically.
Well, that's it. Listen, very,
it is.
very possibly. You mentioned something really interesting there that I had not really picked up on. Magical Morning, of course,
Yes.
has won a big handicap this year and is a talented animal.
Yeah.
We didn't really see it in the at the Cambridgeshire, did we? But Jamie Spencer on for the Gosdens.
Yes, very
I
interesting.
couldn't find a Jamie Spencer ride for the Gosdens. And straight track. So
Yep.
that
hold-up
will be
performance.
fascinating.
You did say a hold-up performance.
With a hold-up
Yeah.
performance
So,
shooting. So if he
you
gets
know,
the treatment,
If he gets,
we know why they've
we
gone to
know-
him, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's the way to ride it.
This is a horse that has attacked.
That is
He's going to have to
interesting.
do a McSweeney and just change himself a little bit, I think, as well.
Yes.
So, okay, we're coming to the business end of the show. Would you believe it? What a great afternoon we've had. We've enjoyed ourselves, haven't we?
We always
we've gone
enjoy
all over the place, haven't we,
ourselves.
today? It's a
been
strange time of
fantastic,
year,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
You've got one foot thinking about, you're being asked to do previews for jumps and things like that, and you come back to this day, and it has been. It hasn't disappointed at all, has it?
Do you know
Should we
what
go
I
through the
find though?
winners?
Like if you had ran statistics on panelists, I don't know, like whoever, I find with me in particular, like on these big Super Saturdays, if you look back through all my punditry, I actually struggle more on these Super Saturdays because I just find myself, because we know so much about these horses.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I
see.
I just find it like I pick one, they go, no,
Keep
no,
it a
no.
bit more simple
Yeah.
when you're coming into it fresh.
Just,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
You
It's strange,
can
isn't
overthink it a
You
little
can
bit.
overthink it.
that's
Yeah.
it. Sometimes the more you know is the more you know.
can
It's too much.
overthink it.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the winners so far.
Yeah.
Trushan
Yeah,
saw
fantastic.
off Tash Khan and Stradivarius. We're still waiting on news for Stradivarius, by the way. And next year's Gold Cup winner,
Oh yeah, surely.
bit of juice in the ground.
Yeah, the Gold Cup trialer first and foremost.
Clear
Then the
best
Gold Cup.
day, yeah?
Yeah.
Lonsdale
Clear,
Cup,
yeah.
Doncaster Cup. Win back this race again next year. There you go.
Still want to put a
Busy
massive
season.
shout out though for Tashkan. No, honestly, that was a very, very good performance. For goodness sake, it was 50 to 1. And
I'm not being funny. I don't want to be disparaging at all. It could be next year's Melbourne Cup horse potentially. That if things get a bit easy to go. Brian Ellison
Yeah,
loves to go
interesting.
down
He
there.
does, he does,
And,
he does.
Corniche and all that sort of thing.
That's a shout.
He was a proper celebrity down there, wasn't
That's
he?
a shout,
Ellison,
yeah.
When he went down, he's interesting. Cart Diamond and all those lot. He was probably earmarked for jumping at one point, so I think
Yes.
that will be off now. And of course, Stradivarius, Hamish as well, taking back, mile 4, mile 6, whatever.
yeah,
Very talented horse.
but yeah, no, like I said, I do think if we watch a replay, it wasn't terrible, was it? Like Hamish didn't get bumped around, but I do think just that slightly squeeze, it doesn't
Yeah, slightly squeezed
with him a
initially.
little
Yeah,
bit.
and there was a
All
slight
right.
question over the trip as well.
That got us off to a flyer. Holly Doyle, the poster girl, got her winner as
Fantastic.
well. Back on having missed out on the Cadran. There's a story you'll be getting there as well. Barry Orr, let's come to you. It was the Champion Sprint Stakes next. Creative Force beat last year's winner Glen Shield and Minzal horse you put up. He got you the each way money and a horse to take forward for next year, right?
Yeah, he's one that you can put in your notebook for next season if they choose to keep him in training. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Obviously, they're a bit short in that department now with the retirement of Batash. So, yeah, he could be one for the Handam team next year, the Shadwell team. Creative Force, though, he's been a real revelation in the race, the way he went through the gears. I think that's his trip as well, 6 furlongs. Ideal for him with a bit of give in the ground, like Kate and Natalie have said. So, yeah, he's a lot to look forward to with him next year with Creative Force. He's only a 3-year-old, so 4-year-old next year. And we know with these sprinters, they just keep getting better and better. So be interesting to see how he goes next season.
And he's a gelding, so we're going to, absolutely right, we're going to see
It
him
was
through
impressive.
season after season, aren't we?
Creative Force. To say anything with Minzal though, if it was God, look at me saying, if it was me. He's got to be a bit snappier out the stalls. Like he's got to just get with it a bit.
So the Burrows team will be working on that.
Yeah, I would. I think they will be just because it's important, the start of the race. It's really important. And if you keep looking through, it's like Dwelt start, slow start, Dwelt start. You know, he's got to just, that's one thing maybe to work on a bit with it.
One of the community lines of the day that we've had there out on the chat thing was Paul Bakewell, wasn't it? It said, snowfall melted in the 235. And the fillies and mares. But Ashada, Sean, Barry, let's come back to you. You picked it out there. Will we see her? That was a ding-dong battle, wasn't it? You came out on top of that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on if they have a new policy in terms of keeping the mares in training or whether they want to retire to the shed. She's a Grade 1 winner now, so whether they might want to retire to sheds and breed from her. So it's all down to the Shadwell policy. Obviously, there's a changing of the guard there, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. If they do keep her in training, a lot to look forward to with her.
Yeah, I agree. It's a long time in the shed, isn't it, Barry?
It's a long
time in the shed.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot
There's more to come from her.
breeding.
Roger Varian will certainly be banging the drum.
Oh, certainly so. I mean, she could do what Wonderful Night did last year, go for the Hardwick then. I mean, she's got the Lily Langtry, she's got the Yorkshire
so many
Oaks.
things to target.
Yeah, she's got a whole load of targets to be going and winning as a 4-year-old.
Jim Crowley was fantastic with that one. You know, he was live to the pace. He read it brilliantly. It's been a great year for Jim. As we saw in the QE2, the matchup of the day, a lot of people waiting for it. It didn't disappoint us. Ding dong all the way. Lady Bothop now retired. In third by Eid. Hopefully Breeders' Cup, but comparisons with Frankel.
Yes, and there were beforehand, but I think that, as you say, you always try to not get too carried away with these types. And when horses are being talked about in the same breath as Frankel, you do just want to take that step back. But here, this is the performance he needed to do to warrant being discussed in the same conversation as Frankel. And the fact he showed that attitude as well to fend off Palace Bay, who was not going down without a fight whatsoever. And that was just everything we wanted in that race coming to the fore. That was a proper horse race. I know it's a cliche in itself, but that was a proper horse race. And as I say, the world is up by Eid's oyster, whether or not he goes to the Breeders' Cup or not, but hopefully we get to see him next year.
Yeah, unlike Palace Pier, we're hearing, Frankie has basically come back in and told the Goslings the pace was too slow. He regrets not committing a bit earlier.
We shouldn't have
There was
been
too much looking around, and he knows that. That's interesting, isn't it?
Well, that's what we said.
Pick the bones out of that comment. There was too much looking around, and he knows that.
Wow.
The strongest likelihood is that he now goes to stud, which does make a bit of sense.
Yeah, it does. And like you say, for Bailly to take on Palace Beer and to win by a neck, but to have such a game sort of attitude. I mean, for me, it was a highlight of the day. Actually,
yes, okay.
Honestly, it was
interesting.
fantastic.
And Barry, I asked you for a Breeders' Cup quote. You went 5-2 from 11-2, and I came back to you 5 minutes later. I said, looking like it might happen now, into 5-4 on the sportsbook.
Yeah, that was after it looks like they're going to go there with him. There was a bit of doubt beforehand, but off the back of confirmation that, well, not confirmation, but highly likely that he'll travel to Del Mar. Yeah, he was cut in as well.
Money talks, Barry, as we know on the sportsbook, and especially on the exchanges, where it's all, of course, visible to us, as it did in the Champion Stakes. Your money, in particular.
Yeah, Sellaway showed a toughness. Mikel Barcelona, I thought, gave him a very, very good ride, and he showed a real toughness to get home. Hard to make out it's hard to understand the form just at this stage in beating Dubai Honor, what he's really achieved there. But, you know, he's put the rest of them in their place pretty easily. And it was a good old tussle between the two of them. It was great to see McSweeney run on. He's shown a glimmer of hope there to keep him in training as a 4-year-old. Where they'll go with him will be interesting to see. But, yeah, Sellaway, he's a horse that obviously has had his problems. It was a 119-day break between his previous run and the Arc run, but he improved significantly for the run in the Arc, obviously.
He's got a bit of Volgeist about him, I think, Sealaway.
That's interesting.
So hopefully, if he does get kept in training then as a 4-year-old, then his whole attitude.
There's a lovely action about him as well, doesn't he?
Totally rolled up a Breeders' Cup trip for him as well. You'll be able to get all your quotes, of course, in your analysis races, on your members section, in spotlights, reports, all that sort of stuff, around about 6 p.m. this evening. It's going to be some edition tomorrow. We're still working on the headline, are we?
Oh, yeah. I've forgotten about that, haven't I?
It's going to be by Eid, isn't it?
What rhymes with
It's tricky, the bees.
Nothing rhymes with Baid. There's too many vowels. It'd be great for a what's it called? The board game.
Which one? Scrabble.
Scrabble, that's the one. It'd be great for Scrabble, wouldn't it?
I've lost the plot.
I mean,
Scrabble. I can't even think
where
of
are we going
Scrabble.
with that one?
Scrabble.
We've still got the Balmoral to go. Loads of people love a handicap on this card. The punters at the track will love it. It's an unravelling puzzle. We've digressed, Barry. We've done a report of this, the action so far today. What price the major?
315 now, so he's just gone out a couple of ticks. That's probably a fair reflection of his chances. 5-1, Aldear. 11, King Leonidas. 15, Nugget. That's friendless in the market. Sir Busker Steady at 14. Raise You is into 26 from 42. So that's nearly half the price. He's come in for decent support. The horse that we backed for the charity. And Matthew Flinders, who a lot of people thought could go well with William Buick in the plate. He's 36, but wide open. Your favourite heading towards a 9-4 from 2-1.
All good. I might need a bit of help on the commentary here. People,
Goodness me. Races to turn to us.
We've had audience noises.
Lol.
Have you done one yet?
Well, I tried. Oh God.
Have you done one?
Yeah, no.
Come on, you've both cut your teeth, in these studios. I know you have, and you probably commented on races. Do you fancy it? I'm trying to shift it off, you see here.
Yeah, I was going to say,
couldn't give me a headline.
Oh, sorry, lost my hearing for a bit.
The earpiece is gone. Funny that.
The need for Baid,
Baid and speed goes.
Yeah, I know.
What about headlines? Let's hear it. Come on, what's tomorrow's headline going to be? But they are off. That's the headline in the 4:30. We got there in the end. And Sunray Major is being held up, I can tell you. The hot favourite, Frankie Dettori. There's only one Frankie, and he's got him in last place, and he's moving over to the far side.
Aldari's a bit lit up, isn't he? And all those splits, right?
Oh, here we go. We've got the groups. Okay, so if you're high numbers, you're off the stands round. Raise You, he's right up there at the moment with Johan. Looking for Nugget on the far side. Nice position. Marie's Diamond, Paul Skeely and his Sizzlers, said this is also as Group 1 class. Can make all. Aldari on the far side as well. Looking for Sabuska, Kate Tracy.
Where on earth is Sabuska? I can't even see him. I've just been trying to look. There he is.
There he is.
Far side rail from stall 3, held up. Perfect. That's where you've historically wanted to be, that far side group, and held up as well. So they look to be going decent fractions up front there, which is absolutely perfect, and which is exactly what we expected from the Marie's Diamond as well. He really has one way of going, and that is forward. So he's on the front end of a pace there. But interesting. I wonder if they're going to track across from this centre group to that far side as they start to close down into the finish.
I reckon they will. Chalier's taking it up down the middle. I'll tell you what, they're leading. Marie's Diamond's in some trouble. So I don't know. Maybe the near side might have it here. Look where Sunray Major's ended up. Under Frankie Dettori. Remarkable. He's on the far side. Is that going to cost him? Aldari, absolutely cruising. Sabuska coming. Oh, this is us. For the Hannons, he's there. Matthew Flinders settled today. He's just about leading down the centre. Raise You giving it some as well.
Let's have a look.
Could this be Aldari again, guys? Another one for Haggis and Jim. A treble for Crowley.
I really want to win it, Dave.
Symbolise on the knee side. We're going low. It's Aldari. Come on, Natalie Green. Give it a large. In the last unbelievable scenes. You cannot keep a good woman down. A treble for Jim Crowley. He was smashed off the boards in the end. He was in the right place. He's followed up his win in the Prestige Handicap last time at the course. Saw it out, no problems. Anything Aidan O'Brien can do, I don't know. Michael Stout, the rest of them. William Aggis is not far off it. Group 1 performers or handicappers as well. Barry Orr in the last. When did they know?
He took it up a furlong and a half out, Dave, and he was never looked like being headed. Although the fast finishing Symbolise did trade at 6-4 on 1.66 Symbolise. What else ran on at the finish there? Nothing really of note ran on. Matthew Flinders, I thought, came with a little bit of a rattle, but he was on the same side as the runner-up. He traded at a low of 4.0, which is 3-1. But the winner hitting the front 1.5 out, like you said, well supported into a Betfair SP of 5.5, so 9-2.
That's low, isn't it? Of course. And at the start of the week, Jim was actually jocked up on Montatham. Montatham didn't make it here, so as soon as he went on it, basically, we thought you would want to be far side. This is the horse that they thought he might well be. The Haggis hat-trick has landed then. Shadwell.
Horse, isn't he?
The horse we bet Raise You, we bet it in the 7th place market at 2-1. Yes. Where did it finish?
Oh, no.
It's 8th.
The dreaded 8th.
Oh, the dreaded 8th place. He was up there throughout, wasn't he? What a day it's been then. Absolutely fantastic.
It's been a good day for the charity, though. We've won 800 quid, so mustn't grumble.
Thanks to you, Barry. It's been a hell of a day, Barry. You got there in the end. This has been a cakewalk for you, I imagine.
It's been a great day, guys. Really enjoyed it.
It's always nice to see you.
It's brilliant to look at good racing like that and get paid to do it. We really are very, very fortunate. Great to see both Kate and yourself in the studio there, Natalie and Dave. Never got to hear your story. Will we get to hear it before the end of the show? Or
Dave's had a horrible day.
It was,
Apart from the
I was
racing.
actually part of a hit and run on the way in. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how much. There's a GIF. I don't know how much time we got to tell. But basically, we're in London, Barry. We're just over the river. You got Big Ben. I was looking at Big Ben, thinking, it's good to be alive on Champions Day, isn't it? Then all of a sudden, in the back mirror, I saw a guy, as you do, I saw a guy jump out of his car, and a Mercedes came and hit me in the back like that. And loads of police were running everywhere. And I'm just sitting there going, I'm thinking to myself, what do I back in the first? And I'm like, am I going to make the first? And thankfully, I drive a Trumpmobile, and thankfully, I only need a back bumper. And everyone was safe, but there were crowds were going mental. I'll tell you what, I was there, I was thinking, this has got to be on camera somewhere, I know it has. Everyone was safe. The guy, I don't know, he ran off and he was arrested and things like that. But it was a big moment. Were you there at midday outside Big Ben? You'd have seen Big Dave Orton. And do you know what I was saying? I've got to go on telly.
No, he was going
Don't you know who I am? Don't
You
you
can
know
Google
who I
it,
am?
I said. And the police were fantastic. But oh, God, I got that story out somehow. Thanks for that, Barry. But anyway, you thought your morning was bad.
It's been a strange week for that.
But at least it's all finished on a high now with a cracking day of racing.
Well done, Kate
There you
Tracey.
go.
And Kate's done a sterling job, Barry, hasn't she, pressing the
well
buttons?
done.
yeah, great job, Kate.
Missing
Thank you
half
so
of the
much.
hearing, but no, thanks so much, Barry. And yeah, congratulations
Well
again
done,
for some
Natalie,
stellar
and-
tipping.
Yeah.
We'll see you all again very soon, hopefully.
Indeed, we got the so thanks to Barry. Sign off from Dublin now. Great stuff. Well-deserved Desperado coming the big hitters' way in the evening. And you're not going to be insufferable because you had your winner.
I know. Gosh, good job.
Saved it hardest, best
I
for last.
really
the hardest
like
race of the day.
no. There's something about this horse. I'm telling you, you're going to see more of Aldari. I'm telling you,
He's a group horse.
he is gorgeous.
That's the end of handicaps,
They
isn't
couldn't
it?
even interview Jim, ITV, because he's so lit up. He is
A hat trick at
But
the end. I mean, we
I'm
knew
not
he had a
just
strong
blowing
book.
hot air up Kate's rear. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on here. But if you say about any running on, Magical Morning actually was a little bit
Caught
of
the
a
eye.
one to
Really
take
running
out
on
of
there.
that.
All right, one for your tracker as well from
66
the
to
girls.
1.
Yeah.
third,
Absolutely
so-
fantastic. All right, did we get the headline? But someone else has got the headline. Who is it? Tomorrow's paper, we think. The waiter says, you better
that's
buy
it.
Edict. Oh, it was out there, wasn't it? You better buy Edict.
That's it. Why do we
Absolutely.
think? Why are we so? What's wrong with it? I mean, we should have got that.
It's been an absolute pleasure today. It's been Champions Day. Thanks to the guys in the gallery, Rob Lee, Will Carey. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Let me tell you, there were some gremlins earlier on, but it's been a Group 1 show. Kate Tracey, thanks. We'll see you next week.
Next weekend, actually, yes. So, yeah, quick turnaround. But
Bit of
thanks for having
Cheltenham,
me.
bit of Vertem. When are you back, Nat Green?
Don't know.
Have absolutely no
Soon.
idea. Soon. Absolutely. As I will be. Hopefully, I'm getting the train next week. Don't you worry about that. It's Vertem Futurity Day.